In a world filled with monsters, they rampage through the city, hunting down humans. A year ago, our protagonist was just a human. Now, he's the leader of the monsters. With a single roar, his horde charges forward. About 10 years ago, monster genes appeared in some humans. Once these genes awaken, people mutate into monsters. Their minds are controlled by an endless hunger. A primal consciousness takes over, and our protagonist became one of them. He became an accomplice in the world's destruction. No one could have guessed. A monster that still held onto its humanity. The monster leader prepares to finish the humans below. Then, a flash of purple lightning appears. A girl emerges from the light. She looks like a star guardian. Standing before the monster, she shows no fear. She doesn't flinch. She keeps calling his name. Tin Lamb, don't let the monster take over your mind. Wake up. She fires a beam of light at the monster's face. The monster stands perfectly still. Is it hesitating? The girl continues to call for Tin Lamb. A mindless monster wouldn't hesitate like this. This was the foolish girl who never gave up on him, no matter what Tin Lamb became. Even after he turned into a monster, she never stopped trying to wake him up. The monster roars and throws a punch, but the girl is saved. She just stands there, not even trying to dodge. The fist stops just before it hits her. Tears well up in her eyes. She reaches out to touch the monster's hand. You're back. You've finally come back. But Tin Lamb has reached his limit. The monster clutches its head in pain. The girl keeps calling his name, but he's at his breaking point. Someone who is fully transformed can no longer control themselves. The girl cries in front of her friend. The monster throws a punch. It slams right into her stomach, sending her flying. The poor monster. It rushes forward to strike again. The girl reaches out her hand. The monster grabs her. Her blindfold shatters, revealing a heavily scarred face. Don't let the monster control you, Tin Lamb. She collapses. The monster's eyes slowly return to human. He slowly lets her go. He destroyed the one he cared for. Why did he only wake up now? Lesser monsters rush in. They want to tear her body apart. He furiously slaughters the lesser monsters. The other monsters see his actions. They charge, attacking the traitor. You disgusting monsters. You're the demons who corrupted this world. You made me kill her. All of you deserve to die. But one against many is impossible. He's quickly beaten to the ground. He stares at the monsters, refusing to accept his fate. But he's powerless. His eyes lose consciousness and close. If only he had woken up sooner, things would have been different. Suddenly, Tin Lam wakes up, screaming a name. Tu Nu. What's going on? Wasn't I killed by the other monsters? He looks at the table, a shopping bag and a receipt. The date is June 15th. This was 6 days after his college entrance exam. It's 1 day before the gene test. Tomorrow is the day he learns he has monster genes. He'll be tagged with a tracker. He'll become a discriminated variant. A voice calls out from the bathroom. Hey, I heard that. You bring me to a hotel, but you call out another girl's name? Ching Lam pays it no mind. He's returned to the past. He's been given another chance. He wasn't a good person before, but this time, in this life. As he's thinking, his phone buzzes in his pocket. He opens it and reads a message. He sees the familiar message in Avatar. This is great. This time, I will protect you, Tu Ngu. He still has monster genes. That's a fact he can't change. In this life, he must completely control them. He needs to prepare before his monster genes awaken. He has 1 year. He'll make the monsters who controlled him pay. He has a detailed plan. Suddenly, Tin Lam's heart pounds. His arm enlarges, turning into a monster's arm. This is a mutation. It shouldn't mutate for another year. That's right. Mutations are triggered by emotional breakthroughs. His rebirth must have broken his emotional limits. The girl steps out of the bathroom. Tin Lam, what's wrong? Seeing his half-mutated face is a total mood killer. Things are just happening a bit earlier than planned. It's fine. There's no way to put an awakened monster gene back to sleep, but he can suppress it, at least enough to hide it from others. He just needs to feed it before it gets hungry. Tin Lam's arm slowly returns to normal. The girl still approaches him. He has little time. He has to put romance aside. Tin Lam grabs his jacket and puts it on. He speaks to the girl. I'll be direct. You girls are my confidants, but I'm a terrible person. He opens the door. Several other girls are standing outside. The pink-haired girl refuses to end it. It wasn't easy to snag such a handsome young man. How could she just stop? We'll definitely conquer you. The 7 girls swarm him, ready for a group assault. Tin Lam turns tail and runs. I carry the monster gene. I could hurt you at any time. I've made up my mind. Let's break up. The girls keep chasing him. They don't care about monster genes. They want him tonight. He reaches the exit and shakes them off. Girls can be so fickle. In his past life, everyone ran when they found out about his genes. Everyone except Tu Ngu. Speak of the devil. Tu Mu is waiting for him downstairs. In this life, she's still here waiting for him. Seeing him approach, Tu Ngu hands him a bottle of medicine and teases him. Done being torn apart by your 7 soulmates already? I bought you this medicine. Let's see if it can cure your playboy habits. He reaches out and touches her cheek. This time, I won't make you wait. I won't let you have any regrets. Tu Nu blushes slightly. What are you doing? Tin Lam, you're acting so weird today. So handsy. He leans in, about to kiss her. Tunuku panics. Hey? What do you think you're doing? You're not trying to get fresh with me, are you? Suddenly, his heart pounds again. Damn it, the monster gene is getting hungry. He quickly hides his mutating body parts. He turns away so Tunuku can't see. She's confused. He was about to kiss her. Why did he turn away? Tin Lam has to appease the monster inside him first. He tells Tunuku he's hungry and runs off. He tells her to wait at home. He'll find her after he's eaten. According to statistics, about 5% of the population are monster gene carriers. Society isn't in chaos because only carriers can be infected and turn into monsters. People say as long as these variants are controlled or killed right after they mutate, society will remain stable without the constraints of morality. Most normal people would want to kill all gene carriers at once. Tin Lam walks through the crowded streets in a cloak. He smells the scent of so much food. An explosion goes off in front of him, just as he expected. The mutation event at the shopping mall's movie theater. People flood out of the theater, screaming for help. A monster is chasing them. One man, running for his life, sees someone ahead. Is he an idiot, just standing there? In that case, you can die for me. The man runs past and shoves Tin Lam towards the monster. But surprisingly, the monster completely ignores him. It seems they see him as one of their own. The monster continues chasing the other man. The man can't believe it. Why didn't the monster eat the guy in the red cloak? That's right. There's another reason people don't fear monsters. The superhumans. Humanity has formed a special unit to exterminate monsters. They're called the Cleanup Bureau. He can just leave this place to the superhumans. Soon, a stone wall rises, trapping the monsters. Tin Lam calmly walks into the mall. The superhumans outside raise the wall. They ask if everyone evacuated. No, there are still people inside. A disaster of this level will surely spawn a level 2 monster. But the one trapped inside is Lam C, a genius. She'll be fine. Inside, Lam C is fighting several monsters. She lost an arm protecting 3 children. 1 arm for 3 young lives. A heavy price to pay. The monsters continue their aggressive charge. Lam Sai remains calm. She's holding a child in her arms. She can still use her psychic abilities. She easily kills several monsters. The other monsters keep swarming her. Losing an arm to mere level 2 monsters? What a disgrace for a genius. She prepares to use her psychic powers again. But then, a man in a red cloak appears. He throws a punch, sending a monster flying. Lam Sai is stunned. Who is this guy? He's even flashier than her. It's just a level 2 monster, but he repelled it with his bare hands. Where did this superhuman come from? What kind of ability gives him such a powerful punch? After sending the monster to the ceiling, Tin Lam turns back with a smile, saying other places need dealing with. Lam C warns him, a level 2 monster won't die that easily. Don't let your guard down. Take these kids outside. Leave the rest to me. See that smile? She doesn't understand his smile. Seeing that she won't leave, he takes direct action. He knees her straight in the face. Sorry, buddy. It's not appropriate for others to watch me eat. Lam C is knocked out cold. The level 2 monster returns. You low-level maggot. You dare steal my prey? Tin Lam turns around, his fist raised. He speaks in the monster's tongue. You're mistaken. You are the prey. The cloth on his arm tears away, revealing Tin Lam's monstrous arm. A single punch blows off the level 2 monster's arm. It doesn't understand. This is the power of the Flame Leader. How does this man possess it? He follows up with another punch to its face. You wouldn't believe me if I told you, but I was once a monster leader. I have plenty of experience. He pins the monster down. He begins to devour it. The monster shrieks, You want to eat me? We are the same kind. We are the king's power. Do you wish to steal the king's power? The lesser monsters nearby dare not intervene. Tin Lam grinds his teeth, satisfying his hunger. So, the king is your big boss? That terrifying figure? Very well. I've decided I'll devour your king as well. You bastard! The king will not forgive you. Tin Lam continues tearing chunks of flesh from the monster. Outside the shopping mall, the superhumans are holding back the monsters. They seem to have gotten weaker. They're no longer coordinated, just bloodthirsty. This makes them easier to handle. 2 superhumans easily subdue several monsters with their powers. Suddenly, someone asks, Vice Captain, what's happening? When a high-level monster is present, do the low-level ones become coordinated? The monsters have lost their coordination. This proves Lam C killed the level 2 inside. With that said, the Vice Captain clenches his fist, using his earth power to crush a monster. The subordinate is impressed. Lam C is truly amazing. I admire her ability to control such a powerful superhuman force. All right, it's clear outside. Let's go check on her. They enter to find Lam Sai and C, her sitting with the 3 children. The level 2 monster is dead, but her left arm. The young man runs up to her cheerfully. So you stumbled in the end. But don't be sad. With your power, even with 1 arm, Lam Sai cuts him off. 1 hand is enough to kill you. The young man shrugs. Keep posturing. You only managed to save 3 kids. Facing so many monsters and defeating a level 2. That's impressive enough. Lam C clutches her stump. It wasn't me. I didn't do it. Some idiot knocked out the level 2 monster, and then he knocked me out too. When I woke up, I vaguely saw him eating the monster. His left hand released a blue flame. I also investigated. I saw the face hidden under his hood, so if I see him again, I'll recognize him. The young man is shocked. You said he was eating a monster? He's not a monster himself, is he? The vice captain behind them speaks. There are rare cases of monsters eating other monsters, but that can't be it. If he were a monster, Lam C would have been eaten too. He has the power to defeat a level 2 monster, and he used violence against a cleanup agent. Issue an arrest warrant immediately. Outside, after eating his fill, Tin Lam removes the red cloak. He throws it away and puts on his jacket. Then he calmly walks down the street. An unregistered metal-type superhuman, or maybe a special fire type. He seems to have an antisocial, evil-addicted personality. An arrogant vigilante who thinks he's a dark hero. Believes he can do a better job than the cleanup agents. These types need to be reformed before they lose control. The initial evolution is the simplest, but evolving into a level 2 so quickly was still unexpected. I'm full now. Time to go home. The neighborhood building is still in good shape. In his past life, after his escapade with the 7 girls, he returned here around 3 a.m. The neighborhood suddenly lost power. A very large area had a blackout. The electrical energy attracted Tiunu from her home. Her superhuman gene awakening caused her powers to go out of control. The lightning destroyed the building. Everyone inside, including Tiunu's parents, was killed. Tiunu was gravely injured. It left an indelible scar on her face. Tin Lam pulls out his phone. It's almost midnight. There's still some time before the blackout. Time. He looks up at the power lines and sees something's wrong. Aren't the lights supposed to go out in 4 hours? Why are they off now? Inside her home, Tiunu cautiously reaches for her phone, but she only sees something. Just bringing her hand close causes the phone to overload and explode. She can't touch anything. When she touches it, the electricity in her body will go out. She feels trapped, and unable to move. She can't even speak. She sits alone in her house. Is this the legendary level of superhuman power control loss? The current won't stop. It flows ceaselessly into her body. Tiunu tries to resist the evolution. She can't control it anymore. If she loses control, her parents will be caught in it. But she can't hold on. Who can help me? Tin Lam, where are you? Where are you? Save me. And just like that, he actually appears. He climbs through the window. Wait, her apartment is on a high floor. How did he climb up to the window? He tells her there's no time to explain. You have to go. Trust me. Tiunu nods, trusting him completely. He's really here. No matter how scared you get, don't scream. Don't wake your parents. Tiunu anxiously tells him to be careful. There's electricity on her body. But when she looks, Tin Lam's hand is black. The electricity from her body travels up his arm, but he's completely fine. Tin Lam says he can't stay in contact with her for long, so please forgive him. Tiunu doesn't understand what he's planning. Holy crap, he's leaning out. That's right, he's throwing her off the rooftop. Tiunu is terrified. She's about to fall. She covers her mouth. She doesn't dare scream. Tin Lam jumps from below to catch Tiungu. He tells her to hold on tight. He evolved from devouring a level 2 monster. He uses his strength. A tentacle shoots out from his left hand. It hooks onto a white object. He swings down and lands. He sets her down. On the ground. Now, release your electricity. Shoot that current into the sky. Tiunu immediately. Her eyes and mouth begin to glow. A beam of electricity shoots straight into the sky. It creates a silent lightning storm. He breathes a sigh of relief. He made it in time. Those terrible things won't happen again. Tiunengu returns to her normal state. Only now does she ask about his hand. He tells her he's suffering. He's mutated into a monster. Fortunately, he can contain it in his left arm. Tiunu sees his condition and is extremely worried. She covers his mouth. You idiot, don't say that out loud. You shouldn't tell anyone. Many people in this world hate monsters. If others find out, you'll be in danger. Just make up some excuse. Tin Lam bursts out laughing. She doesn't understand what's so funny. This is a serious matter. Stop being so carefree. Tin Lam grabs Tiunu by the shoulders. If you ask, I'll tell you. In this world, you're the only one I can trust unconditionally. Tiunu is skeptical. Is this the same line you used on those 7 soulmates? Of course not. I've only ever said it to you. Who would believe the words of a playboy like you? The two stand on the roof, gazing at the night sky. The starry sky is beautiful. Look at that bright spot. Tiunu says, even if it's a shooting star, I won't close my eyes and make a wish. Don't try any of your tricks. Tin Lam asks her what she's thinking. That bright spot is probably someone from the Gene Research Institute. Her superhuman power losing control caused such a huge disturbance. They're definitely on their way. Soon, 2 people run up to the rooftop. Found them. There are 2 people on the roof. The one who lost control is likely one of them. A doctor approaches them. Don't be afraid. We're from the Gene Research Institute. Who caused that electrical discharge earlier? After learning, it was Tunu. The doctor praises her for not hurting anyone. He tells a nurse to test them both with the superhuman sensitivity reagent. The girl released such a powerful current, yet her boyfriend next to her is unharmed. He probably has superhuman powers too. He picks up a syringe. Don't be afraid, I just need a little blood. As soon as the blood enters the test tube, it starts, glowing intensely. My God, what kind of divine reaction is this? This old man is going blind? This girl's superhuman gene holds record-breaking power. The nurse also examines Tin Lam's blood. Sister, you've wasted a vial of reagent. After a moment, she gasps. This young man's blood also has a superhuman gene reaction, but I've never seen such a weak reaction before. The doctor, still dazzled by Tuangu's blood, says to bring him to the institute for further testing. Lam widens his eyes in surprise. What, a superhuman gene reaction? Is the test wrong? He only has monster genes. How can he have superhuman genes? No, wait, maybe he does. The cleanup agent who lost her arm, a monster ate it, and Tin Lam ate that monster. At the hospital, the doctor is very surprised by Tin Lam's ripped abs. What's so great about that? I have a six-pack too. After checking with the machine, the doctor is even more surprised. This Tin Lam kid is really special. The lowest superhuman gene content in history, only 1%. With so few superhuman genes, how can he have such a strong body? After mutating, his body was enhanced. He asks the nurse if he can put his shirt back on. Does he have superhuman genes because his half-human, half-monster body has undergone a special evolution? Whatever. Having superhuman genes means he can enroll in the Superhuman Academy. That's better than being monitored after his monster genes are discovered. He puts his shirt on and asks the nurse, with 1%, am I qualified to enroll in the 5 Moons Superhuman Academy? The director's rule is that anyone with superhuman genes can enroll. If you study there, I'll be your senior. Here, let me help you with your shirt. This girl is really thirsty. The girls in this life are so understanding and helpful. The nurse goes out, telling him to rest. I'll help you apply for admission. She opens the door. I heard she broke the world record. A superhuman gene content of 95%. That's 2% higher than the world record. The elemental resistance test is underway. Other doctors rush over to see what the world's #1 looks like. Tin Lam, lost in despair over his past life's 99% monster gene content, hadn't noticed the commotion Tunu's test caused. He decides to go see. Everyone is gathered outside the superhuman testing room, 500 volts, and she's completely fine. She's immune to industrial-grade electricity. Truly, a genius with 95% superhuman genes. This means if she can release it, at 500 volts, 90% of level 1 superhumans wouldn't be able to get near her. I'm so envious of these geniuses. Her endurance limit shows her attack limit. What do you think her endurance limit is? It's a newly awakened lightning system. A few years ago, a genius with 89% superhuman genes had an endurance limit of 800 volts. She can probably handle about 1000 volts. The current is gradually increased to 600 V, 700 V, then 800 V. Tunu is still completely fine, 900 volts, then 1000 volts. The onlookers are cheering. The current is raised to 1200 V. Still, nothing happens. The doctor adjusts the current to 2000 V and asks if she feels anything. Tunu calmly says her body is still very comfortable. The doctors outside can't believe it. She just awakened. I heard that above 90% superhuman genes, every 1% brings a physical improvement. The current is raised to 3000 volts. Tunu tells the doctor to stop. They thought she couldn't take it anymore, but she says she didn't release all her electricity earlier. Now she's absorbed so much more. If she continues, she might lose control again and destroy this place. Hearing this, the doctor is terrified and immediately cuts the power. Then let's stop here. Write the test data as at least 3000 volts, no upper limit. It's just a reference figure anyway. The doctor opens the door. Tin Lam wants to go inside, but the doctor stops him. She has too much electricity in her body right now. She needs to release some of it so she doesn't accidentally hurt Tin Lam. Someone approaches and demands the door be opened, he says. The doctor tells him to wear the insulated suit next to the observation room, but he says it's not necessary. This little bit of electricity can't hurt him. Besides, he can help the girl release some of it. Everyone is even more excited. It's Director Fan and his nephew, the young Master Fan Tae. With their help, things will be great. The young master enters. Tunu tells him not to come closer. You'll get electrocuted. He's unfazed. My fire will block your electricity, so feel free to release it. He holds out his hand. And I learned your lovely name from the research staff. It's a pleasure to meet you, Tunu. My name is Fan Tae, your future classmate. At the Nam Niet Superhuman Academy, Tin Lam watches through the glass, annoyed. That kid's intentions are so obvious. He acts like no one can see through him. Looking at his pretentious demeanor, Tunu politely asks, my hands still have residual electricity. It's not convenient to shake hands. They look at each other. Fonte says that to not disturb Tu and Gu's rest, he'll be direct. After we're confirmed, as students, we can form groups. The group's performance determines the cultivation resources we receive. As the third young master of the Fan family, with 90% superhuman genes, I hope to create the strongest team and get the best resources with the best teammates. Kyunu, I hope you'll join my team. Kyunu finds the offer interesting, but she already has a teammate, the one looking at her through the glass window. Fante looks at Tin Lam. This guy's test reaction was too weak. His specific data can't be high. The strong get stronger, the weak stay weak. You must be careful when forming a team or you'll be dragged down. I hope you'll reconsider. Kyunu excitedly says she can be both a classmate and a teammate with Tin Lam. The director says the academy has some matters to handle and calls Fante away. Fante obediently says goodbye to everyone. Kyunu, I hope you'll reconsider my offer to join my team. Regarding the offer, at home, sitting on the sofa, Fante is furious. A super genius with 90% superhuman genes. I must secure her for the family. His uncle says the girl has her own mind. Waiting is useless. If there's an obstacle, just clear it. At that moment, his uncle gets a call from a subordinate. Vice Director Fan, I found it. Tin Lam's file just arrived. His superhuman gene content is only 1%, the lowest in history. The uncle thinks. 1% superhuman genes is no different from a normal person. A person like that entering the Nam Gyuat Superhuman Academy is just a waste of resources. The staff member says the director emphasized that anyone with superhuman genes can enroll. So, does the vice director's word mean nothing? The subordinate has no choice but to comply. The uncle tells his nephew, don't waste words on an obstacle. Just make sure he doesn't appear before us. You're the best, uncle. Elsewhere, Tin Lam tells Tu about his arm. She's quite surprised to learn he has to eat to stay full. Otherwise, he'll lose consciousness. It's a side effect of his monstrous left arm. That's right, this side effect makes him want to eat people. Tu is very calm. That's fine. There are plenty of bad people in the world. Tin Lam tells her she can't just eat people randomly. That way of thinking is very dangerous. What are you two doing? While they're talking, the nurse opens the door. She says Tunu's parents have arrived and are registering outside. Tunu is happy to see her parents. She whispers to Tin Lam, don't worry, I'm very good at hiding things. I won't get caught. She has to go share the good news with her parents. Tin Lam, I can be in the same school as you. That's great. With that, she goes out and thanks the nurse. Tin Lam notices. The nurse's expression seems a bit off. Senior, is something wrong? The nurse apologizes. Tin Lam, your application was rejected. The higher-ups said that 1% superhuman genes is no different from a normal person. Tin Lam is confused. Didn't they say anyone with superhuman genes can enroll? The nurse sits on the bed, frustrated. There is a rule that anyone with superhuman genes can enroll. I don't know what the admissions officer is trying to do. 1%. So what? So what if it's low? Who are they looking down on? I'll keep applying for you. If once doesn't work, then twice. If twice doesn't work, then 1,000 times. Tin Lam smiles. Thank you, senior. You don't have to worry about me so much. All the power is in their hands. Helping me like this will get you in trouble. He thinks to himself. There's really no other way. It seems I can still get in by revealing my monster genes. The Nam Nguyen Superhuman Academy has all the resources. To get stronger, I have to go. Suddenly, the phone in the senior's breast pocket vibrates. The higher-up said, considering you do have superhuman genes, they'll give you a chance to enroll. Tin Lam listens. He thinks deeply. Fanti is also surprised. He angrily creates a flame in his hand, attracting moths. Why did the higher-ups give him a chance to participate in the final trial? Studying at this superhuman academy. For a year, if you can't awaken, you'll be expelled. The final trial is for low-level students. Why is someone who can't even enroll participating? The moths fly to the flame and are all burned. He angrily stomps on the moth corpses. His uncle comes out to meet him. He calls his nephew inside. The moths this season are very annoying. Stepping into the house, Fanti picks up a glass of wine. The final trial is for the director of the Gene Research Institute. Why? Did he warn the vice director not to cross the line? He's long been dissatisfied with the two of them breaking his rules. If that kid can pass, he'll have proven himself. Even if he doesn't pass, he can still protect the director's authority. The nephew says, we can't let him pass the trial. Otherwise, the Fan family's reputation will be ruined. The uncle is confident. That kid won't succeed. He only has 1% superhuman genes. He can't fly to our world, and I won't give him a chance to fly. The director's actions only prove he's wasting resources. At a hidden underground base in a canyon, two staff members are talking. For the next 5 days, their job is to check and ensure the equipment's safety. Suddenly, one of them drops his phone. The other thought something was wrong. He bends down to pick up the phone. Just lost my grip for a moment. Let's go. There's a lot of work to do. In reality, he was shocked by the message he just received. Someone transferred him 1 million as a deposit to do something. Greed takes over. Now, even if he loses this job, he'll do as requested. He goes to report to his boss that everything is done. He's snooped around. The target has no background whatsoever. The boss smiles sinisterly. This kid. Tin Lam only has 1% superhuman genes and hasn't even awakened. This kid messed with the Fan family. A 1 million deposit with a total of 20 million to buy his failure. It's a bit much. As long as I complete this, I can also rise to the top. 5 days later, the orientation and trial begins. The guys who took the money observe Tin Lam closely. Hey, why does this kid look different? Why did he come to the trial like this? This body looks like he hasn't eaten in days. In this state, facing a monster means certain death. It seems we don't even need to do anything. He can't pass this trial on his own. Tin Lam is actually very hungry. His energy reserves are almost completely depleted. He's so hungry, his chest is sticking to his back. He wants to eat everything that has happened in his life. The participants in this trial haven't awakened their superhuman genes yet. A staff member makes an announcement. This is the final trial. 3 life or death trials, and only 3 continuation cards. This card is your certificate to return to the academy. This is what the 17 of you are risking your lives for. Oh, I forgot, it's 18 people. The director of the Gene Research Institute approved it a few days ago. 1 more person is allowed to participate. The others look around, wondering who the extra participant is. The staff member says there's no need to look. He's not your classmate. All eyes turn to Tin Lam. It's all the same anyway. A fair fight with only 3 cards. Are you all ready to fight for the continuation cards against the monsters? The others are frustrated. 1 more person, but still only 3 certificates? What a joke. Which noble family's young master is this newcomer that he can pull strings? This fight won't be fair. Tin Lam feels everyone's eyes. They're all targeting him. Suddenly, he unconsciously drools. So there's more food now. No, I can't just eat people. The staff leads him to room 18. This is your trial room. Tin Lam looks at the room and recognizes it. The staff really knows how to set things up. From the words that made everyone target me earlier, to this blood-smeared railing. The staff member sees Tin Lam, realize it, and is a bit surprised. But it doesn't matter. You mess with the Fan family, so your end won't be good. He closes the door. When the trial begins, all the monsters will rush to your location. It's really hard. Unfortunately, this is trial room 18, only temporarily added. The only super alloy door lock is broken. These monsters are 5 times stronger than humans. They are 3 iron skin monsters that can't be stopped. They'll rush to your room and tear you apart. He points behind him. That's the way to run to safety. But that also means giving up on the trial. The staff member tells Tin Lam to run. Besides, we only paid for your failure, not your life. If you give up, you'll be safe. The staff who got paid will be happy. Everyone wins. The staff member leaves, saying he has 10 seconds to give up. Lam calmly opens the door and calls him back. Hey, what if I told you that you're the delicious one? Hearing this, he trembles slightly. But let's see what you can do with that big mouth. In the control room, everyone is closely watching each participant. This time's trial. He knocks and enters the boss's room. Inside, he reports how well things are going. The fat boss chuckles sinisterly. Since then, the trial begins. Once the monsters are released, it takes them 10 seconds to reach room 18. The boss bets 100 yuan that Tin Lam will give up before 5 seconds. The other staff member bets it'll be after 5 seconds. Tin Lam will give up. The trial arena door slowly opens. 3 monsters appear. They charge into the arena. It has begun. The guys in the observation room are counting down to see how many seconds it takes for the protagonist to give up. But then, Tin Lam kicks the door open and steps out. The guys watch with wide eyes. Does this guy have a death wish? The monsters will tear him to shreds. This is seeking death yourself. You can't blame anyone else. Looking at the 3 monsters, Tin Lam is excited. Food has finally arrived, but the 3 monsters run right past him. He forgot he has monster genes, so they see him as one of them. The staff in the observation room doesn't understand why the monsters ignored him. The fat guy guesses the monsters were attracted by the superhuman blood smeared on the door. I can't believe this kid's superhuman genes are so weak that monsters run past without even taking a bite. So Tin Lam easily bends down and picks up the first continuation card without any trouble. The fat guy. This continuation card isn't that easy to get. And Joanne, a second-year student, was attacked by monsters in the mall outbreak a few days ago. A blessing in disguise, the fear awakened his special psychic powers. In this trial, Anne is the strongest competitor. Ngo and darts out of nowhere, reaching for the card. He uses his ability, a mental command, on Tin Lam, a mental threat. His power can make people wet their pants in fear. What's wrong with this guy's mind? Why is there such a terrifying monster in there? Now who's going to wet their pants? No, and stumbles back. Tin Lam's mind is stronger, so Ngo on. suffers a backlash, his nose bleeding from the psychic shock. What is this thing? Why do I feel like this guy is more of a monster than a human? The monsters gnawing on the door are about to break through. They turn their heads and see a delicious meal. They lunge towards it. No An is too scared to move. The monsters charge at Ngo An, but Ting Lam pretends to dodge. My comrades, I know you want to eat this guy, but I'm sorry. I'm really starving to death. Please fill my stomach first. He extends his hand towards the monster's stomach. He has to be careful not to be discovered. A small monster mouth grows from his palm and bites straight into the monster stomach. I'll hollow out your bodies silently. No one will know. After starving for days, I can finally absorb monster genes. Thank you, my monster comrades. As he's enjoying his meal, something feels wrong. Crap, the other two monsters are attacking Teen Lam. You guys are so selfish. I just asked for a little meat. These monsters no longer see him as a comrade and turn on him. In the observation room, the two men still believe Tin Lam will be torn apart by the monsters soon. Ngo An is worried. Fighting like that won't kill the monsters. Suddenly, he feels drained of strength. He watches with wide eyes as the man standing in front of him chops the monster's neck with his bare hand, sending it flying. It seems Ngo An's earlier feeling was right. This guy's strength is inhuman. He easily weaves through the powerful attacks of the two monsters. He can play with the monsters, with his bare hands. It seems this guy understands the monsters' movements instinctively. His rich experience, as if he's fought monsters for years, has made killing them second nature. The monsters just need to hit him once and his head could be crushed. It's so dangerous, yet he keeps striking their weak points. But can that kill them? Just as he finishes the thought, Tin Lam rips a monster in two with his bare hands. He continues. With another swing of his arm, the remaining monster suffers the same fate. Both monsters are killed. No An is in complete shock, so this is why his mind is so powerful. He must have killed a lot of monsters before. The two men in the room still can't believe it. They can't believe Tin Lam can tear monsters apart with his bare hands. The fat guy calms down. He continues to observe as the other trial participants approach Tin Lam. True Thin speaks up. Everyone who came to the final trial risked their lives for a chance to continue their studies, but Tin Lam used connections to easily take away our opportunity. Hand over the continuation card. Ngo An whispers to True Thin. Don't provoke this guy. He's dangerous. True Thin thinks. Ngo An is a coward. To think, I once considered him my biggest rival. True Thin ignores Ngo An and tells everyone to surround Tin Lam and take the continuation card from him. These guys have already planned this. They'll take the continuation card together. Then, in the final round, they'll compete fairly. The winner will compensate the losers a little. The bald guy is assigned to deal with the remaining monster. The bald guy is eager to fight, thinking, Tin Lam could easily kill two monsters, which means these monsters are the weakest. So he wants to solo the monster. The monster swings its arm. He blocks it with his fist. His arm is instantly broken. The full force of the blow sends him flying into a wall. True Thin thinks the bald guy is an idiot for trying to solo a monster. He turns around, and a fist is right in front of his face. Tin Lam is sweating. Crap, I used the wrong hand. I should use my right hand to hit people. Using my left hand like this will send him to the afterlife. Tin Lam's left hand has completely mutated. After devouring the level 2 monster, his left hand broke through to level 2. It can shoot out tentacles up to 8 meters long. Its strength is at least 10 times that of a normal person. Even when not in a transformed state, it still has the strength of a level 1 monster. This punch could knock the guy's head off. Killing someone in a trial wouldn't be good. I have to hold back. Punch as lightly as possible, even though he held back. True Thin is still knocked out. After one punch, I really underestimated myself. Tin Lam frantically grabs his collar. He checks his condition. Don't die. Please don't die. Oh, good. He's still breathing. Then it's fine. He drops True Thin and turns to the others. Anyone else want something? Still need the continuation card? Just then, the bald guy is carried by another person, being chased by a monster around the room. True Thin sees this and grabs Tin Lam's pants. He begs him to save them, Kins. Afterward, he'll give him 50,000 as a reward. True Thin apologizes to Tin Lam. This continuation card belongs to someone with your strength. He finally agrees to help. The two guys in the observation room are furious. What a bunch of useless cowards. So many people, yet so timid. The fat guy immediately orders the release of monsters from 21 to 23. He says they need to add more pressure to the trial participants. The staff member knows monster number 21 is much stronger than a level 1. Teen Lam definitely can't handle it. The fat guy turns around and says he won't die. He's definitely awakened his superhuman ability, even if he hasn't. Awakened, he's close. A stronger monster will stimulate his awakening even more. The staff member doesn't know what to do when his boss gives another order. Monster 20 inches the experiment area. The gate between the experiment and release areas is now open. Go to the second floor, activate the release door again. Then destroy the main and backup power sources for the trial arena. The staff member worries that if he destroys the main and backup power, all the security measures for the locked-up monsters will quickly fail. Without the auxiliary power grid, the release door won't close due to the power cut. The upper release area has 15 level 1 monsters left. The experiment area has 18 monsters. A super strong level 1 monster, and all of them, will enter the trial arena. Listen, the power cut means the escape door won't open. The trial participants won't be able to escape. Everyone will be eaten by monsters. The boss says not to worry so much. The trial participants came here ready to risk their lives. Dying is normal. Many staff members are scared. If we do this and get caught, we'll get the death penalty. Maybe we should just give up on this commission. The boss gets angry. This is a commission from the fan family. If we take the deposit and don't complete it, the result will be no different from death. After this is done, I'll give you 10 million to leave this city. The staff member is pressured by his boss. He has no choice but to comply. AT the arena. Tin Lam easily kills the level 1 monster. Ryu Thin thinks Tin Lam is amazing. It's hard to imagine what he's been through to master these monster-killing skills. I keep my word. I'll give you 50,000. Even if I don't have enough, I'll have my sister use her part-time job money to pay you. His sister claps. True Thin, why are you dragging me into this? The bald guy has already gone back to the trial room to rest. You should go back too. His sister, True Thao, bows and thanks Tin Lam for his help. Then she drags her brother back to their room. True Thin still shouts that after the trial ends, he'll treat him to street skewers. Tin Lam laughs and says it's not necessary. He's already full. Suddenly, he shouts a warning to everyone. A monster. A monster is jumping down from above. True Thin sees the monster above him. He immediately pushes the two people next to him away. He alone is crushed by the monster. True Thao's tears stream down, crying for her brother. No Anne is also stunned. It hasn't even been half an hour. Why is there a second release? If there's a change in the rules, they should have announced it. Tin Lam glances at the 3 newly released monsters. Their aura is already close to level 2. The fan family will stop at nothing to make sure he fails the trial. The monster bends down and grabs True Thin's body. The other guy pulls True Thao away before the monsters notice them. But the sister is too grief-stricken. Her brother is dead. The dead can't be brought back. The others have no choice but to run first. Suddenly, True Tao runs towards the monster. She hits it with all her might, demanding it release her brother. But her weak strength is like hitting a wall. True Thao falls to the ground. The girl is devastated. Brother, we've always relied on each other. This time, we'll die together. Suddenly, Tin Lam grabs her arm, just before the 3 monsters crush her. Hey, pretty girl. If you're going to die, die with a handsome guy. What's the point of dying with your brother who has a face like that? True Thao sobs. That's my brother. I have to die with him. Tin Lam says he'll handle these monsters. He won't let them eat True Thin's body. With that, he throws her towards the fleeing Enjo An. Catch her. Wait for me. I'll take care of these monsters. No An is running for his life. Crap. Who can catch someone thrown like that? True Thao crashes into Ngo An, and they both tumble to the ground. Tin Lam can't let the monster eat True Thin's body. If it eats him, it will evolve to level 2. To kill it then, he'd have to use his mutated left hand, which would be very troublesome. Facing these 3 monsters, Tin Lam doesn't hesitate. He charges in to retrieve the body. True Thao sits on the side, her heart filled with gratitude. He's jumping into the middle of 3 monsters to save her brother. The 3 monsters are slightly stunned to see him. He charges into their midst, and they don't even pay attention to him. Seizing the opportunity, he smacks the monster's arm holding True Thin. Then he grabs True Thin and throws him out. As for these monsters, he'll calmly devour them all later. It turns out True Thin isn't dead yet. He opens his eyes in surprise. Tin Lam saved him from the monsters, but being thrown like that while seriously injured hurts so much. His bones are about to break. Seeing her brother is still alive, True Thao happily runs to him. True Thao says Tin Lam saved both of them. The brother says for this great kindness, True Thao should repay him with her body. Before he can finish, True Thao slaps him on the head. Brother, you're seriously injured. Are you trying to get yourself killed? But now is not the time to talk. We need to leave this trial arena immediately. True Thao sees the second continuation card is dropped. She plans to take her brother back to the trial room, then come back for the card. True Thin tells his sister not to participate anymore. There's something strange about this trial. His sister listened to her brother. She helped him back to their room. Outside, Tin Lam was surrounded by 3 monsters. He calmly dodged their attacks. These monsters were a real nuisance. These level 1 monsters relentlessly pursued him. They whined about being hungry all day. But this was only because Tin Lam hadn't unleashed his leader's power. If he did, he could devour a monster in just 10 seconds. Tin Lam raised his hand. He met the monster's attack head-on. He punched a hole straight through its arm. He did it again. He punched the monster's chest. Then he tore it apart. He ripped the monster into 2 pieces. To evolve to level 3, he needed to absorb 100 of these creatures. The path of evolution was difficult. If only they would quietly let him devour them. He had just finished one monster. He looked up. The drop gate was opening again. The final wave was starting early. In their room, Truthin wanted to leave the trial. His life was more important than his future. He pressed the button to exit. Suddenly, the power went out. The lights died. What was happening? The power was out. The door wouldn't open. Truthal looked outside in terror. Her face went pale. She called for her brother. The third wave had begun. Countless monsters were dropping down. It wasn't just 3 anymore. The other trainees were still fighting. They battled over the advancement card. They had no idea what was coming. One of them grabbed the card. He crouched down, clutching it tightly. I'll return to the Superhuman Academy. I want to awaken. I will get my powers. I'll get revenge on the bastards who bullied me. His face contorted with rage. He held the card tight. Then he looked up. A monster grabbed someone's head. It slammed them to the ground. He looked up again. Why were there monsters everywhere? He stumbled back in fear. The horde had already cornered him. On the floor above, the rogue staff member watched. He had sabotaged the power. He saw the trainees below being torn apart. He sneered at the students. They shouldn't blame him. They should blame Tin Lam. If it wasn't for Tin Lam, he wouldn't have risked this. He had released all 33 monsters, an act punishable by death. Tin Lam spotted him. He was standing above the drop gate. A small smile crept onto his face. The staffer was confused by his smile. He thought he was in the safest place. He even had to thank Tin Lam. Without him, he wouldn't have earned 1,000 gold. After this job, he'd flee the country. He would live the rest of his life in luxury. Tin Lam ripped the arm off a monster. He threw it towards the man. The staffer was surprised for a moment, but then he laughed. You missed. What good was that? The monster's arm hit the ceiling. It ricocheted down. It slammed onto his head. The impact sent him off balance. He tumbled over the edge. It was over. One day, you laugh at others. The next day, they laugh at you. He trembled in fear. He offered Tin Lam all his money. He begged to be saved. But Tin Lam was busy with the other monsters. With so many monsters, he couldn't even save the other trainees. Why would he save a greedy lowlife like him? He was lucky Tin Lam hadn't already sent a monster his way. As if on cue, Tin Lam shoved a monster right at him. Oops, my hand slipped. Don't take it personally. But wait, if you get eaten, you won't be able to take it personally anyway. The monsters immediately swarmed him. They began to devour him. After eating a human, the monster evolved. It reached level 2. It had gained sentience. The other monsters evolved too. They began to communicate in their own strange language. Then they charged at Tin Lam together. After reaching level 2, they were no longer mindless. They could sense he had devoured their kind. Calm down. Let's negotiate. Just come at me one by one. I can't eat all of you at once. The fat boss watched from above. He killed a staff member under these conditions. The Fan family's mission was proving difficult. It was not going to be easy, but this was the end of the line for him. Over 30 monsters were evolving. They fed on the trainees. Now, not even 3 superhumans could escape this trial ground alive. He walked through the closing bulkhead. Gold bars propped it open, leaving just enough room. Now, he only needed to shut the final gate. The second floor would be sealed. His mission would be complete. The fat man's arm absorbed energy. He clenched his fist towards the bars. The golden bars propping the door open, instantly shattered. The heavy door slammed shut. He returned to the control room. 2 staff members were unconscious on the floor. He grabbed a cup of water. He splashed it in their faces. He told them to wake up. The 2 men slowly opened their eyes. He slammed his fist on the table. He roared in fake anger. Explain what happened. Why is the power out? Why are all the monitors down? Why won't any of the doors open? The 2 men held their heads. They said it wasn't their fault. Another staff member had knocked them out. He must have sabotaged the main and backup power systems. The boss pretended to be clueless. He told them not to pass the blame. This was their failure. Find a way to restore the power. If you don't, the rescue teams can't get in. The emergency protocols have sealed the area. The staffer replied nervously. It would take at least 30 minutes. The boss smirked inwardly. The staffer was worried about the monsters. He suggested calling the Purge headquarters. They could force the doors open. The boss stood before him. If we call the Purgers, it will cost 100 million. Who is paying for that? So we tell headquarters a maintenance worker went crazy, that he destroyed everything, and now we need the Purgers to smash the gates? That's ridiculous. Just restore the power. No more talk. The 2 men immediately began repairs. The boss just watched, his heart filled with satisfaction. In 30 minutes, the power would be back. But inside, there would only be monsters and the remains of the trainees. Down in the trial grounds, the power was out. The cameras were dead. The exit was sealed. This was the perfect opportunity. It was time to wake up. Tin Lam could finally transform. No one would see him now. He pulled up his sleeve. His left arm instantly mutated into a monstrous limb. Come on, my monster brethren, let me send you on your way. May you be reborn without monster genes. A single, full-powered punch from his leader's arm sent countless monsters to their next life. Tin Lam puffed his cheeks. He was too full. The energy he absorbed was more than he expected. This was because of the mission. These monsters had devoured many trainees. All of them were unawakened superhumans. This meant Tin Lam had indirectly consumed a lot of superhuman genes. There was no other choice. He couldn't be picky now. Monster genes or superhuman genes. They were all human. Even if they were tainted, he had to consume them. Only by getting stronger could Tin Lam enter hell. He had to destroy the demon god. If I don't go to hell, who will? A monster lunged, calling him a traitor. Tin Lam delivered a vicious uppercut. The monster's head flew off its shoulders. When I say brethren, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the true owners of these bodies. You monsters are just parasites. You stole the bodies of my people. I will exterminate all of you. And your king. Suddenly, Tin Lam felt something strange. This wasn't good. His left arm was evolving again. Monster genes plus superhuman genes. It was more than enough energy to evolve. According to his past life's experience, there were 3 stages of evolution. The first was brain evolution. Each monster was part of a communication network. They were like cheap phones on a network. The next stage was to become a server. He could control all the other phones. This was bad. He had to sever the connection immediately. Tin Lam slammed his left hand on the ground. He tried to force a disconnect, but it was too late. He could sense them, and they could sense him. After seeing the monsters were gone, the other trainees prepared to rob Tin Lam. True Thin tried to stop them. Tin Lam saved our lives. He's badly injured because of us. A person has to have some decency. We can't rob him. Tin Lam noticed there were still survivors, but they had no sense of honor. They were just cowards. They kicked True Thin to the ground. This is our last chance. There are only 3 advancement cards. In the end, won't we all be fighting for them anyway? True Thin was already hurt. The kick made him cough up blood. These guys were shameless. We never asked Tin Lam to fight the monsters. He just wanted to show off. If he got hurt, it's his own fault for trying to be a hero. They walked toward Tin Lam. Hey, kid, you're badly injured now. Hand over the advancement card, or we'll beat you to death. They knew he had the other 2 cards as well. They wanted all 3. True Thin, though injured, remained loyal. He told his sister to stay put. He was going to kill those ungrateful bastards. He wouldn't let them harm his savior. Ngo An screamed from behind. True Thin, don't go. True Thin turned to see Ngo An's terrified face. Had his spiritual sense detected something? The shameless trainee moved in to attack Tin Lam. But suddenly, something erupted from the ground. It swallowed him whole. Tin Lam leaped back, dodging the attack. What was that thing? The bowl-cut guy froze, unable to move. He stared at the creature before him. What is this? Isn't this a ground dragon? The ground dragon roared. Ngo An and the siblings, hiding in a room, were knocked unconscious by the sound. The bowl-cut guy, standing close, coughed up blood. It poured from his eyes, nose, and mouth. He was losing consciousness. He remembered a story. A ground dragon had appeared in a southern village. The local 4-star superhuman was away at the time. The purge bureau there was destroyed along with the village. When the superhuman returned, all he could do was drive the ground dragon away. It was over. All the trainees here were going to die. The bowl-cut guy collapsed. The ground dragon whipped past, swallowing him whole. The ground dragon turned towards Tin Lam. He knew it. The monster network had attracted something terrible. This was going to be tough. The monster charged at Tin Lam. He used his left arm to block, but the difference in muscle strength was too great. He couldn't hold it. His left arm was severely injured. He needed to find an advantage. His arm regenerated. A tendril sprouted from his palm. The giant beast opened its mouth to bite down. Tin Lam realized something. This ground dragon was just a tail. A few minutes earlier, in the parents' waiting area, the parents prayed for their children. They hoped they would pass the trial. Some were arguing. We shouldn't have let our kids compete. They should have just been protected citizens. Tu Nu stood there too. Her gaze was firm. The trial grounds were ahead. The power had suddenly gone out. It had been over 10 minutes. Was this part of the trial? Tu Nu approached the security guards. She told them she was an accepted student. She felt something was wrong with the power inside. The other parents overheard and grew anxious. The 2 guards exchanged a look. How did she know? They told her she was talking nonsense. Everything inside was fine. Go back to your seat. If you don't, we'll make you leave. Tu Nu had lightning abilities. She could sense electrical currents. She knew something had happened. The guards continued to argue with her. They refused to let her in. Suddenly, a sharp pain hit her. It wasn't just her. All the parents felt a sharp pain in their chests. What was happening? Why did everyone have chest pains at the same time? Something was wrong here. The power outage, the sudden pain. There was a problem in the trial grounds. While the guards were doubled over in pain, Tu Nu ran straight into the trial grounds. Using her electrical senses, she quickly found the staff repairing the power system. They were trying to restore the system. They had to save the kids inside. The second floor door was also locked. They had to focus on restoring the first floor. The lead staff member talked about repairs, but his thoughts were elsewhere. The pressure wave had come through this door. Not even a missile could penetrate it. Something terrifying must be inside. This door was their only protection. The Purge headquarters must have detected the disturbance. He would just repair things slowly. He'd wait for reinforcements to arrive. Seeing everyone working so hard, Tu-Nu offered to help. She introduced herself as a new freshman. She had 95% superhuman genes. Her ability was lightning. The man saw she was just a freshman. She was only a level 1 superhuman. She couldn't have any electricity in her body. How could she restore the power here? Tu-Nu unleashed her power. She might not have electricity in her body, but as long as she was in the city, she could wield infinite power. Instantly, a current of electricity surged forth. The man was stunned. Where did she come from? He could see the electrical element with his naked eye. He foolishly reached out to touch the current. He was instantly shocked. You're covered in electricity. Don't you feel anything? At that moment, he remembered. There was a new super genius, 95% superhuman genes. Her name was Tu-Ungu. The electrical equipment slowly came back online. He thought, this is not good. She can actually restore the power. She can open the gate to the trial grounds. No, I don't know what kind of monster is in there, but it's definitely dangerous. I'm just here to work. I don't want to die. He demanded she stop. Her powers were unstable. She could damage the equipment. This is state property. You can't mess around with it. Tu-Nu kept moving forward. Are you going to stop me? The man immediately gave an order. Someone is obstructing our work. They're damaging equipment. Repair team, remove the obstacle. The other staff members immediately raised their guns. They all aimed at Tu-Ungu. Don't think you can do whatever you want just because you're a genius. If you make another move, we'll shoot you. Meanwhile, in the trial grounds, Tin Lam was still fighting the ground dragon. He used his arm to block its bite. This wasn't good. Its teeth were immune to the leader's flame. His arm was shredded. These black teeth were too sharp. They were perfect for both offense and defense. It could even absorb his gene power without a direct hit. A few more bites, and his third evolution would be terminated. He had to avoid these black teeth. Tin Lam's arm regenerated. The monster attacked again. He leaped aside, dodging. This was his chance. He sprouted a tentacle from his hand. It wrapped around the ground dragon's body. His tentacle couldn't even pierce its skin, but at least he could hold it. He pulled. He got closer to the ground dragon. He used the leader's flame. He burned its outer skin. He hoped to get to the flesh inside. This was bad. The black teeth could also grow on its body. Instantly, the teeth impaled him. It was all or nothing. He used the flame at maximum output. He would burn it. The ground dragon turned its head. It wanted to swallow Tin Lam whole. Outside, the lead staffer was smug. Even with the highest superhuman genes in history, she was just a college freshman. A dozen guns pointed at her would make her wet her pants. But if they actually hurt her, the academy wouldn't let it go, so they couldn't shoot. Suddenly, everyone felt the chest pain again. The other guards fired their guns in panic. What a bunch of weak-willed fools. The bullets flew toward Tu-Nu. This was bad. The academy would hold them responsible. But the bullets all missed, only grazing past her. So many people, yet not a single hit. They were lucky. But was it really luck? It wasn't luck. Tu-Nu had created an electric current around her. It formed a magnetic field that deflected the bullets. The man panicked. This was the talent of 95% superhuman genes. She wasn't human. To play with lightning like this, he was no match. The most absurd thing was, how could she withstand the terrifying pressure? In the trial grounds, everyone else had collapsed. Tu-Nu used electromagnetism to pull all the guards' weapons to her. He remembered from the academy. The more superhuman genes a person has, the more they can withstand a monster's pressure. After disarming the guards, she demanded they open the door. The equipment was powered up. On the upper floor, the fat boss and 2 staff members were struggling to stand against the pressure. The 2 staff members reported that the power was back. The boss was surprised. They hadn't even started repairs on the second floor. The first floor repair team was working like crazy. They not only fixed the first floor line, but also connected the second floor line. He had never seen them work so efficiently before. The boss ordered them to connect to the internal cameras. He wanted to see what was happening. The staff member eagerly wanted to open the door to save people first. Was this guy in a hurry to die? Before he could stop him, the staff member pressed the button. The door slowly opened. On the first floor, Tu-Nu's door opened too. The boss rushed over to look. Tu-Nu also rushed into the trial grounds. The scene before her left her frozen. What was that thing? The first floor repair staff also stared in horror. This was a ground dragon. They stumbled back in fear, but Tu-Nu couldn't look away. Tin Lam was fighting the ground dragon. She immediately entered a combat stance. The entire trial area lost power. The boss looked down from above. He didn't understand why the power was out again. He was helpless. A large area of the city also lost power. At the Purge headquarters, staff received the news. Centered on the trial base, the entire power grid was overloaded. It must be the new student, Tu-Nu. Losing control again, they immediately dispatched a rescue team. A 4-star superhuman from the academy was with them. The Purge City's probe had already detected the earthquake and abnormal pressure. They were already on their way. Tin Lam was fighting the ground dragon. He saw an electric current above it. It was Tunu's lightning. She was a huge help. But Tin Lam was greedy. Before he ran, he had to take a piece of this ground dragon. He grabbed one of the ground dragon's black teeth. He used the leader's flame to break the tooth. He used the force to push himself backward. The ground dragon had lost a piece of its flesh. He immediately ran towards Tunu. After unleashing all her power, she had fainted. The fat boss observed from above. The Fan family's mission was indeed not simple. This kid must have a secret, but it was time for this to end. The appearance of the ground dragon was a gift from heaven. It would help him get his money. Tin Lam held Tunu. He dodged the ground dragon's attack. A part of the trial ground was destroyed by its attack. The boss had been thinking of how to shift the blame. Now he didn't have to. The ground dragon's appearance would erase all his crimes. The scene was chaotic enough. Even if the Purgers were fast, it would take them 2 to 3 minutes to arrive. As long as, during that time, he could kill Tin Lam, no one would ever know. He immediately ordered all superhumans to come out and intercept. Stop the ground dragon before the Purgers arrive. Don't let it harm anyone outside. Save these students. He smirked. Now he had a chance to kill Tin Lam himself. The ground dragon was attacked by the staff. Tin Lam calmly held Tunu. He just needed to wait a little longer. The Purgers would arrive soon, but his arm was transforming more violently. The level 3 evolution was too intense. He couldn't maintain his human form. Suddenly, Tin Lam's senses sharpened. He reacted. His left arm shot out. It caught a golden arrow. It was the fat boss who had attacked him. He finally got a clear look at Tin Lam. He was stunned. Tin Lam's eyes were sharp. His left arm was mutated. It was covered in red flames. He didn't understand what this superhuman ability was. The 5 elements were metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. There were even special variations like ice and lightning. No superhuman power could transform an arm like this. He used his ability. He turned the room's iron bars into gold. He pulled them out. He threw the sharp golden bars at Tin Lam. The bars rained down from behind. Tin Lam used his arm to block them. He dared to attack from behind. He used his power to drive the bars deeper. Suddenly, his eyes widened in shock. The bars had been melted away. The blue flames from Tin Lam's arm had incinerated them. He didn't understand what Tin Lam was. Monsters didn't have elemental powers. He thought he was a fire-type superhuman. No, that's not right. Monsters above level 4 had elemental powers. But how? Tin Lam's arm slammed down. The boss quickly retreated to dodge. The trial ground was damaged even more. Looking at the figure before him, this wasn't human. But calling it a monster wasn't right either. He couldn't kill Tin Lam in a short amount of time. Tin Lam's arm was regenerating. It was getting bigger and stronger. He made a decision. In this form, he was a monster. In a few minutes, the Purgers would arrive. They would kill him too. Tin Lam was still struggling to control his arm. The level 3 evolution was more violent than he thought. It must be from eating that piece of the ground dragon. His arm grew black teeth, just like the ground dragon. This was the power of the black fangs. If he couldn't tame it, he couldn't return to his human form. He swung his arm. The fat boss summoned a golden shield. For pure defense, his golden shield was incredibly strong. A monster definitely couldn't break through. He painted a pretty picture, but that shield wouldn't hold. The black teeth on his arm shattered the shield. They also slashed him. The fat boss was bleeding profusely. He couldn't believe it. A light touch from that black tooth had left him in critical condition. What kind of monster or superhuman was Tin Lam? There were no clues. He couldn't hold on any longer. Was he going to die here? He decided to run. In Tin Lam's current state, anyone who saw him would kill him. Because he was a monster. The Purgers were coming. They would not spare him. The fat boss jumped back, away from Tin Lam. Even if you're lucky enough to escape the Purgers, it's useless. Monsters are the enemy of humanity. No one will help you. Everyone who sees you will want to kill you. You monster, you will definitely die. Die. He turned his head. Nu was standing right in front of him. Her hand was charged with electricity. He quickly backed away from her. Hey, girl, why are you attacking me? Look carefully. The monster is over there, Nu said. Her eyes were resolute. Without hesitation, she shot electricity at him. He's not a monster. His name is Tin Lam. He roared. Do you know what you're doing? You're betraying humanity. Nu pushed the fat boss towards Tin Lam. He raised his giant hand. If this world won't accept her, then I'll fight the whole world. Tin Lam's hand slammed down. It pinned the man to the ground. Then, it absorbed all his superhuman genes. Seeing the ground dragon being attacked by more powerful elements, Tin Lam knew the Purgers had arrived. He told Mu to get away from him. He told her to pretend she knew nothing. He didn't know if his left arm could ever return to human form. Mu didn't leave. Instead, she came and hugged his mutated arm. Her eyes looked at him with determination. If you'll fight the world for me, then I'll go with you. Tin Lam smiled contentedly. Of course, Tu Nu was always by his side, no matter what. Outside, several staff members, 3-star Earth-type superhumans, were raising a shield to buy time. Their leader planned to run and save himself when the shield broke, but life is not a dream. The ground dragon charged forward. It shattered the shield. It killed all 3 Earth-type superhumans. The leader was also dead. The remaining staff were terrified. A shield made by 3-star Earth types couldn't withstand a single blow. All they could do now was run. The ground dragon began to open its mouth and roar. Its pressure wave made everyone's chests hurt again. They all collapsed to the ground. This was bad. They couldn't even stand up. How could they run? The staff members looked up at the huge mouth of the ground dragon, ready to devour them. A person appeared in front of them. It was a purger, holding a water pipe. It didn't matter who it was, just save them. The woman looked at the ground dragon. A stream of water flowed from the pipe. She was angry. This ground dragon had interrupted her blind date. She swung the pipe in her hand. A crescent-shaped stream of water shot out. Was she going to cut through the staff members too? The water blade passed through the staff like a cool stream. They weren't harmed. But with this power, how could it cut the ground dragon? The blade was harmless to them. But the moment it touched the ground dragon, it left a very deep gash. The element danced like a spirit, yet it raged like a demon. This was the barrier that stopped countless level 3 superhumans. It was the mark of the legendary 4-star superhumans. Living element. The staff could stand up again. They immediately ran. The ground dragon was slowly recovering from the attack. The woman walked past them. Leave this to me. You go evacuate the others. She was the strongest protector of the Superhuman Gene Academy. A 4-star superhuman with 91% superhuman genes, Thuong Koi. She told the staff to report back to the purgers. They needed to know the terrain and the situation inside. They had to find and rescue any survivors. Thuong Koi stood before the ground dragon. She prepared for a fight to the death. Inside the trial grounds, Tin Lam needed some time. He had to restore his mutated arm to its human form. Tu Nu told him to hide first. She would buy him time. He hid in a room. He told Tu Nu to run. Tell the purgers. There's someone breathing over there. Go save them quickly. In the room, he was trying to control his arm. Level 3 power was 10 times that of level 2. A level 3 monster's body becomes huge. It has to bear the violent monster genes. He had to compress his power and restore his human form. His bones had to evolve first to handle the power. To become stronger, something happened to Tin Lam's body. The 1% superhuman gene he had from before was absorbing the fat guy's superhuman genes. They were both of the metal element. In short, his 1% superhuman gene had awakened. He had to use it to stabilize his monster genes. He had to guide them in an orderly way so his bones could evolve. A black tooth grew from his left hand. It shot out, piercing the ceiling. This power. It was the black fang of the ground dragon. Outside, the purgers had quickly found the unconscious Enjo Ann. They thanked Tu Nu for her help. She was a bit stunned. How did they find him so quickly? A noise came from Tin Lam's room. It attracted the purgers' attention. Oh no, Tin Lam was about to be discovered. She was about to stop the 2 purgers, but they told her to be quiet. Sound would attract the monster's attention. Tu Nu had made her decision. If Tin Lam was forced to become a wanderer, she would go with him, no matter where. The 2 purgers carefully approached to check the situation. Just then, Tin Lam walked out with a normal arm. He said he had just woken up. He asked what had happened. The team saw it was a person, not a monster. They sighed in relief. They took out their phones to report to their captain. They had found 5 survivors. Tu Nu used her eyes to ask if he was okay. He flexed his muscular arm, signaling that everything was fine. All the bones in his body had evolved into the black fang state of the ground dragon, but his power couldn't compare to the real thing. The captain reported back. The ground dragon had been driven away. They could now lead the survivors out. Tin Lam saw that the ground dragon was only driven away, not killed. Humanity was truly too weak. They couldn't kill it now. They didn't even know that only a 4-star superhuman could defeat a ground dragon. And that was just a small tale of the demon god. The monsters hidden deep underground were far beyond human comprehension. Tin Lam had to get more power as soon as possible. To save others, he had to save himself first. He wanted resources and gene power. He wanted him and Tu Nu to become invincible. Until then, they had to try their best. He had to hide under the identity of a superhuman. The scene changes to a desolate place. A beautiful monster leader. It was holding a man's head on a crumbling building. It looked at the desperate man before it, a beautiful dream. His eyes were filled with fear. Tin Lam woke up. It was just a vision in his head. He was startled. There's not much time left. Tu Nu thought he was asking about the busty girl by the door. Ever since you entered the school gate, you've been staring at other people. Well, that girl is a D-cup, but I'm a changed man now. There isn't much time left. Not in that way. Tu Nu didn't believe a playboy like him could change. Tin Lam said, in 1 year, the world will change drastically. Before that, I have to help you evolve into a 5-star superhuman as soon as possible. Tiunu sat on the suitcase, letting him pull her. Only 1 year? How is that possible? The strongest person in the world is only a peak 4-star. What power a peak 5-star has, what they look like, humans don't even know. He said they both had to work extremely hard, harder than for the college entrance exam. She just had to believe in him. Of course, Tu and Gu believed in Tin Lam, except for the changed man part. A playboy is always a playboy. The first thing Tu and Gu needed to do was reach 3-star superhuman in 1 month. Her superhuman gene was 95%. It was said that the more superhuman genes you have, the more resources you need. The two of them had no backing. How could they get so many resources? At that moment, Tru Thin was also in the schoolyard. He waved at Tin Lam. Big bro, because you saved us, we were able to survive the trial. We can continue studying at the academy. The school made an exception. All the survivors are considered to have passed the trial. We will never forget this great kindness for the rest of our lives. So from now on, you are our big bro. We will follow your orders. We'll do so without regret, even if it means death. Then, Tru Thin pushed Enjo An's and Tru Thao's heads down. He made them bow to their big bro. Chunu teased, well. Even the boys are insisting on living and dying with Tin Lam. It seems your charm has leveled up again. Tru Thin saw the girl next to Tin Lam. He wanted to know who she was. He had wanted to ask during the trial, but never got the chance. He introduced her to everyone. This is Tiun Gu. The three of them were shocked to hear her name. She was the strongest freshman since the academy's founding, according to the school forums. The genius Tiun Gu with 95% superhuman genes, the highest in history. Tin Lam told them they didn't need to be so surprised. Tru Thin's attitude immediately changed. He couldn't believe his big bro and the legendary genius Tiun Nu were a couple. Tin Lam and Tiun Nu were both speechless. He explained that it was complicated. In short, they were just childhood friends. But the three of them obviously didn't believe him. They were even sharing a suitcase. Ngo, Anne had a suggestion. If you two are childhood sweethearts, you'll probably form a team, right? After new students enroll, there's a resource competition. Each new student is given some resources. For 3 hours, you compete with each other based on your abilities. So, can we form a temporary team? Enjo An's spiritual sense could help them avoid the top freshmen. Tru Thin spoke up. Ngo An, stop talking. Are you trying to harm Big Bro? Students like us who are allowed to continue, and those with low superhuman genes, are easily targeted every year, especially this year. Haven't you heard from the upperclassmen? The 88% genius who was screened from all the high school graduates has become the boss of the freshmen. Their goal is to rob all the resources from those with superhuman genes below 50%, because it's very hard for them to awaken. Very difficult to awaken under 50%, like Tru Thin, who had 39% superhuman genes. Tri Tao had 41% superhuman genes, and barely had 50% superhuman genes. Tin Lam and Tu Nu looked at each other. The first batch of resources was here, and they came with some cute bait. If he could train them to be capable assistants, he could save some time and effort. Tin Lam could help them become the strongest in the school. No, the whole world. They could reach the pinnacle of their lives. They would willingly help the two of them eliminate obstacles. This was like locking them in with the key of friendship. Tin Lam suggested they form a team. Tru Thin, who was arguing with Mo An, was surprised. Big bro, don't do this out of pity for us. He said it wasn't for any other reason. I want to form a team simply because you are people of honor. You are excellent and useful comrades. Tru Thin was moved to tears. However, if you want to join Tin Lam's team, the goals will be quite different. Since Big Bro values us, we will absolutely not disappoint you. We will follow all your arrangements. Tin Lam smiled and asked, if someone accidentally gets everyone's resources, do those resources belong to them? No, Anne realized something wasn't quite right. He patted their shoulders. Don't be so tense. I was just asking for fun. Now, take me and Tu Nu to the dorm to drop off our suitcase. The first class is tonight. They led Tin Lam and Tu Nu to the dorm. They asked what his superhuman gene percentage was. He just smiled. You'll know soon enough. It might scare you a little. Tru Thin looked at Ngo An. Big Bro's superhuman genes must be very high. I'm so excited. That evening, the group went to class together. In the first class, a man introduced himself. My name is Fo Luong. I will be your basic studies teacher for the next year. I speak my mind. He scanned the crowd below. In 1 year, if you can't awaken your superhuman power, you will all be kicked out. The final trial pass rate was 50%. Go on. Have you awakened your spiritual type superhuman power, danger sense, befitting your chicken weak 50% genes? Fo Luong coldly read out the numbers. 39%, 41%. Below, Tru Thin wasn't ashamed at all. He cheerfully raised his hand. Teacher Fo, I'm back. Tu Thao next to him quietly answered, yes. The teacher pointed at Tru Thin's group. If you can't awaken within a year, you'll be normal people for the rest of your lives. The The class erupted in laughter. He laughed along with them. I'll do my best. Tu Thao shyly said, yes. Tin Lam asked, confused, what's wrong with Teacher Fo? Tru Thin smiled and explained, anyone with superhuman genes below 50% can awaken. He only calls out their percentages. On the podium, the teacher adjusted his glasses. Your class is quite special. You've probably read the news. The person with the highest superhuman genes in human history is in your class. Hearing this, everyone immediately looked at Tu Nu. Fo Luong's tone gradually changed. Tu Nengu's future is unimaginable. But that's not what surprises me the most. What surprises me is that someone with only 1% superhuman genes appeared in your class. His eyes darkened. He said coldly, the 1% student, who is no different from a normal person, please stand up so everyone can get to know you. Below, the T curled his lip in a smug smile. The others looked around, and murmurs began to spread. Wow, those genes are too low. Tru Thin muttered to himself, with a hint of sympathy. There's someone even more pathetic than me. 1% is too miserable. The whole class will definitely target him. He didn't notice the person next to him had already stood up. Tin Lam stood up, smiled, and said, Teacher Fo, I've awakened. Metal-type superhuman power. His words made Tru Thin jump and curse. Holy crap, the 1% student is big bro? Fo Luong wasn't too surprised. He just calmly thought, 1% superhuman genes can awaken? He habitually adjusted his glasses. If that's the case, student Tin Lam, please come to the podium and assist me with the lecture. As Tin Lam walked up, he half-jokingly asked, there should be a reward for helping with the teaching, right? Fo Luong wasn't stingy. In the resource competition after class, I'll give you an extra share. He smiled and replied, thank you, Teacher Fo. Seeing Tin Lam so confident, the teacher immediately poured cold water on him. Don't thank me yet. 1% superhuman genes with 2 shares of resources will probably become your nightmare. He began his lecture. What we call superhuman power is elemental power. Metal, water, fire, wood, earth, ice, wind, lightning, and spirit. Once awakened, you can use your superhuman genes to channel elemental power. The element can temporarily stay within the superhuman genes in your body. Everyone looked at the image on the screen. Tin Lam's voice filled the classroom. At this point, we need to control the superhuman genes. Elements from the outside world are stored in the superhuman genes. Fo Luong added, when you can prevent the element from disappearing, making your superhuman genes a perfect battery, you will become a 1-star superhuman. He took a heavy metal bar from his desk. Let me show you. Fo Luong held up the metal bar. First, you need a metal bar. The amount of element that superhuman genes can hold is limited. He easily broke off a small piece from the metal bar like breaking a cracker. Then, I estimate 1% is about this much. Fo Luong handed the small piece of metal to Tin Lam. For the rest of your life, you can only control this much metal. Try playing with it first. He lowered his gaze slightly. Superhuman power, elemental power. So unfamiliar, yet so familiar. This is something only high-level monsters possess. The end of a monster is a superhuman. The teacher turned to the class. Everyone knows that each of us has a mysterious gene sequence. Whether you are a monster or a superhuman depends on whether this gene sequence is a monster gene sequence or a superhuman gene sequence. Fo Luong continued. Fortunately, you are all superhumans who have turned the mysterious gene sequence into a superhuman gene sequence, and the amount of superhuman genes in this sequence will determine your future achievements. The more superhuman genes, the more sensitive you are to elements, the easier it is to cultivate. This world is like that. It's not fair. He gave a clear example. Starting from 90%, for every 1% increase, a superhuman makes great progress. Thuong Quang Koi, with 91% superhuman genes, can breathe underwater. Then he looked at Tu Nu. Student Tu Nu from our class can now withstand at least 3,000 volts of electricity. His voice revealed his expectation. If a person with 100% superhuman genes appears, they could probably be called a god. Fo Luong's gaze seemed to accidentally glance at Tin Lam. Conversely, the lower the superhuman genes, the lower the sensitivity to elements. It's harder to cultivate. Below 20%, there was no precedent for awakening before Tin Lam appeared. He suddenly spoke up. Teacher Fo, is that so? The teacher turned to look at him and muttered, well, if you can't draw out the metal element, I can help. Before he could finish his sentence, Fo Luong froze. The metal bar in Tin Lam's hand had turned golden, he said. Look, teacher, the metal in my body is coming out. Fo Luong was stunned. Success, and he's so skilled at it. He thought in amazement, wasn't his awakening just an unexpected miracle? But he said aloud, Student Tin Lam, it seems you were either extremely smart or extremely lucky. Several golden metal bars appeared behind Fo Luong. With your small piece of iron, I will teach you a truth. The difference between 1% and 80%. The straight metal bars gradually bent. Fo Luong's voice echoed. It's 80 people ganging up on one. The metal bars all converged on a single point on the iron in Tin Lam's hand. He said, "No need for fancy formations. A simple gang-up is an absolute suppression." Fo Luong controlled his ability with his hand. He said coldly, "Your superhuman power will be easily defeated. Those with few superhuman genes, you must always know that you are the weak. The weak are the ones behind the strong." The students below witnessed this scene with mixed feelings. "I remember you, Teacher Fo Luong." Tin Lam recalled from his memories. The teacher had died at his hands, at a life-or-death moment. He had truly put his students behind him, buying them time to escape. He was an admirable teacher. Seeing Fo Luong sweating as if he had just taken a shower, the students below began to wonder, "Hey, why is Teacher Fo sweating so much?" Fo Luong himself was trembling all over. "Damn it, I felt a hint of suppression. I almost didn't notice." Feeling the opponent's attack power increase slightly, Tin Lam chuckled. "Is Teacher Fo using his superhuman genes to suppress me?" He wasn't afraid at all. On the contrary, he was more confident. "My superhuman genes have swallowed that fat guy's superhuman genes. They become super fat genes. Moreover, I have 99% of AKK behind me. Of course, Teacher Fo can't suppress me." Tin Lam had an idea. "This won't do. I should still be modest. Otherwise, how will the other students come to bully me?" He pretended to drop the metal bar in his hand. He fell backward and cried out, "Ah, teacher, I can't hold on anymore." He laughed at himself inwardly. "My acting is too exaggerated." The teacher also noticed this. Did he lose on purpose? I couldn't even suppress him. The students below immediately cheered. "Wow, the teacher is so amazing." Of course, what can 1% superhuman genes do? He's as weak as a chicken. Fo Luong retracted the metal bars. He thought with some annoyance, "I almost lost my authority." The corner of his mouth twitched slightly. "It's good that this kid has secrets." Fo Luong cleared his throat and said, "Ahem, thank you for student Tin Lam's demonstration. This concludes the basic studies class." He looked down at everyone below. "The winner takes all. The strong survive. This is our school's philosophy. Everyone, get ready. The freshman resource competition begins now." No Hung, sitting in the front row, arrogantly said, "I've been ready for a long time." He sneered. "I just don't know if student Tin Lam is ready. On my way to school today, I happened to hear his bold words. I don't know where a 1% superhuman like him gets that kind of confidence." Ngo Hung crossed his arms, his voice full of sarcasm. "He wants to take down all of us and take all the resources. How arrogant." No Hung jumped over the desk and said, "Wanting to get everyone's resources. That's arrogant enough. It's just that." What surprised people was that someone with only 1% superhuman genes like you could actually awaken. "It seems you've worked hard." He arrogantly introduced himself. "My name is Ngo Hung, 85% superhuman genes, water-type superhuman." After speaking, he didn't forget to add a sarcastic comment. "I really admire you, to be able to survive with such poor genes." No Hung said magnanimously, "And to even break through and awaken. I'll make an exception and invite you to join us." As soon as he finished speaking, the people behind him laughed in agreement. "All the students with superhuman genes above 60% are gathered here, the Alliance of the Strong." Ngo Hung's invitation had its own calculations. If he joins, then his girlfriend, Tu knew. He had his own calculations. The one with the most superhuman genes in history will surely join too. He began. "We can carry out that crazy plan of yours together, the one to rob all the resources from the weak." Ngo Hung immediately made a commitment. If the resources fall into our hands, they can be utilized to their fullest extent. Contrary to what he expected, Tin Lam burst out laughing. "That's hilarious." He didn't beat around the bush. "In the end, you're just a bully who picks on the weak." Ngo Hung's face immediately darkened. "Who the hell do you think you are?" He turned to leave. "You're just trash with 1% superhuman genes. You don't even have the right to study at the Superhuman Academy. You only passed the final trial because Tu Nu protected you. I already knew all about it. For better or worse, I only invited you because you could bring Tu Nu with you." Tin Lam didn't seem embarrassed at all. Instead, he smiled brightly. "You're triggered." He turned his head back. He threw a parting shot. "You just wait." No Hung raised an eyebrow, his mouth curving into a contemptuous smile as he declared, "Our alliance of the strong will definitely snatch all the resources from you weaklings." He raised both hands, giving a thumbs up in provocation. "Good luck. I'll be praying for you." All his anger was like punching a cotton bag. Seeing Tin Lam still so calm, he returned to his seat in frustration. Fo Luong asked, confused, "Did you intentionally anger him?" He shook his head and replied, "I was just sincerely encouraging him." Even a child wouldn't believe that. Fo Luong adjusted his glasses and announced to everyone, "Ahem, the freshman resource competition officially begins." He started distributing vouchers to everyone. "All students, come to the podium to receive your resource exchange vouchers. Then gather in the forest outside the school." Then he turned to him and said, "Tin Lam, here are your 2 vouchers." The scene changes to the forest outside the school. In the middle of the night, Fo Luong's voice echoed, clearly explaining the rules. "You cannot leave. You have 1 hour to act freely. Students must rely on their own abilities. Immediately after, a loud begin. Echoed. True Thin excitedly said, "Let's go. Let's group up with Big Bro." No An hesitated and replied, I'm not going. Hearing that, he was stunned. Ngo An, what do you mean? He awkwardly explained, I have to think for myself too. Ngo An quickly explained, they said that although I only have 49% superhuman genes, I've awakened. They can make an exception and let me join the alliance of the strong. True Thin angrily retorted, Big Bro can take us further. Ngo, and slowly backed away. I'm sorry. Tin Lam is very strong, but he only has 1%, not to mention facing the entire alliance of the strong. I really didn't expect him to provoke them right from the start. Hearing that, he angrily scolded, Go on, you traitor. Tu Dao immediately stopped him. Brother, everyone has their own ambitions. There's no need to make things difficult for him. At the same time, in another part of the forest, a group of people had surrounded Tin Lam and Tu Ngu, but the two didn't seem to care. They laughed and talked as usual. The others jeered. Being targeted by more than 10 strong superhumans, no wonder he's so scared. Du Hong said sarcastically, 1%, you can only laugh now. You're not going anywhere. We'll be watching you closely. When Boss and Go Hung comes back, that's when you'll cry. Tin Lam nodded, his smile still bright. Right. Bullying the weak doesn't take much time. He raised an eyebrow. What bullying? That's called rational use of resources. What do you know? Elsewhere, a girl was running and panting. After a while, she stopped, took a deep breath, and said, I've run far enough. I should be safe for now. Ngo Hung suddenly appeared behind her and said, the human body is 70% water. No one can escape my senses. Hand over your resource exchange voucher. He used his ability, controlling the water to envelop her head. This way, you won't have to suffer. She struggled and resisted. No, these are my resources. On what grounds? Ngo Hung replied disdainfully. Just blame your genes for not being good enough to join the alliance of the strong. She struggled to breathe in the water and finally had to give in. I give up. After getting the exchange voucher, he left satisfied and said, next. After that, Ngo Hung continuously used his ability to attack others, stealing their exchange vouchers. The members of the Alliance of the Strong surrounded students with a superhuman gene ratio lower than 50%. They laughed coldly. You have nowhere to run. No An was also forced to go with them, attacking a male student together. They shouted as they beat him, hand over your resource voucher. As Ngo Hung was moving, the T blocked his way and asked, got all the resources? Ngo Hung was a bit surprised. Fan the T, I haven't even looked for you yet. And you come to my door, that's fine. No Hung smirked. Let's see if someone like you, who has never been tested, the Fan family's backdoor student, is qualified to join our alliance of the strong. The T wasn't angry. Instead, he laughed. What a coincidence. Me too. He unleashed his fire-type ability to see if you're qualified to be my subordinate. Ngo Hung laughed loudly. Subordinate? You're too used to being a young master. Ngo Hung immediately launched his water-type ability to counterattack. Do you think you're still the great young master of the Fan family everywhere you go? The two abilities of fire and water collided, creating a loud explosion. Ngo Hung thought, doesn't water extinguish fire? Even if he's very strong, my moves shouldn't be evaporated so easily. On the other side, those who had their exchange vouchers stolen angrily cursed, bastards, give us back our resources. What's the problem? Why not wait until we're grown up to settle the score? You despicable villains, another timidly said. Wait a minute. At least they've finished collecting. The members of the Alliance of the Strong sneered. Are you stupid? Who wants to wait for you to grow up? The big fish eats the small fish. If you're not convinced, get stronger now. The other person trembled with anger. You bastards, it wasn't easy for us to get here. Du Hong said excitedly, now we just have to wait for Boss and Go Hung to come back, and we can collect the last few vouchers. He laughed smugly. 1%, are you scared yet? If it weren't for Tu Nu here, you would have already. Before he could finish, he saw an electric current appear in front of him. He was startled. Electricity. Seeing Tu Nu standing still with her eyes closed, Du Hong immediately guessed, Tu Nu has 95% superhuman genes. She must have done something. It must be her. He decided to charge straight at her. I have to stop her. A punch was thrown. Before it could reach its target, it was stopped by a hand. Tin Lam casually turned and asked. They found out. I still lack control. How much longer do you need? Tu Nu replied briefly. 1 minute. Du Hong used all his strength but couldn't move an inch. Cold sweat covered his face. He started to panic. My hand is stuck. Is his hand made of steel? I can't move it. 1%. That's not right. And what do they mean by 1 minute? The scene changes to the school area. At that moment, the entire school suddenly lost power. Fo Luong muttered, it seems that starting this semester, the school's electricity bill will seriously exceed the standard. He gently rubbed his fingers together to ease the headache for the people in the affairs office. The scene changes to the forest near the academy. Tin Lam turned to the person next to him. Since we've been exposed, let's pinpoint their locations freely. Come on, get ready to shock them to death. He increased his grip, squeezing Du Huang's hand. He cried out in pain. Quick, everyone, stop Tiu Mu. Du Huang turned to his accomplices. He wants to shock us to death. One of them rushed forward, contemptuously saying, then you should defeat 1% first. What are you doing? He gently caught the guy's hand, making him suffer the same fate as Du Huang. Still no movement. Tin Lam turned and asked again, hey, why haven't you released it yet? She looked at him and replied, there's still one person I haven't located. The other guy's face contorted in pain. Help, my bones are about to break. How is he so strong? Du Huang whined in pain. Now you know why I'm kneeling, right? He raised his head and said to the others, everyone, attack together. This kid's strength is immense. Be careful. Du Huang quickly added, whoever has awakened, use your superhuman power. Tin Lam asked curiously, who? Tu Nu closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and replied, Enjo Hung. I've let the electrical elements spread through the air. The electric current spread through the trees in the forest. Then she smiled and said, ah, found them. A water type and a fire type are fighting. A moment later, the members of the Alliance of the Strong were all electrocuted, lying on the ground like beached fish. Their faces were all scorched. He announced to the others, all right, listen up. You students with superhuman genes below 50%, don't listen to their threats. I'll stand up for you. I've taken all their exchange vouchers. Your starting point is still the same. You can still work harder. Seeing this, they fled in terror. Tin Lam called after them, what are you running for? Don't waste your energy. You all have static electricity on you that Tiu Nu marked. You'll definitely be shocked. He thought to himself, this is before she's even awakened. This was something Tiu Nu had researched and told him about in his past life. An electric current shot out from her hand, quickly chasing after them. This is called targeting thunderbolt. The electric current moved at an incredible speed, weaving through every tree in the forest. On the other side, the fight between the two had reached its end. No Hung knelt on the ground in a weakened state. He gritted his teeth in frustration. This little fire won't stop me. The T smiled. Very good. Come on then. He raised his hand. A giant hand of fire with a similar shape appeared, grabbing Enjo Hung. His entire body was squeezed. Ngo Hung felt uneasy. Is this fire hand capturing me? My water element can't escape at all. The T tilted his head and made a fist-clenching motion. Ngo Hung, who was already like a fish on a chopping board, was squeezed even tighter by the fire hand. The T lowered his hand and asked, can you last for 1 minute? Ngo Hung fell to the ground. He felt extremely frustrated. He had no way to fight back. Ngo Hung lay motionless, thinking of what Fo Luong had said, and couldn't help but curse silently. Damn it, the difference is too great. With a powerful family like the Fan family, there's no such thing as fairness. The T retracted his ability and praised, not bad. You've passed. You and your alliance can be my subordinates. Ngo Hung's body was covered in scratches. He frowned. Passed what? I didn't even. The T cut him off. I'm already a 3-star superhuman. In terms of strength, I could have graduated from the Superhuman Academy. You were able to use your water element to protect yourself in my fire hand without being disfigured. That's not bad. Enjo Hung asked, confused. You're already 3-star? Why are you still here studying? The Tay leaned down slightly. The resources you guys are fighting over. For me, it's as easy as flipping my hand. He extended his hand. I'm here to recruit talented individuals like you for the Fan family. The Fan family treats all talented people equally. Based on their individual abilities, they can help you grow quickly. This kind of fairness is rare in this unfair world. Do you want it? No Hung closed his eyes and thought carefully, then said, of course, He extended his hand, his voice echoing, want it. At the same time, elsewhere, those who were fleeing were struck by Tu Nu's electric current lying scattered on the ground. Seeing the lightning bolts heading towards him, the T realized in shock, thunderbolt. Arcs of electricity surrounded his body. Ngo Hung was in worse shape. He was being electrocuted continuously. A corner of the forest lit up brightly. It was followed by agonizing screams. The T used his fire ability to cancel the current. He questioned her. Tu Nu. Enjo Hung lay motionless on the ground. Duke Kwang said, I can't move anymore. A rustling sound was heard. Tu Tin gave an order. Tu Thin Tu Dao. Over there, get the resource cards. Don't rush, they won't be able to move for an hour. Seeing someone was still unharmed, he waved. Hey, Fan the Tay. I knew you wouldn't go down that easily. Ngo Hung's eyes widened in shock. This electricity is overwhelmingly powerful. The T still held a bit of hope. He called out to Tunu. She gave him the same answer. Don't be noisy. I can't join you. He narrowed his eyes. No, I want to tell you something. The T raised his arm again. He used the Scarlet Flame Hand's skill. A giant hand of fire appeared. He said, I respect your choice. I'll wait for you to make the right one. As the fire hand closed in, Tutin told Mu, go rest. You're no match for him right now. He leaped up, his voice filled with anticipation. I also want to test my own superhuman strength. The fiery hand slammed down hard. The ground shook violently. A wave of heat spread everywhere. The T stood still. He watched the intense flames before him, but he felt something was wrong. His opponent couldn't be defeated so easily. Just as he predicted, Tutin charged forward. He held a piece of yellow metal. He laughed and said, young Master Fan, you look a bit flustered. You're not used to people getting this close, are you? The T raised his hand, creating a flame. He replied with an annoyed look, delusional. A giant fire hand shot towards Tutin's face, but he remained calm. A superhuman with 90% superhuman genes, you can use the Scarlet Flame hand so freely. Facing the fierce attack, Tutin dodged it with ease. The man named Fawn wouldn't give up. He split the Scarlet Flame to trap Tutin. He declared, there's nowhere left to run. He held both hands in front of him. He frowned and focused his power. In close, the two giant fire hands immediately clamped shut. They tried to capture Tutin. Seeing this, Ngohong cried out from the ground. This is his true power, but you're trying to kill him. The Te replied coldly, he won't die that easily. He knew very well who he was facing, the one who survived the brutal final test. Suddenly, Tutin tore through the flames. He launched himself into the air. His eyes glowed brightly. Nu Hung was terrified. His voice trembled. The Scarlet Flame hand couldn't catch him. If he'd been caught, it would have been over. But the T had another trick. He flicked his finger and said smugly, taste my Scarlet Flame 1,000 hands. Suddenly, numerous small hands wrapped around him. Tutin seemed a bit flustered. He glanced around and commented, more fire, huh? But this wasn't a big deal for Tutin. The flames seemed smaller now. Time for 1% superhuman golden blade. He soared upwards. He unleashed a dazzling flurry of slashes. He cut through all the scarlet flames. The sight left young Master Fan in disbelief. He thought, his combat skills are so refined. He's not like someone who just awakened. What's going on? While he was stunned, Tutin swung down with a slash, but he reacted quickly and dodged. The T retreated, calculating silently. The sword he controls is very sharp, but it's fine. Murder can't happen on campus. His eyes grew more cautious, but getting injured would be hard to control. A single careless mistake could lead to an unrecoverable wound. Just then, the T came up with a plan. While Tutin was busy with the small hands, another hand silently approached the metal in his hand from above. Soon, it grabbed his weapon tightly. He thought smugly, superhuman powers clashing. I'll use my 90% power to crush his 1%. He was extremely confident in his plan. The corner of his mouth curled into a triumphant smile. The T had calculated everything. He attacked the superhuman genes directly. He would shatter all of them. Shattered superhuman genes would take 1.5 years to recover. The more he looked at Tutin, the more annoyed he became. I can't let him stay here and annoy me. I have to destroy him. His arrogant expression caught Tutin's attention. The Te was now looking confused. Damn it, his superhuman genes are incredibly strong. Who would believe he just became a superhuman? At this thought, an image of his old uncle appeared in his mind. He was even a bit like the 4-star superhuman uncle back home. Tutin noticed young Master Fan's confusion and put on an act. He fell to the ground and shouted theatrically, wow, Fan the Te, you're too strong. Even the T couldn't understand this act. He wondered, what the hell is he doing? Tutin jumped up, giving an excited thumbs up. You're the strongest in our class. I'm completely impressed. This made the T hesitate. He thought, if he admits defeat like this, I can't really attack him anymore. Then, the vice teacher appeared and announced, the competition is over. I hope you all passed and seized this opportunity to get various resources. All right, hand in your exchange coupons to me. I'll have the resource department distribute them. But the atmosphere wasn't cheerful or excited at all. Everyone had gloomy faces. They looked down with frustration. Only Tutin's team was radiant. He stepped forward with a stack of coupons. Vice teacher, I accidentally collected everyone's exchange coupons. There are 78 inches total. Please count them. Fo Luong took the stack of coupons. He nodded in satisfaction. Your group has officially become everyone's target now. Tutin replied confidently, I'll definitely live peacefully with everyone. Then Fo Luong turned to Fan. He asked if the T still had one coupon. He reluctantly put his hand in his pocket. He searched but found nothing. He wondered aloud, where's my resource coupon? Seeing this, Tutin hesitated. Oh no, I forgot. When I was defeated by the T, I saw a resource coupon fall out. I didn't know whose it was, so I picked it up. This enraged him. Shut up, don't call me the T. He held out the coupon and continued. This made him tremble with rage. The T, I'm sorry. Should I give it back to you? The young master of the Fan family arrogantly waved it away. No need, you can keep it. But inside, he swore, Tin Ton, I will definitely kill you. The scene shifts to the resource area. Tin's team loudly announced, you guys get 60%. For the rest, True Thin immediately interrupted. Big bro, you don't need to say anything more. 60% is a total of 42 tubes of the life force solution. This is a fortune we couldn't even imagine. We promise to cherish it. We'll try our best to awaken. Tin nodded. It's good that you understand. Suddenly, Tu Dao asked doubtfully. Tin Tun, I want to ask you something. True Tin quickly reminded his sister. Call him Big Bro. Tin replied, what is it? Tu Dao said, you could have defeated Fan the Te, right? Her voice trailed off. So why did you? In the end, Tin smiled brightly. He's the young master of the Fan family. He's no small fry. We got the resources, that's enough. No need to humiliate him like that. Hearing that, True Thin cheered happily. Big Bro is the best. After a short walk, he saw Tin still following the two girls. He shouted, we're at the dorm. Oops, Big Bro, you're going the wrong way. True Thin reminded him, that's the girls' dorm, Big Bro. We're roommates, but not in this building. Tin pointed to another dorm next to it. I'm going this way. The school provides a special room for someone with extremely high superhuman genes, a special single dorm to prevent her from harming other students. He still didn't get it. I know that. But that's Sister New's dorm. Tu Dao seemed to understand. She blushed and hit her brother's head. You blockhead. Enlightened by his sister, True Thin had a realization. Oh, it should be sister-in-law's dorm, right? He immediately bowed. Good night, Big Bro and sister-in-law. Tin was too lazy to explain anymore. I already told you. We're just childhood friends. Good night. As they walked, he told Tu, it might take all night to teach you how to absorb the resources. Speaking of which, since high school, it feels like it's been a long time since we've stayed in the same room all night. She clicked her tongue. After high school, you were out chasing girls everywhere. Who would want to stay with you? He immediately retorted. I've turned over a new leaf. Tu nodded. You better have. Tin continued. Now is the best time. Hearing this, Tu thought, this guy seems a little different from before. Chapter 22. In the night, Tin's voice echoed in the dorm. When superhumans appeared in the world, humans began to study their power, trying to replicate it. He sat in front of Tu, talking nonstop. Although humans couldn't create superhuman power, they could use the energy of living creatures like animals to create the life force solution. It replaces the elemental power that superhumans consume. Tin poured a tube of the solution into his mouth. It sounds like a monster drinking human blood. After drinking, he looked disappointed. But when you actually drink it, you feel nothing. It's not even enough to fill an empty stomach. Even so, Tin firmly stated, the people in the resource room said to only drink 1 tube a day. That way, combined with your physical data and recovery rate, you'll get the best results. But you don't have to worry. Don't save the school's electricity bill. Drink as much as you want. Level up to 1 star as fast as possible. Before Tu could react, he moved his face close to hers. Come on, shock me. Let me see if your current shows any signs of being refined. Tu became very tense. Tin Tun, you're too close. Images of their past together flashed through her mind. She thought, he seems to have changed a lot. He's not hanging out with those other girls anymore. It seems like he's even deleted their numbers. Since middle school, he's never focused on talking to me like this. Seeing his friends spacing out, Tin frowned impatiently. Hey, release your electricity on me. When words didn't work, he took action. He touched her cheek teasingly. You're usually so violent. Don't tell me you can't bring yourself to do it now. The action seemed to hurt Tu. She flinched back with a small cry. Tin didn't stop. He lunged forward, pushing her to the floor. They stared into each other's eyes in the tense atmosphere. Tin asked again, what are you spacing out for? Tu said flusteredly, why are you getting so handsy? Hearing that, he used his elbow to pin her hand down. At the same time, he leaned in even closer. They were so close, their lips were about to touch. Tu panicked and turned her face away. She cursed inwardly. This guy isn't chasing after those other girls. Don't tell me he's falling back into old habits. Embarrassed, she said softly, Tin Tan, get up. This is really weird. But Tin replied, you smell so good. I want to eat you. Hearing that, Tu was startled and looked back. What nonsense are you talking about? One side of Tin Tun's face had turned into a monster. It was right in front of her. Holy crap. This time she really got zapped. Tin kept mumbling, damn, you smell so good. This directly angered our Miss New. She immediately unleashed a bolt of electricity. It sent him flying away from her. You dare eat me? I'll send you to meet your ancestors. In the adjacent dorm, Tu Dao saw the powerful electric surge. Wow. They really should arrange separate housing for people with lots of superhuman genes. After successfully baiting his friend into shocking him, Tin began to assess. Even though I've absorbed a lot of electricity from you, you have a lot of superhuman genes. For a mutant like me, The scent you give off is fatally attractive. Hyunu just tiredly nodded it off. He took off his outer jacket and continued. I can feel your electricity showing signs of being refined. The direction is normal. Just go all out. With that, Tin turned to leave. I'm going out for a bit. Gu knew where he was going. She threw a mask at him and said, remember to wear a mask when you're up to no good. Here, I prepared one for you. He agreed immediately. Before he left, Nu added, be careful. Tin replied cheerfully, don't worry, I'm just going out for a little snack. I'll bring you back a late-night meal. After he left, she watched him go. She blushed and said, idiot. Tin put on a hooded jacket. He covered his face with a mask. As he moved through the forest, he thought, I'm currently a level 3 monster. At the initial stage, I can defeat a peak level 3 monster with the Overlord's Flame. Looking at his glowing monster arm, he thought, I just need to hide my transformed left arm carefully. He fully believed that if he kept his arm hidden, people would at most think he was a fire-type superhuman. Suddenly, Tin sensed a presence. It was both strange and familiar. This feeling, he immediately returned his arm to its normal state. I have to hide the Overlord's flame right away. Then, he quietly focused on the deep underground beneath him. Suddenly, his heart trembled slightly. It was as if responding to some kind of fear. Tin immediately recognized it, the Earth Dragon. The same one I met at the final test base. Even though I'm at the academy now, the school isn't too far from the test base. I can't believe this Earth Dragon is still wandering around here looking for me. He concluded that it sensed his arrival. Using the Overlord's flame too much will attract enemies. Tin sighed softly and continued walking. He lamented, looks like tonight's snack won't be easy to get. Tin mumbled as he walked. Down there, it's not just the Earth Dragon. There might be other unknown monsters. Humans don't know that the monsters they turned into were never truly killed. After they die, the rising smoke is the power of their monster genes. That energy continuously flows into the monsters living underground. Until a year later, when these monsters have accumulated enough power, they will wreak complete havoc. And that's when the apocalypse officially begins. It's starting. One thing is that in my past life, I accidentally learned a clue about an underground monster species. The scene shifts to someone's blurry perspective, with a voice groaning. My head hurts. Where am I? I remember just hanging out with friends to de-stress. The man was talking to his child when he was suddenly attacked. Daddy's coming home soon. Wait a minute. He was knocked unconscious with a tranquilizer. Then he was thrown into a strange car parked nearby. In the car were several others who were also kidnapped. After a while, he woke up and screamed in panic. Who are you? What do you want? A man in a mask scolded. Used too little drug. So he woke up early? Lipeng, did you forget the dosage? The other man kept screaming. Let me go. I want to go home. This is kidnapping. It's illegal, but it seemed useless. The two kidnappers paid no attention. The other one retorted, how could that be? I control the dosage perfectly. He's just a bit special. Hearing that, Dian Man nodded. Looks like we found a big prize. His tone became more sinister. The monster genes in his body are quite strong. That's why he woke up early. How much more do you think he's worth than the usual goods? Lipeng replied before the kidnapped man's astonished eyes. He woke up 3 hours earlier than I expected. His monster gene content must be over 80%. Dian Man was overjoyed. Grade A goods. We can trade him for 7 times more life force solution than normal grade D goods. We've hit the jackpot. However, this guy was still cautious. He quickly reminded his partner, but if he turns into a monster, it'll be a problem. Make him quiet down a bit. Before he could finish, a fist smashed into their car's windshield. The one who attacked was Tin. He had discovered their evil deeds. He threw a powerful punch at the front of the car to stop them. Chapter 23. Tin landed a heavy punch. It created a deep crater. He then leaped away. The car was speeding but was forced to a sudden stop. Its rear end lifted up. It almost flipped over completely. The two masked men broke into a cold sweat. One looked around and asked, who was that? Where did he go? The driver didn't care about that. He couldn't start the car and cursed angrily. Damn it, this piece of junk is dead. Then he turned to his accomplice. Lipeng, go check on the goods. We absolutely can't let them turn into monsters ahead of schedule. I'll go out and deal with that bastard. Just then, Tin appeared by the driver's side window. Lipeng stammered, hey, that guy, he's right behind you. Before he could finish, Tin shattered the window. He grabbed Dian Man by the neck. He yanked him out of the car like he was pulling a dog. Then, Tin threw him far away. He crashed hard into a tree. All he could do now was curse. Dian Man sat on the ground. His mind was foggy. Have we been exposed? Then he asked, who are you? Tin asked back slyly. Take a guess. Dian Man thought, it doesn't matter what he's heard. I have to kill him no matter what. He immediately unleashed a powerful lightning attack straight at Tin and shouted, I'll send you to hell. It was chaotic outside, and no better inside the car. The man shouted to wake the others. Wake up, we've been kidnapped. Lipeng cursed furiously. These monster gene carriers are all about to wake up. What a pain. Seeing him holding a bottle of drugs, the man began to beg. Are you going to sell us? What do you want us to do? No, please, spare me. I'm very safe. Thanks to the Salvation Society, my mind is extremely stable. He cried as he pleaded, I really won't turn into a monster. Because I carry monster genes, my wife abandoned me and our child. My son is still waiting for me to come back. Li Peng was unmoved. He held the bottle close to the man's nose and said coldly, Don't worry, your son is fine. He's also a monster gene carrier. His name is on the list too. He's next. Now, go back to sleep for me. The man inhaled the drug and became disoriented. He even became delirious. Li Peng didn't bother anymore. He said, Old man, this time I won't care about the dosage. Back in the forest, countless electric sparks were flying everywhere. Hu Tin and the man with electric powers were fighting fiercely. He said smugly, I'm a 3-star superhuman. Take my palm lightning that turns you to ash. But his confidence wavered when he saw the blue flame appear. A sense of unease grew in his mind. Blue fire. Lightning and fire don't extinguish each other. Both he and I know how to use our powers. However, his habit of underestimating his opponent didn't change. He thought, his tiny blue flame won't do anything to me. As a result, he was beaten to a pulp by Hu Tin. He wondered, damn, what kind of monstrous strength is this? The mask on his face was shattered by the punch. His hands were burned by the blue flame. Now he could only wonder in panic. It hurts so much. My hands, it was just a tiny blue flame. What kind of fire is that? No. How can he be completely unharmed? Seeing Hu Tin approaching step by step, he quickly spoke up. You want to save those monster gene carriers? They are monster gene carriers. Just a little agitation can turn them into monsters, causing disaster. Killing them is serving justice. And making use of them is like doing a service to society. I advise you to get lost right now. You don't know who you've provoked. He didn't bother to listen. He just walked up and stomped hard on the loudmouth's face. Kidnapping is kidnapping. What the hell does it have to do with justice? You're trash. DN man screamed in pain. What do you know? In this world, if there are people who do good, there are also people who do bad. Kidnapping people. How do you know? Hu Tin asked. Let me help you contact your Salvation Society. He immediately denied it vehemently. What Salvation Society? I don't know. It's not me. He replied, applying more pressure with his foot. You guys are looking for the right time to modify the location data and implant it in the necks of monster gene carriers, making them pretend to be monsters so that after the city is monsterized, your people can kill them legally, and then sell them to the Fan family's secret experimental base. Hearing this, the man on the ground screamed, How do you know so much? Who are you? But he didn't care and continued his interrogation. How many people have you kidnapped? And how many innocent people have you harmed? DN man remained stubborn. Who bothers to count that? Besides, what I'm doing is ridding society of a pest. Comforting them can only slow down their monsterization. We have to kill them all to cut it off completely. Hu Tin's eyes widened in anger. He gritted his teeth and repeated, Shut up. I ask, you answer. Memories from his past life began to surface in his mind. So that's how it is. The Salvation Society was founded about 3 years ago. On the surface, it's an organization that helps monster gene carriers communicate and confide in each other in just half a year. The first exchange conference for monster gene carriers was held on a large scale across the country. I don't know how they made those controlled monsters. Those monster gene carriers turned into monsters and then killed them all. It wasn't until the matter was exposed that people knew they had been secretly recording the information of monster gene carriers and trading them, selling them to the Fan family for all kinds of experiments in exchange for life force, solution, and research data. But at that time, the Fan family had no solution. The Fan family destroyed all the evidence. No one could find any clues. I only know that a high-ranking leader of the captured Salvation Society mentioned a transport route. Besides experiments, the Fan family needed monster gene carriers for another reason, that is to turn them into food for the Earth Dragon. Hu Tin asked directly, How many secret experimental bases does the Fan family have? The guy immediately replied, Only one. Knowing he was lying, Hu Tin stomped harder, making him scream in pain. Don't step on me anymore. I only know of one. No, I remember wrong. I know two. He lowered his voice menacingly. If you dare to lie to me one more time, guess which way your head will fly. The guy was in so much pain that he confessed everything. Don't stomp anymore. Don't stomp. My head is about to be crushed. I'll tell the truth. There are many experimental bases called monster factories that specialize in creating monsters all over the country. I honestly don't know how many there are. He continued to ask, How many are there around this city? He quickly answered, One. I swear I only know of that one. I can take you there. Hu Tin asked again, Do you know what monsters are underground? But this time, he didn't get the answer he wanted. The guy stammered, There are monsters underground? How is that possible? Finally, he let the guy go and said coldly, It seems your status isn't high enough to hear any juicy news. Let's go. Take me to the monster factory. He staggered to his feet. On the surface, he pretended to obey, but he was secretly planning a sneak attack on 210. I'll take you there right away. He focused his power into his hand, forming a ball of electricity, and shouted, "Go meet those monster gene carriers in hell." He didn't expect his hands to still be usable. "I have to smash your head. Now that you've seen my face, I absolutely can't let you live." Chutin turned around. He casually caught the electric hand and said, "This place isn't too far from that car. Your screams should be pretty loud, right? Scream louder. I'm afraid your buddies won't hear you." Dien Man was utterly bewildered. He thought, even if he was prepared, how could he use his left arm to catch my palm lightning like that? He didn't even use his blue flame superhuman power. No way. His hand. What's happening? At this moment, the mask on his face fell off. Tu Tin looked at the guy and gave a dangerous smile. "I trust people who want to escape to lead the way more than I trust you." As soon as he saw his half-monster face, Dien Man was so panicked he was speechless. Damn. So he's a monster. A monster. In the end, I still couldn't escape the clutches of this steel-boned monster. The amount of electricity I release is no match for this monster. His last resort was a tragic scream that echoed throughout the forest. The sound even reached the parked car. Inside the car, Leap Ung was still trying to drug the monster gene carriers into a stupor. Tough, huh? For your son's sake, you've held on this long. If your monster genes weren't so high and valuable, I would have snapped your neck already. Pass out now, or else, if you turn into a monster. Just then, he saw Tu Tin's shadow leisurely walking out of the forest. He immediately became flustered. Huh? Dien Man was dealt with that quickly? Damn, this guy killed Dien Man so fast. He's not simple at all. Of the 36 stratagems, running is the best. He threw down the drug bottle, kicked open the car door, and bolted. I have to save my own life. If this cargo van is exposed, it's not my fault. The man who was lucky to be alive stuck his head out of the car, gasping for air. Breathe. Seeing Tu Tin, he hurriedly said, "Thank you. You saved us." He observed the group in front of him and told the man the truth. "You're already dead. The location data on your necks has been killed." The other man was still confused. Tu Tin continued, "Still don't get it? The ones who tricked you are the Salvation Society. I sincerely advise you not to let anyone find out you're still alive. It's the Salvation Society. Don't go back to the city." After saying that, he immediately took off. The man desperately called after him, "But my son is still in the city. What should I do?" Tu Tin followed the trail of Leap Ung, who was running for his life. He knew he was fleeing back to the base. The Superhuman Academy was built on an island next to Nam Nguyet City. This place was originally Nam Sa City. But 20 years ago, monsters and superhumans suddenly appeared in the world. Superhumans were still weak, while monsters were incredibly ferocious. After 5 years, humanity paid a heavy price to wipe out the monsters and stabilize society again. Since then, Nam Sa City became a dead city. Later, the Purgers of Nam Nguyet City built a dead city. They established a Purger city here, including the Superhuman Academy, a gene research base, a training base, and various other facilities. Before long, Leap Ung arrived at the location. Tu Tin was already there. He scanned the surroundings and commented, "So this is the desolate area that the city hasn't." Nam Sa rebuilt, and the Fan family secretly built a monster factory here. It sounds funny, but the thing is, a monster. A monster has finally reached the monster factory. Chapter 24. Leap Ung walked to the factory entrance. Both sides of the path were lined with chained monsters, roaring fiercely. An external camera immediately turned towards him and aimed straight at him. Seeing this, he spoke up, "It's me. Not an enemy attack, but your monster factory's first line of defense is so troublesome. Every time I come, I have to listen to these monsters roar." A voice replied from the camera, "As soon as anyone breaks in, we'll know immediately. Even a stealthy superhuman can't escape the monster's sense of smell." But seeing Li Peng return alone, the person inside was clearly suspicious. "Wait a minute, where's Dien Man? Where's this batch of goods? Did something happen?" Li Peng replied angrily, "I was about to ask you that. Did you guys leak any information? Did someone come? Dien Man is probably dead too. Luckily, I sensed something was wrong and got the hell out of there. Time is precious, open the gate. I want to ask the big boss what the hell is going on." The voice from the camera still sounded wary. "Damn, no one followed you, right?" He shouted in frustration. "Nonsense. I'm a 3-star wind-type superhuman. Who can keep up with me? Unless that bastard has a nose like a dog. Besides, even if he did follow me here, can he get past this first line of defense? He'd just be cannon fodder." With that, the gate was raised. However, in just a few short seconds, the cameras seemed to have scanned something blurry. A security guard inside said with a start, "I think a black shadow just flashed past the first line of defense." The other guard yawned and replied, "How is that possible? The monsters didn't even make a sound. check the other cameras. But another one seemed indifferent. He yawned and said, if an intruder really got in, they'd most likely use the ventilation ducts. Q-Teen walked straight through the main entrance among the monsters. He had no intention of being sneaky, he thought, as expected. Even with a network of monsters, these level 1 monsters won't recognize me. As long as I have monster genes, they'll still see me as one of their own. Just like that, he calmly walked to the wall. He observed and calculated, here, there are many blind spots the cameras can't see here. Q-Tin smiled brightly. Now if I just poke a hole in the wall, I think I can get inside. The scene shifts to the dissection room inside. Someone with an annoyed attitude asked, still no new goods? We're out of things to use. Suddenly, the person on the dissection table let out a crazed scream. Seeing this, the big boss's face darkened. He asked again, what's this? Haven't you cut this one's throat yet? What kind of work are you doing? The person next to him immediately bowed in fear. I'm sorry. I saw him lying still, so I thought. I'm sorry. The big boss cut him off. The separated monster genes will disappear in a short time. If you want to send the monster genes to the level 2 lab in perfect condition, you have to do some processing. He tightened his grip on the scalpel. He looked at the test subject and continued, that is, to extract the monster genes right when they're captured, while they are still alive. We can't let them die, because their bodies are the containers for the genes. Even if we remove all their limbs, they can't transform into monsters. But if they make a sound, it's very troublesome. As he spoke, the big boss demonstrated for the others to see. Processing materials requires seriousness and utmost care. The justification of committing atrocities for the progress of humanity is not merely a fiction. It is a dark echo of one of history's most chilling chapters. During World War II, in the Pingfang district of Harbin, China, the Imperial Japanese Army operated a covert biological and chemical warfare research facility known as Unit 731. Under the command of General Shiro Ishii, this facility was a true factory of death, built on the pretext of disease, prevention, and water purification. The reality was far more sinister. To avoid any semblance of guilt or human connection, the researchers and guards were ordered to refer to the thousands of prisoners, mostly Chinese, but also Russian, Korean, and Mongolian, not as people, but as Maruda, the Japanese word for logs. This act of dehumanization was the first step, making the horrors that followed psychologically possible for the perpetrators. Inside Unit 731, living human beings were subjected to experiments of unimaginable cruelty. They were victims of vivisections performed without anesthesia, tied to stakes and used as targets to test grenades, chemical weapons, and flamethrowers. In frostbite experiments, prisoners' limbs were frozen and then thawed. They were deliberately infected with plague, cholera, anthrax, and syphilis to develop biological weapons. When the war drew to a close in 1945, the Japanese army attempted to destroy all evidence. They dynamited the buildings and massacred the remaining prisoners. In the post-war period, a final, cynical act unfolded. In exchange for the research data gathered from these horrific experiments, the United States granted immunity from war crimes prosecution to General Ishii and many of his top researchers. The full truth of Unit 731 remained largely hidden for decades, a testament to how the pursuit of power and knowledge, when stripped of all morality, can lead to the darkest depths of inhumanity. For the men on the dissection tables, both in history and in this dark factory, the cold logic of their captors was the only reality they knew before the end. Be careful. Don't disturb the other research staff. The man on the dissection table also spoke. Please, do whatever you want to me. Even with the scalpel at his throat, the man tried to continue. Please, can you spare my wife? The amount of monster genes in her body is extremely low. Logically, it's very, very difficult for her to transform into a monster. Please spare her. Hearing that, the big boss unconsciously glanced behind him. The man followed his gaze and suddenly realized something. He stared at the classification boxes, silent for a moment. Inside one of the boxes was a head that was very familiar to him. His voice trembled as he said, my wife. The man's face was now covered in tears. Immediately after, he roared in fury, cursing, You animals. I'll kill you all. You won't die peacefully. You'll suffer for the rest of your lives and never be reincarnated. The big boss didn't mind. He just said nonchalantly, See? If the other research staff hear things like this, they'll know. That will make the research more likely to fail. What if it's an important experiment? Then you'll become a sinner who hinders the progress of humanity. After saying what needed to be said, he began to work. All right, remember to be careful and meticulous. But just as the scalpel was put into the man's mouth, the lights suddenly went out. The space was plunged into darkness. He immediately stopped and turned to ask, Power outage? Not just his lab, but it seemed the entire factory had lost power. The boss immediately gave an order, investigate why the backup power hasn't started. A moment later, someone reported, Boss, it seems someone cut the main power line. The entire monster factory is out of power. While everyone was confused, Leap Ung walked in with a questioning tone. Boss, was it you? Did you leak the information? We were ambushed. What are you standing there for? And why is the power out here? He angrily pointed at him and scolded, You useless piece of trash. You only know how to mess things up. You were followed. The one who ambushed you is also the one who cut the power. This statement startled Leap Ung. Huh? But the first line of defense. The boss turned and shouted, Call security. Level 1 alert. He quickly took out his phone to contact someone. He thought, A mysterious person has infiltrated the monster factory. I must inform my superiors immediately. As soon as the call connected, he hastily said, Monster Factory number 3 has been. But before he could finish his sentence, the phone in his hand was shattered by something that flew towards it. Immediately after, the boss screamed, He's right here. Leap Ung chimed in, He followed me all the way here. This guy has a death wish. The guards had also arrived. Boss, we need your instructions. The boss immediately ordered. Go find that bastard who broke in. The guards had just acknowledged the order when they were dragged away by something. The dark figure slowly emerged with a sneer. The smell of your bodies and souls is as foul as shit. Q-Tin glanced inside and commented, Tonight's dinner is disgusting. The big boss asked, You came here for these monster gene carriers? How foolish. These carriers are a danger to society. But we can make them useful. He gritted his teeth and continued scolding. You don't know anything, and you barge in here to stop us. Fine, we'll just capture you and use you as material too. Those guards were a waste of food anyway, completely useless. Hearing those words, Q-Tin remained silent. He didn't bother to respond. Suddenly, 2 men who called themselves true superhuman guards jumped in. We're here. Finally, someone with a death wish has shown up. Li Peng also charged forward with fighting spirit. Me too. I must avenge DN Man. From inside, the big boss was still wondering who the intruder was. A purger? The one the Academy's director supports? How arrogant. He dares to barge into the monster factory alone. Although he hadn't identified the intruder, he was still very confident in his forces. We have a 3-star early-stage wind-type superhuman, 2 3-star mid-stage special guards, and the secret drug in their hands. At this thought, the big boss's expression became more sinister. Even if he's a 4-star superhuman, he'll have to submit. I'll strip all of his superhuman gene chains. Li Peng swung his arm and used the tornado technique. Swirls of wind immediately formed and wrapped around his arm. The blonde guy also joined in, releasing the scarlet flame staff. The one-eyed guy attacked at the same time, doubling the damage of the attack. 3 attacks simultaneously rushed towards Q-Tin, but he quickly dodged them. These guys became even more excited. He dodged it. He's got some skills. It's a blue flame. He's a fire-type superhuman. They even boasted smugly. I bet you don't know what other plans we have, do you? The entire lab researches fire. Using fire in front of us is just showing off in front of an expert. Chapter 25. While in the heat of battle, the 2 fire-type guys suddenly felt something was wrong. The blonde guy lost his confidence. He wondered in panic. My scarlet flame staff. The one-eyed guy immediately agreed. Yeah, something's wrong. Now it was Leap Ung's turn to be confused. Hey, what I'm using is the tornado wind. Faced with the situation, all 3 of them had the same question. Our superhuman power. It seems to be swallowed by his blue flame. The blonde guy, though struggling to defend, refused to believe his eyes. The element is being swallowed? What kind of joke is this? The one-eyed guy said, he must know some kind of self-detonating elemental chart. This is the power of his self-detonating element, right? Leap Ung was slammed into a wall by Q-Tin, but he still managed to say, I know all about this move. He stared at him and said, It takes 100 days to heal from broken bones. Even someone with superhuman genes will suffer the same. Your move is too reckless. He really wouldn't cry until he saw the coffin. Seeing Q-Tin rushing towards him, he immediately raised his middle finger. His voice was provocative. If you can hit me twice in a row, I'll acknowledge you. As soon as he finished speaking, my punch had already crushed his face. Flesh and blood splattered all over the wall. The sight terrified the 2 fire-type guards. Looking at Leap Ung's mangled face, they unconsciously stammered, that wind-type guy. One side of his body looks like it was run over by a truck. The one-eyed guy could hardly believe his only remaining eye. Holy crap, am I watching a monster fight a human? And it's a level 3 monster. Even so, they still look down on their opponent. It seems he has some skills. He can use this high-intensity move continuously, but the weakness is also obvious. It can only attack in a small area. The one-eyed guy said, as long as we keep our distance from him and don't let him get close, we can control the situation. Confident in their plan, the 2 guys immediately controlled the flames. They launched an attack towards Q-Tin. Scarlet flame staff, fire arrow, double skill. 2 streams of fire immediately swirled and rushed towards him. The big boss witnessed the whole thing. He had basically figured out Q-Tin's strength, but he only dared to think to himself, no, they're all wrong. Only by cultivating the elemental chart can you become a 3-star superhuman. That's true, but it doesn't mean that every 3 Star Superhuman uses the elemental chart. I've studied the fan family's flames countless times, so I understand the superhuman power of fire very well. Observing the red flame and then looking at the blue flame, the boss boldly concluded, he's not using the elemental chart at all. What he's using is simply the fire element and the power of his body. Back to the battle. The red flame was now completely engulfed by the blue flame. This made the two guys even more confused. Our flame was destroyed by his power again. His elemental chart is stronger than I thought. We can't win by fighting from too far away. Q-Tin was no longer interested in tangling with them. He sped up, dashing through the red flames. In an instant, Q-Tin was right in front of them. The two of them immediately shouted, "He's here! Quick, take the scarlet fire seed." As they spoke, they shoved something into their mouths. The one-eyed guy cursed. Damn it, after this outburst, I'll be bedridden for half a month. This scene made the boss even more thoughtful. The scarlet fire seed is the Monster Factory's trump card. It's a type of scarlet fire, the drug that the fan family developed based on the undying flame discovered underground. It can temporarily level up fire-type superhumans, helping a 3-star superhuman break through to the 4-star level. The two guards' auras soared. They laughed loudly. The destructive power has been fully charged. The boss thought that with such a powerful outburst, dealing with this rat of an intruder would be no problem, but he still couldn't rest easy. Thanks to the temporary upgrade, the blonde guy excitedly rushed forward. "Come on. Try to break my 4-star Scarlet Flame staff." Q-Teen didn't hesitate to respond with his own fist. At the same time, the boss had a vague suspicion. But if I'm not mistaken, the flame this intruder has is extremely similar to the type of fire the fan family dreams of obtaining. They are constantly researching it to capture and control it, hoping it can help them break through to 90% superhuman genes, the undying flame that exists underground. The blonde guy's fate was no better than the wind-type guy's. The one-eyed guy watched his comrade get beaten to a pulp, his whole body frozen. He asked in panic, "How can this be? Our flame has been temporarily upgraded. You can't possibly break through our flame." As soon as he finished speaking, he was also crushed right in front of the boss. Only then did he speak. "I see." Seeing Q-Tin approaching, he quickly continued, "Your superhuman genes must be extremely high, which is why your flame has mutated. Genes above 90% will have body-enhancing properties and even devouring properties." The boss was certain. What Q-Tin possessed was exactly the same as the undying flame underground. Hearing that, he immediately asked, "The undying flame underground, tell me the location." The boss quickly and cheerfully replied, "No problem. As long as you join us, I'll take you there. You should go. You should know that we are from the fan family. Your superhuman genes are so strong, you'll definitely be valued by the fan family. If you can decipher the undying flame, you can make a great contribution to this world. We don't have to be enemies. Join us, and we'll become great people together." He tried hard to persuade him. At this moment, his trembling assistant ran to close the door. Q-Tin paid no attention to his nonsense and said bluntly, "But I want all of you to die." However, the boss continued to use sweet words to persuade him. "It doesn't matter if those guards die. The research staff are here, there's no problem at all. Don't worry, the fan family doesn't care about these small-time employees." Q-Tin repeated once more, "I said everyone must die. That means everyone, including the research staff. Not a single one. He wouldn't spare anyone." At the same time, the monsters outside jumped in, instantly killing the assistant. He said, "I've released all the monsters here, but the escape route is also sealed shut, so these monsters can only come in here to eat." Then Q-Tin approached the boss and asked coldly, "You forced humans to become monsters, and now the monsters eat you. It's very fair, isn't it?" He stammered in reply, "No, it's not. Damn it, you're a human too, a superhuman." Then he screamed in fear and confusion, "Those damn monster gene carriers are the scum of society. Using them for research to enhance the potential of superhumans is their last useful contribution. You're crazy. You're insane. What do you gain by helping them?" Q-Tin gently placed his monster hand on the chest of the pitiful man on the operating table and said, "Avenging my compatriots is a perfectly normal thing to do." Then his hands slowly moved up to his face. He continued, "My compatriot, rest in peace. I will destroy the fan family for everyone." That promise made the man close his eyes in peace. But those words made the boss even more confused. He screamed, "Are you crazy? We superhumans are your compatriots." Q-Teen grabbed him by the neck and lifted him up. He asked coldly, "Now, tell me the location of the undying flame. Otherwise, you'll regret not dying sooner." Chapter 26. While the monsters were rampaging, the boss struggled to speak. "All right, I'll talk. Let me think." He mumbled, slowly spitting out each word. "The underground flame is at." Q-Tin immediately cut him off. "The southwest ridge of Namsa." The boss asked in surprise, "How did you know?" He said bluntly, "I also know you're always lying to buy time, but some of what you said is true. For example, it should be very hot, but it's very cold. From your expression, I guess I'm right. I know more about Thon True City than you think. The fan family must know what's happened here, right? This made the boss choke, unable to say a word. Tin continued, "You're stalling for time because you're waiting for reinforcements. Actually, I'm waiting for your reinforcements too. What a coincidence, huh?" Without letting the boss answer, Tin said, "Coming here for reinforcements isn't a glorious thing, so it's not really something you can make a big deal about. So the reinforcement must be a 4-star superhuman." Hearing this, he asked in panic, "What do you want to do?" Instead of his panic and fear, Tin teased him, "Why don't you take a guess?" The boss was being choked so hard that tears streamed down his face. He still managed to ask, "What elemental chart are you cultivating? Why don't the monsters eat you?" Seeing his terrified expression, he laughed. "Look at you, looking like you've seen a ghost. Didn't you guess it long ago? It's exactly what you're thinking. I don't know any elemental chart. I don't want to waste any more time." He squeezed his hand hard, killing him and quickly absorbing everything. After dealing with the trashy boss, Tin sniffed the air and thought, "I can smell the scent of strong superhuman genes. It's spreading from top to bottom." He began to assess the situation. Right now, the monster factory is full of countless monsters. The opponent won't rush in here recklessly. Besides, the only exit is over there. As soon as I go out, I'll definitely run into him, and he just needs to wait outside for me. Thinking of this, he broke into a triumphant smile. Then he happily ran around. "I can search freely for a while. Let's see what good stuff is here." After searching for a while, he stopped in front of a cabinet full of blue tubes. Bingo! A whole refrigerator of life force solution. Where did the Fan family get this? The purity is even higher than what the school gives us. The Fan family is truly filthy rich. I knew I found the right target. The more he looked at the pile of life force solution, the more excited Tin became. Great. My small savings are probably only enough for Sister Ngu for 3 days. Now I've found an extra supply. It would be a shame not to take it. Glancing to the side, he found 3 yellow pills in a box. There are also 3 pills here that look exactly like the ones those 2 guards took. Scarlet Fire Seed. I'll take them all. After collecting a good amount of loot, Tin went to the monsters and said, "Now it's your turn. Have you eaten your fill yet?" At this moment, a few thoughts flashed through his mind. Remembering my past life, I feel a little excited about the monsters attacking the city. After thinking, Tin took off his mask and said cheerfully, "Hello, my 500 brothers. I'm here to send you on your way. Come into my belly, all of you." And so, the entire pack of monsters became his delicious dinner. After everything was settled, Tin carried a large box outside, full and drunk, now to bring back the leftovers. At this moment, his dog-like nose began to work. He sniffed and thought, "He's here." Tin stopped when he heard a voice in front of him. "I've been waiting for you for a long time. Not bad. You let these monsters eat all the research staff in the factory." A strange, purple-haired man suddenly appeared in front of him. His attitude was extremely arrogant. "I really admire you for witnessing such a large-scale feast with your own eyes." He laughed coldly, flicked a finger, and declared, "Now, for your reward, kneel." The power of this guy, Tam2, was extremely terrifying. The ground under Tin's feet began to crack. He said loudly, "I'm not satisfied yet, so I have to make you satisfy me." He stood in the midst of that power. His eyes were serious as he looked at the man and said, "I didn't expect a 4-star superhuman to come." Tin knew this weirdo very well. I didn't expect it to be someone who was reported dead on the news, an Earth-type superhuman. After reaching 4-star, he awakened the superpower of gravity. He used his superhuman power to torture and kill women. A total of 13 victims were dealt with by the SZ-level Purger Squad in District 3. The Fan family is really something. They even pick up trash like you to use. Seeing that his opponent knew so much about him, Tam2 immediately became smug. "You've been watching the news, huh?" His attitude became more and more arrogant. As he spoke, he waved his hand, causing the ground beneath his feet to suddenly be thrown into the air. "So, do you know what your situation is now? Meeting me is the beginning of your nightmare." Then, the pile of earth and stone quickly gathered into a huge mass right above Tin's head. He continued, "If you already know me, then you must also know that in the next few hours, you will be crushed by my gravity. All the tendons in your arms and legs will be torn." This Tam2 looked like a madman. He completely underestimated his opponent. "You will scream just like them." Those women, with tears and snot everywhere, then crawled to beg me to let them die quickly. He used all his strength to unleash his ultimate move to suppress Tin. The giant mass of earth and stone immediately slammed down on his position. Right under the layer of earth and stone, a blue flame suddenly erupted violently. Meanwhile, Tam2 was still shouting, "If you're going to scream, scream loudly." However, after just a few short seconds, the blue flame erupted at an extremely fast speed, startling even him. He stared at the flame and said, "A blue flame can actually block my earth prison under this gravity. Level 1. No wonder you dared to come to the monster factory alone, because you can be considered a 3-star superhuman. Well, not bad. I'm starting to get interested. After saying that, Tam2 immediately used his superhuman ability to increase the pressure. Life element, heavy earth chart, gravity level 2, kneel. Underneath the layer of earth and stone, Tutin thought to himself, as expected, even with the Overlord's flame, I can't break his superhuman power. A 4 star is much stronger than a 3 star. I wonder how many levels of gravity he has. I might as well use him as a test. With that thought, he looked through the gap and began to provoke him. Pervert, why don't you save some energy? You'll need it to run faster later. If you die too early, I'll be sad. Hearing that, Tam2 became even more excited. That's right, that's it. The more arrogant you are, the more I like it. As he finished speaking, he slammed his power into the ground. The longer you hold on, the more excited I get. However, while he was enjoying himself, something suddenly made him pause for a few seconds. At this moment, from under the ground, an extremely intense blue light shone. It was Tutin who had activated his skill. The aura of a level 3 monster erupted completely. His left hand mutated to its limit. His left arm now glowed brightly. It suddenly pierced through the ground and shot up. Tam2 was stunned and wondered, such a powerful aura. What kind of transformation happened behind me? This guy was not easy to deal with either. He guessed that Tutin would sneak attack him from behind, so he immediately used a skill. Heavy Earth, level 3, absolute defense. In an instant, a solid stone shield rose up, blocking Tutin's incoming attack. He continued to activate his skill, ordering a tentacle to appear. Instantly, a small mouth full of sharp teeth grew out of the palm of Tutin's monster hand. Then, that thing detached itself from his hand. Then it shot forward, latching onto Tam2's back. At this moment, he was still very smug. Are you trying to scratch an itch for me? But I don't feel a thing. Trying to create an illusion to find a chance to escape. He kept attacking, then gave a sinister smile and said, under the pressure of my gravity, don't even think about escaping. At this time, Tutin also retracted his monster arm and retreated a few meters to observe the situation. Seeing this, Tam2 immediately laughed mockingly. Suddenly, retracting all your aura like that, have you given up? I wasn't even excited yet. How boring. He nodded repeatedly, but thought to himself, forget it. I'm just trying to use 1% of my superhuman metal-type power to cover my whole body, trying my best to prevent even a little bit of monster power gene from leaking out. Suddenly, the earth shook violently. Tam2 wondered, an earthquake? The ground began to crack. He looked around and said, it seems like something is trying to crawl out from under the ground. As for Tutin at this moment, he was silently praying to the heavens. Earth Dragon, you can't see me. You can only see him. My tentacle is biting him, so he's covered in my scent. Chapter 27. Tam2's face showed clear anxiety. Something is about to come up from the ground. He immediately used his power and skills, triple heavy earth, fortress of the earth, trying to suppress the rising force. Suddenly, a giant earth dragon burst out of the ground. Tam2 was thrown to the side. He shouted angrily, I can't stop it. What bloody bad luck. I haven't even dealt with that brat yet, and now I've run into this damn thing. Landing on a nearby barrier, Tam2 wondered annoyedly, how did it appear here? At this moment, he had recognized the monster in front of him, the earth dragon. No wonder it could break my defense. Not only that, he became even more panicked when he discovered another important point. Strange, it seems to be targeting me. Don't tell me it came here just for me. As soon as he finished speaking, the earth dragon's giant tail whipped towards him, striking him directly. Then, it opened its huge, bomb crater-like mouth and continued to chase Tam2. He fled while cursing in confusion. Damn! How can something so ridiculous happen? No, that brat just told me to save my energy to run. Was he telling the truth? But how did he do it? As for Tutin on the other side, he was like the fisherman who benefits. He let the two powerful forces fight to the death while he slipped away. Carrying the box of loot, he sighed with relief. I'm safe for tonight. After walking a little further, Tutin looked back and said, the rest depends on whether your ancestors can handle it. At the same time, Tutin didn't forget to make a vow to himself. Purgers, I will step by step expose the tumor of this era that will fester a year later for you to destroy. At this moment, a group of superhumans led by Quan Koi had also appeared at this building. A person in the team said, the target is approaching, 500 meters away. Sister Koi, did you call for 10 other squads? Let us know. Quan Koi replied confidently, just your squad is enough to capture the Earth Dragon. Now, prepare the capture formation. Go! Tonight, you will receive the glory of being the first in Huaxia to kill the Earth Dragon. He was startled and said, yes, ma'am, then muttered softly, my dear ancestor, that's the Earth Dragon that even 4-star superhumans have to avoid. Are you planning to fight it one-on-one or something? Then he quickly gave the order for the whole team to prepare. The whole group immediately followed and got into position. Yes, Captain. Captain Tong's eyes showed clear determination. This is it. We are 300 meters from the target. He began to calculate, counting down the shrinking distance. 267M, 206M, 150M, 88M, 12M. The distance was getting closer and closer. As soon as the Earth Dragon entered the right position, the team immediately began to form a formation. 4 girls simultaneously used their strongest skills. Petrification, freeze, flowing rock trap formation. Quan Koi was now certain. Last time, there were too many people in the way, so it escaped. It's so infuriating. The higher-ups ordered me to protect Thon True City, so if the Earth Dragon doesn't die, I can't rest easy and go find a boyfriend. So this time, I have to send it to the underworld. Suddenly, Tong Dan shouted, "Wait, there's a person in front of the Earth Dragon." Quan Koi quickly ordered, "Where? Quick, see who it is." He immediately used sound waves to scan and quickly reported, "Isn't that the criminal who abused and killed 13 women and was sentenced to death? Why is he here?" Hearing that, Sister Koi's anger immediately flared up. A death row inmate who abused and killed 13 women? Then we'll kill him too. She charged straight up, aiming for the Earth Dragon and attacking. Blow after blow continuously rained down on the giant monster's body. Tam too saw this and thought a benefactor had come to save him. He wondered, are they here to save me? However, he quickly realized that things were not as he thought. This guy's face turned pale, and his voice became a stutter. "No, it's another group that wants to kill me too." Tam too immediately used a move to protect himself. Heavy Earth Quadruple, Quintuple, Absolute Defense. The massive Earth Dragon was slashed to pieces by Thuong Quang Koi. It opened its mouth and roared in pain. The impact was so strong that even Tam too was sent flying. The Earth Dragon was now roaring in pain. Sister Koi jumped up like a warrior. She held a water pipe and slammed it into the monster's head. "Look here." She looked at the monster with eyes full of rage and decisively struck. "Take another one of my blows." Basically, this Earth Dragon was suppressed by Quan Koi. Witnessing this, Tam too was overjoyed. "So lucky. I'm so lucky to have met this group that wants to kill both me and the Earth Dragon." He took this opportunity to slip away. "Otherwise, I don't know when I'll escape the pursuit of that Earth Dragon." But as he was fleeing, a thought suddenly crossed his mind. What the hell happened tonight? If I fail the mission, it'll be hard to explain to that old dog Fan Chan Ai. While he was hesitating whether to go or stay, a giant jaw suddenly appeared from under his feet and chomped down on him. Before he could understand what was happening, Tam too was swallowed whole by the Earth Dragon. "What is this? Another Earth Dragon?" Quan Koi looked over from her side and said annoyedly, "There's another Earth Dragon." At the same time, the Earth Dragon under her feet also rose up and roared loudly. This made Quan Koi have a series of thoughts. What is this thing? What does it eat? Are they mutated, evolved creatures like the experts said? Even though it's been slashed to pieces by me, its fighting power is still extremely terrifying. Quan Koi couldn't help but wonder, but why are there 2 of them appearing here at the same time? How many Earth Dragons are there in total? Also, how long is it? It seems like no one has ever seen its tail. She turned to her team and said, "You guys guard it carefully. Don't let it escape. I have to slash it to the very end." After saying that, she jumped up and flew straight into the mouth of the Earth Dragon in front of her. This scene made Tong Dan shout in shock. "Thuong Quang Koi, don't jump into the Earth Dragon's mouth like that. Its teeth are very strong." Quang Koi's eyes blazed like fire. She answered, "Let's see if it can even bite me." Quang Koi unleashed her feather transformation skill. She dove straight for the monster's throat. The crowd erupted in chaos, finding it hard to believe. No one could believe their eyes. Was this really a 4-star super? It looked like Thuong Quang Koi's water dragon had been revived. Is she about to hit the 5-star mark? Ho-Ha is about to have a 5-star super. Sister Koi is amazing. 28 Earth Dragons were taken down by Quang Koi's Dragon Slash. Everyone on the team immediately cheered. "We did it! Sister Koi is incredible." She thought excitedly. "I've cut off its life source. It can't recover like last time. Let's see just how deep you really are." Then, she began to measure the length. 10 meters, 20 meters, then 50. After that, 100 meters. But it showed no signs of stopping. This made Quang Koi extremely doubtful. How is this possible? Can a monster's gene mutate a normal animal to several hundred meters? Though she wanted to keep checking, she knew she couldn't go on. So she had to stop. Her power had reached its limit. She couldn't probe any further. Going down there herself would be too dangerous. She had no choice but to give up. Her teammates saw this. Seeing this, they praised her endlessly. "I can't believe we actually got it. The first person in Hoa-Ha to kill an Earth Dragon. Sister Koi, did she just level up to 5-star? Or is she still just a 4-star? But she was still confused. She wondered to herself, is the Earth Dragon really just a monster? Did I actually kill it? The scene shifts to the Fan family's Eternal Flame research base. Old Chan Wei stared intently at the giant cabbage. He asked about the situation outside. "Report on the monster factory." The assistant standing beside him replied immediately. The monster factory in the abandoned district has been completely destroyed. No research staff survived. The Liberation Society members in charge of transport are also dead. Below, the T also heard the report. The assassin is missing. According to intel, he was eaten by the Thunder Dragon. The monster factory was exposed, but the emergency response was successful. Vice Director Fan continued to listen. Most importantly, all documents were automatically destroyed. We followed your instructions. We also reported to the Eradicator headquarters. We told them it was just an ordinary monster research facility. Most of the high-ranking leaders in the Eradicator Society vouched for us. They're still discussing how to penalize us for building a monster research lab without authorization. I think it will be a verbal reprimand at most. Old Chanui asked, who was responsible for this? The assistant showed him a message. This is a message from the monster factory's manager. He sent it before the incident, he said. After hearing it, the old man pondered for a moment. Blue fire? It consumes everything. It must be a high-level fire-type super, one close to the eternal flame. As he spoke, the Tableau interjected. It's the key to the eternal flower, the key to obtaining the eternal flame. As he finished, he controlled the flame in his hand. It acted upon the cabbage before him. The heavens are truly watching. 3 generations of our fan family have inherited fire-type super abilities. We've tried to research the strongest fire constellation, to unearth the eternal flower containing the eternal flame. If we don't have super genes over 90%, we must seize them ourselves. The T emphasized further. Hasn't the artificial super experiment completed its first step? We just need to extract this blue flame super gene. As the eldest son with the highest super gene in the fan family, I'm certain I can use this key to unlock the eternal flame and make our fan family the #1 flame dynasty. The assistant heard this and said anxiously, we need to find that flame now. But the world is so vast. Old Chan Ui replied calmly, it's just finding one super. We can have the Eradicators help us. He then gave an order immediately. Report to the Eradicator headquarters. Our monster lab was destroyed by the blue flame they're hunting. He stole precious materials. It's likely he was also the one who lured the Thunder Dragon. The assistant received the order and quickly left. The T gently caressed the plant, like he was touching a treasure. He whispered lowly, eternal flower. I will definitely make you bloom. I will seize your flame. This flower bud wasn't just enormous in size. Its root system was also incredibly long. It plunged so deep into the earth that its end was not visible. At this moment, below the Eternal Flame research base, about 5,000 meters deep, the plant's roots had reached this far. They seemed to be embedded in the body of a giant monster with crimson eyes. The Earth Dragon that had just swallowed Tam-2 appeared before the Earth Dragon Overlord. It slowly opened its mouth. Inside, a human figure was revealed. Immediately after, it spat out the scumbag. He panicked and yelled, damn it, where am I? Tam-2 looked around in a daze and commented, it's sticky and smells like blood. Soon, he realized he was standing in the jaws of a giant monster. He screamed in terror, what is this monster? No, how can such a giant monster exist in this world? What level is it? The Earth Dragon Lord stared at its prey. It spoke with anger. Wrong. Tam-2's entire body stiffened. He was terrified of what the monster would do next, and it didn't make him wait long. The Thunder Dragon unleashed a blast of blue fire. It incinerated him into ash. After Tam-2 completely vanished, the piece of flesh Tu-Tin had planted on him fell. The Dragon Lord immediately stared at it. It opened its mouth and swallowed it whole. Then it spoke. We must catch him. Remember his scent. As its sharp teeth snapped shut, a piercing sound rang out, followed by a bright flash of light. The scene shifts to Tu-Tin. He had returned to his dorm. As soon as he got back, Tu-Tin quickly hid his spoils. Tu-Nu watched with a bewildered look. I'll hide all these resources. I'll use them when needed. Otherwise, it will attract too much attention. He quickly calculated in his head. The tentacle's owner must have realized I wasn't the one it was chasing, so it must have retrieved what I left on that guy. Tu-Nu ran to greet him. You're back? Tu-Tin handed her something. He gave her a box. Bought you a late-night snack. High-grade life energy. I tried it. 1 tube is equal to 5 or 6 of the schools. He was a bit worried. At this rate, it will track me down by scent. What will it do then? Send an extremely powerful monster after me? Or continue using Earth Dragons to probe? If it keeps using Earth Dragons, that's fine. That way, I can find it too. I can probably delay the outbreak for another year. As he thought this, Tu-Tin watched his friends back. He silently hoped for a positive turn of events. Still, he couldn't escape his thoughts. If I attack proactively, I won't have time to grow. But then what? That would definitely attract the Eradicator's attention, alerting the enemy. If the apocalypse is a fatal tumor, then the more obvious the symptoms, the better. While Tu-Tin was struggling with his calculations, a change occurred at the Eternal Flame research base. The Eternal Flower Bud began to react. One of its petals slowly peeled away. Then, other petals followed suit. A researcher saw this and shouted, Everyone, look over there. The Eternal Flower. It's blooming. Hearing the shout, everyone rushed over curiously. Really? The man said excitedly. Director Pham just left. Tell them to come back. There's been a major breakthrough. As he spoke, a strange power sliced through his body in an instant. The other two suffered the same fate. They were cut in half by that mysterious thing. A man with a scar on his face lunged forward with a knife. He aimed for the neck of a man standing nearby. At the same time, warnings echoed around him. Just as the knife touched the man, the skin on his neck instantly hardened. The blade couldn't pierce it. The girl in pink standing nearby spoke up. See? I told you so. You can now control your own life element. You've already activated your golden body. The captain is invincible. The captain smirked. Stop joking around. He clapped his hands to gather everyone. We finally have an intruder. No wonder the Fan family gathered dead men like us. We are the kind of people even eradicators fear. He continued. Here, we have 3, 4-star supers and 7 peak 3-star supers. A Hong immediately corrected him. Captain, you're mistaken. We now have 6 4-star supers. The training speed here is incredibly fast. If you give us a little more time, it won't be long before we're all 4-star supers. The group behind them began to discuss. Let's go. We'll carry out the mission the Fan family gave us. The captain confidently led his brothers forward. It doesn't matter who the intruder is. Even if they're eradicators, kill them on sight. They'll enter, but they won't leave. He began to assign roles to the team. Team A, with me, you're in charge of blocking attacks. A Hong spoke with emotion. I really miss the old days of plundering. Then it was Team B's turn. Directly kill the enemy's armed forces. Scarface also spoke up. That's right, life is so boring now. My balls are about to rust. Team C's mission was to control the staff. Don't let them escape. The members behind them all grunted in acknowledgement. The captain gave a special order to someone named A Thursday. You go invisible and scout the situation for me. He accepted the order and immediately vanished. As the team approached the base's entrance, the captain repeated his warning. We're here. Don't be careless. Anyone who can break into a heavily guarded secret research base is no pushover. Then, he used his strength to break down the main door and charged in. Smug smiles appeared on all their faces. Burn their insides. We'll slaughter them all. But just 3 seconds after they all entered, they were wiped out by the terrifying power of the blue flame. A Thu, still invisible, witnessed the entire scene from the side. He was so scared he didn't dare to breathe loudly. He even covered his mouth to stop himself from screaming. After seeing it all, A Thu recounted in shock. In the blink of an eye, besides me, they're all dead. He collapsed to the ground in front of the Fan family members. He spoke while trembling. Because I hid my presence beforehand, I escaped. That's how I was able to see it. A Thu stated with certainty. There wasn't an intruder. It was monsters that transformed from the eternal flower's petals. It's so strange. It wasn't a human mutating into a monster, but the flower itself hadn't even bloomed yet. He knelt on the spot and continued. There were 4 of them in total. They can turn invisible. They can also use the eternal flame. They killed Captain Golden Body in the blink of an eye. Damn it. This thing is much stronger than the Earth Dragon. They finally left the lab. I don't know where they went. A Thu screamed frantically. Master Fan, we're in big trouble. These monsters will kill a lot of people. We must notify the eradicators. A Thu's face was filled with fear as he continued. We can't hide this. No one can. Old Chan Ui didn't say much. He directly launched a flame attack to silence. A Thursday, I've already said. Anyone who dares to reveal what happened here must die. A death row inmate worrying about the lives of others? How ridiculous. He turned to his assistant. Extract his super gene. Don't let it go to waste. The assistant replied fearfully. Yes, sir. On the other side, the tea cheered excitedly. Uncle, it's just as you said. The eternal flower is back to normal. It stimulates super gene abilities to become stronger. Just touching it makes the super gene undergo a clear transformation. I'll learn the life element and level up to 4-star soon. And finally obtain the eternal flame. Old Chan Ui nodded. Good, but before we finish the defensive barrier to secure this place, you should be careful. Don't touch it for now. At that moment, a thought appeared in the old man's mind. The eternal flower is a monster flower that mutates genes. I figured that out long ago. I just didn't expect it could also transform into a mobile monster, but that's not important. What's important is that monsters can stimulate supers. One day, the Fan family's number of supers will be vast and powerful. When the time is right, the Fan family will easily crush this world. Fan Chan Ui looked at the eternal flower bud with a sinister gaze. He confirmed in his heart that it was a treasure belonging only to the Fan family. Back at the school dorms, a few rooms were still lit. At this time, Tu Nu was being approached by Tu Tin. She asked nervously, Why are you looking at me like that? You want to eat me again? He replied immediately, deep in thought. No, I already ate tonight. It will take about 10 days to digest this meal. By then, the monster gene in my body could reach the peak of level 3. Before I evolve to level 4, I must upgrade the super gene in my body to 3-star. He explained more clearly for his friend. I have to use the super gene to stabilize the monster gene. That's how I can control my human form like this. But my super gene is too weak. From what I know, reaching 3-star requires some special methods. The air between them suddenly fell silent. Tin reached his hand towards Nu. He gently placed his hand on her cheek. Then he gently caressed her beautiful face for a moment. His monster arm suddenly appeared. Tin said no more. He brought his monster hand directly in front of Nu. From the center of its palm, a set of sharp teeth shot out. It lunged straight for Mu's neck. At the same time, he spoke. Come on, let's see what happens. She replied, a little uneasy. Hey, you have to be gentle. The monster's teeth bit into Nu's neck. Tin said, it's fine. It'll only hurt for a second. The moment it bit down, the super gene in Nu's body immediately gathered around the bite. After just a few short seconds, she felt her condition stabilize. My super gene has decreased significantly. Tin replied excitedly. It worked so fast. He looked at her and continued. Based on my experience refining electrical energy before, a vortex will absorb all the super gene energy in your body and refine it, so absorb electricity as much as you want. The student handbook says the school will cover all related costs during a breakthrough. Nu began to absorb electrical energy. All she could hear was his urging. Absorb more. The school will pay tonight's entire electricity bill. Elsewhere in the academy, the secretary rushed in to report. Principal Triet, there's an anomaly in the school's power grid. There are power outages everywhere. Contrary to her panic, the principal nodded happily. My power is out too. A clock ticked in the silent room. Tick-tock, tick-tock. A minute passed just like that. Secretary Duong didn't understand. She asked, Sir, shouldn't you give some instructions? Old Kin grinned. Calm down. Our school has a genius with the highest super gene in history. She's probably even calmer now. That little girl is having a breakthrough. It's fine. But her breakthrough speed is a bit surprising. Chino is more of a genius than I thought. Miss Duong said with concern, won't the electricity bill be very high like this? The principal leisurely took a sip of tea and replied, it's fine. Even if the bill reaches hundreds of thousands, it's okay. Talent is priceless. Besides, if the cost is too high, the Eradicator headquarters can pay for it, right? Suddenly, a call came in. He turned his head and sighed. Good thing the phone line is special. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to receive emergency calls. Looking at the symbol on the phone, Triet realized it was a call from the Eradicator headquarters. He quickly answered the phone. This is Triet. The person on the other end just started speaking. Principal Kin was so shocked he jumped up. What? The entire city has lost power? All of it? All the electricity is being diverted to the academy. It's all right. It's because our academy's Nu is having a breakthrough. Oh, right. The electricity cost this time. What? I have to file an application. Nam Nguyen Super Academy is located in Thon Tru Town. Thon Tru Town is in the Thon Tru Special Zone of Nam Nguyen City. The residents are distributed along the banks of the Chin River. The total area of the town is 36.7 square kilometers. Although the Thon Tru Special Zone is an island, its location is quite close to the center of Nam Nguyen City. The city has an area of 795.44 square kilometers. It is the third largest metropolis in Hoa Ha. It is extremely prosperous. Daily residential electricity consumption reaches 200 billion watts. And now, the city's entire power supply is flowing into the Nam Nguyen Super Academy. It's causing a blackout even in the city center. Those currents are converging into Nu's body. The power station is supplying at full capacity. 3 hours of frantic absorption is equivalent to half a day's electricity usage for the entire city. It's also equal to the energy reserves of a 4-star super. The pink-haired woman from the Eradicator headquarters spoke. She only just awakened, but her body can already contain such terrifying elemental energy. It's unbelievable. Triet replied, the higher the super gene ratio, the purer the super gene in their bodies. And the purer it is, the more elemental energy they can store. They are natural energy containers, so it's no surprise. The more energy, and the purer it is, the greater the chance of leveling up. They will face fewer difficulties in cultivation later on. He added, this is also the secret that super organizations all over the world are researching. They use all means to make humans break the limits of their super genes. It's a path to the heavens that is visible but hard to reach. By the way, Teacher Kin asked, how much is the electricity bill for these 3 hours? The other end of the line immediately replied, 5,603,475 yuan. That number made old Kin choke. He choked on his tea. The person on the phone heard him coughing and asked worriedly, Director Kin, are you all right? He quickly made an excuse. Oh, I'm fine. The tea was just too hot. The headquarters was a bit concerned. Director Kin, according to you, in theory, Chinu shouldn't have any problems with her cultivation. But what if something unexpected happens? For example, she's not even a 1, star super yet, so she still doesn't know. If her body can't contain the elemental energy, that means your 50 million yuan will be a total waste. But Qin Triet replied with extreme confidence. How could that be? This girl has used up the entire class's life essence fluid, so leveling up to a 1-star super is a piece of cake for her. And if there are signs of it going to waste, I don't think she would want that either. She's probably busy looking for help right now. During the call, Secretary Duong reported, Director, Qi Nu is here to see you. Old Qin's expression was a bit unnatural. He said, let her in. Tiu Nu and Tiu Teen walked in. She bowed her head, looking apologetic. Hello, Director. Thank you so much, Director, for your support. I'm also very sorry. After training tonight, I realized I used a lot of electricity. It caused our school a huge financial loss. Qin Triet forced a smile. It's all right. Nurturing talent is the school's duty. By the way, what was I saying? Qi Nu. Are you a 1-star super? Tiu Nu heard the question and replied blankly. No, I'm not. That answer was like a knife twisting in the principal's gut. Though his heart was filled with disappointment, old Qin forced himself to say, it's all right. Let me teach you how to lock the electricity you've absorbed. With your talent, it shouldn't be like this. But Tiu Nu hadn't finished speaking. She continued, but I'm already a 2-star super. Principal Qin jumped up and asked, 2-star? He could hardly believe his ears. He immediately shot up. So fast? By my calculations, it should take at least 2 weeks. You should have taken another week to level up to 2-star. You may not have difficulties in cultivation, but your super gene is too high. It should take some time to refine the elements. Then he began to use his super ability to check. Let me see. In an instant, countless branches appeared around Tiu Nu. She looked at them and thought, when did these branches appear around us? Tiu Ingu observed, stunned. It was completely silent, so I didn't feel anything. It's like there's no threat, but I'm sure these branches are very dangerous. She curiously reached out to touch them, her eyes filled with confusion. Principal Qin's voice rang out. I see. Your super gene mechanism is boiling, so your elemental refinement speed is much faster. Then he retracted the branches, sat down, and continued. A boiling super gene like this usually has 2 causes. One is from fighting monsters. The other is from emotional excitement. Hearing this, Tiu Nu immediately raised her hand. Director, my emotions were extremely excited. Qin Triet suddenly fell silent. He stared at the young girl before him. Tiu Tin's laugh and voice rang out. Qi Nu is cold on the outside but warm on the inside, so that's not important. Tiu Tin walked over and patted Tiu Nu's head. He continued, Director, we came here just to thank you and the Academy, and to ask for some elemental constellation techniques. We want to level up to 3-star. Teacher Qin heard him and replied, 3-star super is the graduation standard for the Academy. You've just enrolled and you already want to graduate? He laughed loudly and continued, Qi Nu can. The Academy has already prepared the most suitable constellation for her, but you can't. To become a 2-star super, you have to make your super gene break its cocoon and transform into an elemental gene. And a 3-star super must use this elemental gene to build an elemental constellation using the most scientific method, like the Crimson Flame Brace, the Fan Family's technique. After building it, you can use pure elements to invent the strongest and most exclusive methods. But your gene is flawed. Your gene ratio is too low. You can't build a constellation. Tiu Tin said with a mischievous smile. How can that be? Doesn't our school have in support armor called the Artificial Super Robot? He thought to himself, this scientific project hasn't been fully successful yet. It wasn't until the late apocalypse that the Eradicators brought it out for people to use. But it had no effect on stopping the apocalypse. Luckily, it just so happens that it can help me break through to 2-star super. Qin Triet heard this and asked curiously, you know about this? Well, if you frequently follow super news, it's normal to know this. He then added, the artificial super robot was indeed registered after its successful research. But then all information was wiped clean in a short time, not because they wanted to hide it, but because the project's technology was not up to par. Teacher Qin explained, it's true that eradicators can make robots replace super genes, but it only works for people with a super gene below 40%, and the effect is extremely significant. But the most important thing is that it also consumes a lot of energy. That's how it can generate power for someone with a low super gene. The price is an ocean of life essence fluid, so it's not worth it. Tiu Tin remained firm. Then it's perfect for me. I have plenty of life essence fluid. My classmates are also very willing to help me. Teacher Qin considered for a moment, then showed disapproval. Don't speak for everyone like that. Tiu Tin immediately replied, not at all. Director, you misunderstand. Qin Triet thought for a bit more, then said with clear refusal, that thing consumes no less electricity than Qi Ingu did tonight. He replied, then I have no choice. Goodbye, Director. Then he pulled Tiu Nu and left. They talked as they walked. Tinton, I feel like I can't hold the electricity in my body. I'll release it all later. We'll absorb it again tomorrow night. He replied, if you can't hold it, then don't. Yes. She continued, if I still can't hold it tomorrow night, we'll do it again the night after. Tin nodded. Okay, as long as we persist and don't give up, we will definitely succeed. The old man quickly spoke up. You too, come back here. Then he said grimly, Tan, I'll give you a chance. Don't you have a team of friends, right? The academy is preparing to hold a supernova selection. If your group of friends all get selected, I will let you have an artificial super robot armor that the Eradicators gave our academy. Hearing that, Tin quickly nodded repeatedly. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Director. I will definitely help our whole group get selected as new talents. Kintriat didn't forget to add, hey, a little reminder. The application deadline is in 3 days. Tin bowed his head and replied, thank you for the reminder, Director. Goodbye, Director. After they left, Secretary Duong approached, her face full of concern. They can't possibly get selected for the supernova. The National Super Tournament is held every 2 years. Super academies from all over the country will select a team, the strongest lineup to participate. They're only first-year students. Even with the genius girl Qin Nu on the team, it would be hard to beat the other students. Not to mention the other 2 members of the team haven't even awakened yet. At this moment, Kintriat appeared completely calm. That's not necessarily true, Miss Duong asked, confused. Is it just because of Qin Nu's talent that you're giving them priority? That sounds unreasonable. Old Qin replied, no, it's because of that kid. Hearing that, the secretary was even more confused. That Tintan? The principal said that at first, old man Fan Chan Wei wanted to prevent him from joining the academy, just because of his practically non-existent 1% super gene. Secretary Duong nodded. Yes, and you gave him a chance to take the final assessment. It's only now that everyone knows. They still can't understand why his super gene is so low, it's like he doesn't have one. Kintriat cut her off, didn't he? Still pass the assessment in the end? He continued, his super gene is indeed as good as none. I also investigated his physical data from when he was in high school, and I found an anomaly. This kid has a secret. Years of research experience tell me that he's definitely not simple. Secretary Duong asked curiously, Director, aren't you researching monster genes? You've always wanted to solve the problem of people with monster gene mutations. Now you're also researching the physical data of supers? Hearing the secretary's question, he fell silent for a moment. Anyway, I've already given him that difficult task. If he manages to complete it, our school loses nothing. Then he stood up and instructed, all right, go back to your work. The power outage made you work overtime until the early morning. It's been tough on you, miss. Duong immediately replied, no, this is my duty. After the secretary left, Kintriat immediately called someone. The other side answered right away. What is it? Why are you calling me so late? He replied, hello, Director True of the Eradicator Bureau. This is Kintriat. The other end was puzzled. Old Kin, why are you being so formal all of a sudden? Kintriat lowered his voice and emphasized, Qin Nu's electricity bill. Just consider that I've already applied for the costs. If not, I'll resign. This made Director True choke for a moment, unable to speak. The next morning, at the courtyard of Nam Ingui at Super Academy, a crowd gathered. Someone spoke up. Lam Diem has a 90% chance of being among this year's new students. Investigate all of this year's freshmen. We must drag out the Lam Diem who provoked our eradicators and stole important data from the Fan family's lab. Everyone shouted in unison. Understood. In the principal's office, Niep Duong smiled. Hello, Principal Qin. Our school continues to thrive gloriously. You brat Niep Duong. How long has it been since you visited? This is also Lam Shi's first time back since graduation, right? How does it feel? Lam Shi replied politely. Yes, just as the vice captain said, the school hasn't changed a bit in 10 years. They definitely don't have enough funding. Niep Duong forced a smile. Lam Shi, you heard wrong. You silent demon, shut your mouth for me. He continued to argue. How could I? You clearly said if the Fan family took over, the school would be completely broke. He immediately put his hand over Lam Shi's face to shut him up. It's getting late. Let's get to the main topic. Kintriat closed his eyes, his voice low. Just say what you have to say. Niep Duong also became serious. He reported, this time, besides coming to be judges for the supernova selection, we are also tasked with finding Lam Diem. Old Qin immediately frowned and asked for clarification. Lam Diem? Why does the Eradicator Bureau think Lam Diem is at our school? Niep Duong looked helplessly at Lam Shi and said, explain the situation. He stood up straight to report, while Niep Duong listened intently. Yes, at around 10:30 p.m. on the 25th of June 2025, while I was exterminating monsters in the Thon T commercial district, I saw Lam Diem. The images of Tu Tin fighting were still etched in Lam Shi's mind. Everything happened so suddenly then, A monster ate one of my arms, but he appeared and helped me. I just don't understand why he intentionally knocked me out. He recalled Chiu-tin's face and said, when I woke up, the monster was already dead, and I vaguely saw him absorbing the black smoke that the monster turned into after it died. It was very dark then. I couldn't see anything. His face. But based on my judgment, he is a very young man. That's why the captain speculates he's a newly encountered teenager, a newly awakened one with great superpower. However, his mind is not yet mature, which is why he's so passionate about such thrilling actions. Neep Duong sat beside him, hands clasped, eyes closed, and continued tiredly, yes, but if it were just that, we wouldn't be so anxious. His voice became stern as he recounted, but his passion grew. Yesterday, the Fan family reported that Lam DM appeared by himself. He appeared again and attacked a critical Fan family lab. He stole life essence fluid. He killed everyone inside the lab. With a cold expression, Neep Duong concluded, he's getting more dangerous by the day. We must catch him. This time, he first appeared right in the city. On the Academy's opening day, he appeared again in Thon Tru Town, which is under the Academy's jurisdiction. He raised his suspicion. It's very likely that he is a new student at the Academy. Lam Shi, still annoyed, added, we have to drag him out. I'll let him taste the feeling of being beaten to a pulp. Old Kim pondered for a moment, then spoke. The reason you gave is really far-fetched. Old Kim lifted his coffee cup for a light sip, then continued his assessment. But from your expressions, it seems you're very certain he's in the Academy. Lam Shi looked over and explained the reason. Because after he knocked me out that day, I felt a very strange connection between us. He covered one eye to feel it, he said with a resolute attitude. I don't know what strange superpower he transferred to me when he hit my head. In short, that kind of feeling can't be wrong. Recalling the moment he stepped into the Academy, Lam Shi explained further. Because as soon as I set foot in the Academy, I felt it. Lam DM is really here. I also really want to know why I suddenly have this feeling. After a pause, Neep Duong spoke with a serious face. No matter what, we just need to catch Lam DM. The Eradicator Bureau isn't just investigating the Academy. In short, we have to investigate a series of new students from this batch. Old Kin heard all their opinions and closed his eyes, his thoughts unclear. He finally agreed. Right now, all the new students are training at the elemental field. You can go over there and take a look. Everyone was gathered at the field. A voice echoed everywhere. The school has many different elemental courses. There are also many martial arts classes. Normally, if you have any difficulties in your cultivation, you can seek out that specialized teacher for help. Additionally, you can come to this elemental field to train. Fo Luong was giving a lecture. The ground here is designed with the 5-element cycle: wood, water, fire, and earth. This design makes the super genes in your bodies boil. For those who have awakened, your training speed will increase very quickly. For those who haven't awakened, your chances of awakening will be higher. He adjusted his glasses and warned, cherish today's opportunity. The next time you can come to this training ground will depend on your performance today. I think you should find a suitable opponent to practice with, because combat is the best way to enhance your super gene. Begin. After speaking, Fo Luong turned and left. At the same time, he called out, Chinu, Tintan, you two come here for a moment. Du Hoang's group saw two new and two teen leave. They approached. He sneered at True Thin. Your masters are gone. You useless, unawakened trash. Let us practice with you. He remained calm and replied, I'll practice with Tu Dao. I'm afraid I might accidentally injure you guys. Hearing that, Du Hoang laughed out loud. What did I just hear? An unawakened piece of trash. The only tough thing about you is your mouth. Be careful not to die of embarrassment before a heart attack. We're all classmates. Let us teach you a lesson on behalf of the teachers. You dare to steal our resources? I advise you to spit it all out. Otherwise, do you think your masters can protect you forever? Over here, Fo Luong held his head. The principal has agreed to your unbelievable request. You two accepted a mission. From the principal, that's beyond absurd. The principal also told me to do my best to help you. So right now, I am doing my best. To be honest, neither of you meet the criteria to register for the supernova. He looked at them and continued, the minimum requirement to register is that the team captain must have at least a 3-star super strategy. You should thank Thuong Quan. If not for her, you wouldn't even meet this condition, let alone anything else. Back then, although Thuong Quang Koi was only a first-year student, she was placed in the second-year team. At the same time, with her 2-star super strength, she defeated a 3-star super judge. The standards were adjusted after that. Fo Luong stood up, adjusted his glasses, and reminded them, so you can follow Thuong Quang Koi's example and join the second-year team first. But Ting Tun's super gene is too low, so he'll likely be eliminated. Tu Tin refused. No need. Our current group is quite good. The teacher gave a cold assessment. The current group, 3 lost people, 2 unawakened, and 1 with only a 1% super gene. Suddenly, his expression changed as he sensed something. Huh? I have a strange feeling. Memories of his first meal and lamb sheep flashed through his mind. At the same time, a sudden thought emerged. It's the Eradicator whose arm I indirectly ate. He's here? Q-Tin thought for a moment and made a decision. This is a resonance between perfectly matched super genes. It means he can sense me too. I can't let him find me. Inside his body, many large, strong monster genes surrounded a small, weak yellow super gene. Q-Tin quickly thought of a way to use the monster genes to surround the super gene and block the resonance. On the field, Fo Luong was still trying to persuade the two students. Tin Tan, although the principal gave you the 10,000 swords constellation, in theory, even with a low super gene, you can still practice the techniques, but your talent is too poor. Before you get the armor, you simply can't cultivate the constellation. The teacher pointed out bluntly, without a constellation, you can't channel elements and techniques. It's like cooking without ingredients, unless you can sense others' elements and copy them. Fo Luong turned to Tu Ngu. He raised his hand to explain. Chi Ngu will temporarily be the team captain. Register first, then we'll figure it out. Hit me with all you've got. Hearing this, she immediately brightened up. All I've got? It'll take a little while to warm up. Please wait a moment. Seeing Tu Nu's excited expression, Fo Luong suddenly felt that something was wrong. Why do you look so excited? This is dangerous. Aim for the sky. On the other side, Du Haum was swinging his fist at Tru Thin. He laughed sinisterly and shouted, even the king of the jungle has his moments of carelessness. Your masters can't protect you for a lifetime. So what if you have a 95% super gene? Suddenly, a pillar of lightning shot up from where Tu Nu was. It shot straight into the sky, making him freeze for a few seconds. The light from that attack illuminated the entire large field. The crowd immediately turned to look at the source of the giant pillar of electricity. The blinding light made their figures blurry. The pillar of lightning quickly shot up into the air. At the same time, the power in several buildings on campus went out. Seeing that, Du Hong's group immediately dropped their thuggish demeanor. They went over to smooth out Tru Thin's clothes and flatter him. Top of the top. Brother Thin is a super expert. Our resources are always waiting for our master's favor. He secretly laughed to himself. Inside, Tru Thin's and his brother's eyes shone like car headlights. Their hearts were filled with admiration. Sister-in-law is so cool. After the attack, Tu Nu worriedly turned to look at Fo Luong and asked, Teacher, was that good enough? He was stunned for a few seconds before replying, that was enough. On the outside, Fo Luong looked calm, but inside, he was smiling bitterly. Truly a demon queen. She's a bit slow to warm up, but just based on elemental outbursts alone, she can be this strong. If she cultivates the constellation the principal gave her, she might become a walking nuclear power plant. Suddenly, a voice came from outside. Teacher Fo Luong. He turned around in surprise, his face full of doubt. Secretary Duong. She slowly walked over and said, could you please come here for a moment? Fo Luong quickly walked over to Secretary Duong. Meanwhile, Tiu Tin stood with his eyes closed, unresponsive, which made Tiu Nu worry. What's wrong? Tin Tun, what's wrong with you? His eyes opened. His cold voice rang out. The Eradicators are here. A moment later, after talking with Secretary Duong, Fo Luong quickly gathered everyone. Everyone, assemble. The first years whispered curiously. What's going on? What happened? Eradicators. At that moment, Neeb Duong stood beside him and asked, Lam Shi, it's all up to you this time. Did you find him? His eyes narrowed. He replied cautiously, the person is nearby, but I suddenly lost the connection just now. Then Lam Shi activated his ability. His eyes glowed with golden streaks as he searched. Lam Shi's voice was full of confidence. It's all right. I can find him. He shouted, Metal, come. Instantly, many iron bars shot up from the ground. The scene changes. The time rewinds to 2 months ago in a building. Lam Shi walked over and asked, what's the situation? Fan Ha looked and silently assessed him. This uniform robe, he's a captain from another district here to help? She quickly replied, Sir, the vice captain has successfully lured the monster into the entire old house. It won't harm any civilians. After hearing this, Lam Shi ordered coldly, tell the vice captain to retreat now. Fan Ha was stunned. But he waved his hand impatiently. Hurry up. She could only agree quickly. Yes, yes. Fan Ha picked up the walkie-talkie. Reporting, Vice Captain. A captain from another district is ordering you to leave the building immediately. When he saw that Fan Ha had relayed the message, Lam Shi immediately used his ability. He slammed his hand on the ground, cracking it open. Metal elements were quickly summoned, soaring into the air. Metal, come! Fan Ha, standing beside him, was stunned speechless. She thought in shock, damn, where did all the iron around here come from? He pulled it all over. Lam Shi controlled the iron and sent it crashing into the building. The impact of his attack was so strong that the entire structure shook violently. She was terrified. Even the rebar in this building is being pulled away. How is that possible? It doesn't seem like he's using that much elemental power. Seeing the building in front of her swaying, she could only curse under her breath. Damn. He truly understands the principle of using 4 ounces to move 1,000 pounds. At this moment, the building's walls began to crumble. Manhwa silently admired him. This is the highest realm of the 10,000 Swords constellation. 10,000 swords returned to origin. From the outside, countless large pieces of rubble could be seen falling. Manhwa sighed. That building, it collapsed. Suddenly, from inside, Neep Duong's figure appeared, hastily running out of the building. He yelled angrily, "Which bastard collapsed the building?" Neep Duong's face was contorted with fury. He shouted furiously, "I was holding the monster in there to help the new recruits with combat training. I don't care which district's captain you are, I'm going to kill you." After escaping, Neep Duong gritted his teeth and stared at Lam Shi. The boy nonchalantly raised his hand in a salute and said, "Reporting, Vice Captain." He introduced himself with a blank expression. "I am Lam Ji, a graduate of the class of 25 from Nam Nguyen Super Academy." The other two were stunned for a few seconds. Neep Duong's eyes glowed like headlights. He was so angry he was about to explode. "Lam Shi, you're the new recruit assigned to our team? Then why are you wearing a captain's uniform?" He calmly explained the reason. "No, this robe of mine doesn't have a logo. It's just a normal robe that makes me feel more impressive." Manhwa, standing beside them, was speechless. She just closed her eyes and muttered, "You have to make an impression on your first day." The scene returns to the academy in the present. Neep Duong stood behind, watching Lam Shi use his ability, and frowned slightly. "I think you better not mess around. If you destroy this 5-element field, then you and I will have to work for 20,000 years to pay off the debt." He replied coolly, "Vice Captain, you're so noisy. There's a lot of metal buried in the 5-element field. Enough for me to use." His eyes showed determination as he ordered, "Metal, come." Golden metal fragments immediately shot up from the ground. They quickly assembled into a long shaft with a sharp point. The first-year students saw this and cried out in alarm. "There are metal swords all over our heads. What is this eradicator trying to do? Is he going to kill us like monsters?" Tu Tin and Tu Mu, standing in the middle, remained quite calm. He felt a little annoyed. "He can sense the metal element in my body. He's using his own metal element to connect with the bodies of the students here." The metal shafts immediately shot down near Tu Tin's position. He thought to himself, "He's trying to force me to reveal myself." Inside his body, the small yellow gene had swelled, becoming tall and strong, daring to confront the surrounding monster genes. Tu Tin felt the stirrings in his body. "My super gene is foolishly acting up." He closed his eyes to calculate. The monster gene can suppress it, but Tu Tin looked at the giant metal shaft hovering in midair, feeling helpless. "Does this mean I can't use my super gene as long as this shorty is here? I can't avoid him forever." Just then, an idea flashed in his mind. "Who can say for sure that just because he can sense me, I'm Lam Diem?" Tu Tin whispered to Tu Nu beside him, "Don't be rash later. Stay away from me for a bit. Trust me, it'll be fine." At the same time, he directed the monster gene to move to another location. The super gene was no longer suppressed. Lam Shi's senses immediately picked up the trail. His eyes turned sharp as he identified his target. "Lam Diem, I found you." The metal spears in front of Du Hong suddenly changed direction. The remaining metal pieces did the same. Now, they were all aimed at one person. When he saw all the metal shafts pointing at him, Tu Tin immediately went into full acting mode. "What's going on?" he thought to himself. "Time to test my acting skills. I'm just an ordinary new student who knows nothing." Lam Shi didn't fall for it. He continued to control the metal in a relentless attack. "Lam Diem, you ambushed an eradicator in the central commercial plaza and destroyed the Fan family's lab. I'm here on behalf of the eradicators to arrest you." Tru Thin and Tu Dao both shouted worriedly. "Big brother." Du Hong was shocked. "Lam Diem? I've seen that wanted poster. How can Tinton be Lam Diem? Stupid." Hung, who was standing in front, somewhat agreed. "Although he's annoying, isn't the wanted Lam Diem a fire-type super?" Hearing this, he quickly responded by shouting repeatedly, "Oh, right, I'm metal." Suddenly, the metal shaft hurtling towards Tu Tin slowed down. It stopped right in place. He gracefully dodged the continuous barrage of metal shafts. He couldn't help but be amazed. "I can clearly sense the direction of these elements, and I can see their structure." Suddenly, the metal shaft in Tu Tin's eyes blurred. It revealed the structural lines within. Tu Tin was stunned. "Aren't they just connected flows? If I can see them so clearly," he remembered Fo Luong's words. "I'll use the tactic of killing a chicken to scare the monkeys. Unless you can sense other people's elements and copy them." Tu Tin lifted one leg and silently calculated. "I guess." He used his super gene to control the metal pieces under the ground to fly up like this, right? Using just a little metal element. Tu Tin's expression turned cold. His hand gathered the metal pieces to form a weapon similar to Lam Shi's. What did he just shout? "Metal, come." What a stupid thing to shout, as expected of someone with a hack. With just one look, he could replicate a copy. The Void's celestial sword. It was identical to Lam Shi's, but because Tu Tin wasn't used to controlling this copy, it kept wobbling. He shouted, "Be still!" Fo Luong, standing nearby, was so shocked he pushed up his glasses. This is a technique from the 10,000 Swords constellation. It must be. You can use it with just a little metal element. Did Tin Tan learn it just by watching Lam Shi use it? But that's not how it works. It's not a technique you can learn just by looking. He doesn't have a constellation, so how could he learn it? Nib Duong thoughtfully assessed Tu Tin and tried to persuade him. Lam DM uses blue fire. This kid is a metal type. He replied with certainty. My senses are never wrong. Lam Shi waved his hand to control his swords. His voice rang out. Does using fire mean you have to be a fire type? Lam Shi swung his arm in multiple directions, making the metal swords move. He reaffirmed his judgment. With a few tricks, metal can also generate fire. He executed the move, extreme speed. Instantly, the metal swords spun rapidly in a circle. The speed was so great it created sparks. The bodies of the metal swords gradually turned red hot. He called out the technique's name, Melting Shift, Burning Passion. Fo Luong stared in amazement at the fire dance before him and exclaimed, after mastering 10,000 swords returned to origin, he can make every sword ignite at the same time. After graduation, Lam Shi's control and manipulation have improved so much. His expression suddenly darkened. Many questions appeared in his mind. It's true that metal can generate fire. Fo Luong looked at Tu Tin, who was still standing still. He stared at the heated metal swords in the sky in disbelief. Is Tin Tan really Lam Diem? Is his identity as a new super just a disguise? On Tu Tin's side, his eyes were now brighter than car headlights. He looked with fascination at Lam Shi's skill. He silently admired it. Damn, flaming lightning swords. I really want to learn that. On this side, Lam Shi's face was tense as a bowstring. He shouted, Lam Diem, prepare to die. He controlled the metal swords to attack. The metal pieces now turned into bright, sharp points, striking straight at Tu Tin. Suddenly, a voice rang out. Enough. At the same moment, the entire area that had just been covered by the burning metal shafts was enveloped by a circle of water. The red-hot iron fragments gradually cooled under the water's effect. They returned to their original state. Immediately after, all the metal shafts were stopped, unable to move. Nip Duong was terrified by that power. Such a strong water element. 10,000 swords returned to origin was broken. All the students here, including Tin Tan standing in the middle of the swords, are unharmed. Huang Koi stood in front of Tu Tin. She spoke with dissatisfaction. I thought you were just here to be judges for the supernova selection. Her eyes narrowed, showing clear displeasure. She continued to question them. You're all former students of this school. You should know something. That Nam Nguyen Super Academy is under my, Thuong Quan Koi's, protection. If you bully the students of this school like this, don't blame me for not respecting our old ties. She held the iron pipe in her hand, radiating a murderous aura as she shooed them away. Go be a judge for some academy strength test. Don't cause trouble here. Lam Shi showed no fear. He even provoked her. Senior Thuong Quan Ko, he is Lam Diem. Get out of my way. Nip Duong heard this and whispered, Hey Lam Shi, you'd better speak more politely to Senior Thuong Quan. Huang Koi's face immediately darkened. She laughed coldly. You're telling me to get out of the way? She condensed a water dragon to intimidate him. You're telling a lady like me to get out of the way? Well, today, I'll teach a snot-nosed brat like you a lesson. She raised her hand and looked over coldly. Lam Shi, feeling uneasy, immediately said, I want to go back to headquarters. Nip Duong, standing beside him, could only smile bitterly to himself. He's scared of death so quickly this time. He looked at the water dragon knife rushing towards them and assessed it, her life element. A dragon knife without a soul yet. Thuong Quan. Huang Koi is about to touch the legendary 5-star super realm. This junior is truly admirable. I'm afraid that just one hit from her would be enough to send this peak 3-star senior brother to the Western Paradise. Seeing that Lam Shi had stopped, Nip Duong sighed in relief. That's more like it. Let's go back to headquarters first and discuss this further. But Lam Shi uttered a chilling sentence. Request headquarters to send 17 or 18 more colleagues to deal with her. Right after he said that, Huang Koi's dragon knife opened its mouth wide. It prepared to tear the two of them apart. Suddenly, an image of old King slowly admonishing her appeared in her mind. Koi, keep it in moderation. This hot temper of yours will only put you at a disadvantage in relationships. Your love life will also. Huang Koi was impatient. Go on. What about my love life? Then she retracted her dragon knife. She walked over and demanded, if he is the blue flame, disguised by using metal to create fire, then why didn't you realize it right away? Huang Koi immediately provided evidence of his innocence. On the night the Fan family's lab was destroyed by Lam Diem, I was monitoring the school. At that time, no one left the academy. Tu Tin heard this and was startled. He didn't expect that would accidentally become his alibi. Neep Duong on the other side heard the reason. He immediately put his arm around Lam Shi's shoulder and said goodbye to her. If that's the case, then we must have been mistaken. Let's go, Lam Shi. Let's go prepare for the supernova selection. When their figures were far away, the training ground returned to silence. Hu Teen approached and asked, Senior Thuong Quan, our school is so big, and you have to watch over all the students. It must be tough for you. She yawned repeatedly and stretched. How could that be? Who has the time to monitor everyone every day? But suddenly, she nudged Tu Teen with her arm and laughed. Based on my ability to judge men, you're not a bad person. On the other side, Tu Nu saw this and felt a bit jealous. She faked a few coughs, but in a flash, Quang Koi rushed over and grabbed her hands to get acquainted. Junior Chi Nu, I think highly of you. Hurry up and cultivate to 4-star, 5-star. Then we'll chop down all the scumbag men in the world together. After speaking, Quang Koi immediately left. She left the two of them standing there. Tu Tin was the first to speak. Let's go. We have to study properly. Just then, Tru Thin approached and whispered to both of them. I heard that all the men Senior Thuong Quang Koi meets are scumbags, so her ability to judge men is actually quite poor. Tu Ngu heard this and elbowed him. Her words carried a hidden meaning. Then it's not just normally good judgment. Tu Tin's eyes flashed. His tone was threatening. Who are you dissing? Tonight, bring Tu Dao to Chi Nu's dorm room. I'll help you broaden your horizons. He replied in fear. Okay, big brother. Fo Long glanced over, thinking to himself, if their team participates in the supernova selection, they might actually achieve something. After all, there are two with 39% and 41% who haven't awakened yet, plus Chinu's talent and a diligent dark horse like Tin Tun. The scene shifts to the supernova selection registration area. His train of thought continued. Although they can't win in the end, the chances of passing the first round are very high. I can win a tidy sum for my colleagues on this bet. Inside, the group of teachers was buzzing with discussion. Teacher Chu, the team you're guiding this time will definitely get the prize. The championship? No way. That girl in your team is about to reach level 4. The other team members aren't very good. We have a secret weapon. You think I'm going to tell you? Hey, have you guys heard? Fo Luong was assigned by the principal to guide a group of first-year students to compete against our teams. First years, they don't even meet the minimum registration requirements. Suddenly, the door was pushed open by Fo Luong. He smiled gently but with a hint of cunning. Hello everyone. I'm here to register my team of kids. Fo Luong pushed up his glasses, then smiled and declared, the weather is really nice today. How about a bet? The scene shifts to the south dormitory. A voice full of anger suddenly rang out. Tru Thin, you lucky son of a bitch. Du Hong stood right in front of Tru Thin, cursing loudly. Young Master Fan wants to recruit you and your sister into the Fan family's 4th team. Do you know how many benefits he's giving you? He continued to brag, his tone full of arrogance. 50,000 tubes of life essence fluid each. That's more than double the total amount that Tin Tun stole from us. You and your sister can use almost 2 tubes a day. I'm so jealous I could die. This is really good news for you. Du Huang continued contemptuously. So good that someone like you would never dare to dream of it. You've really met your benefactor. Seeing Tru Thin's silence, he thought he was wavering and pressed harder. Young Master Fan has a way to help you awaken. What you need most right now is to awaken. He lifted his head and asked coldly, Awaken? His voice immediately rang out. Yes, this is the fortune of a lifetime for your family. I know your sister Tu Dao has repeated a year, and you've repeated 2. 2 long years have passed and you still haven't awakened. A cocoon this tough. Even I feel bad for you. With your aptitude, it would be a miracle if you awaken this year. Don't tell me you think you'll be lucky for 3 years in a row and pass next year's final assessment. Now, as long as you side with young Master Fan, you and your sister will have a chance to awaken. Du Huang placed his hand on his shoulder, his expression condescending as if bestowing a favor. Aren't you happy? The fate of your true family is about to change. Tru Thin's expression remained unchanged, but his voice was colder as he demanded, Get your filthy hands off me. Du Hoang didn't listen. He continued to mock him. Hey, don't tell me you're getting arrogant just because you have a backer. Suddenly, Tru Thin's voice rang out. Listen carefully. He knocked Du Hoang's hand off his shoulder, then declared clearly, In life, I am Big Brother's man. In death, I am Big Brother's ghost. After hearing that, his face immediately froze. He only managed to say, H-U-H. Du Huang angrily grabbed his collar and shouted, Tru Thin, you damn fool. You like it rough, don't you? Unable to persuade him, he gritted his teeth and cursed loudly. Tin Tun going against the Fan family. The outcome is obvious without even saying it. In the end, he will lose everything. He will have no choice but to kneel at the Fan family's feet. Du Hoang's face darkened as he continued to threaten him. And the most pitiful one is you. Because of your stupidity, you lost your only chance to awaken. On top of that, You'll be implicated and retaliated against. But in response, True Thin just turned and smiled mockingly. He delivered a powerful kick to Du Hong's stomach and cursed. My big brother is so strong that a shallow person like you can't even imagine it. Even I, his little brother, can't imagine it. If you've got the guts, hit me. If I make a sound, I lose. Du Ho Wam was kicked onto the bed. He shouted angrily, True Thin, if you keep being so stubborn, no one can say what will happen to you in your sleep. Are you prepared to never have a peaceful night's sleep? True Thin wasn't scared at all. Instead, he provoked him further. Then you'd better not let me wake up, because once I do, I will fight you to the end. Du Hong was so angry, he unleashed his power. A flash of golden lightning shot through his eyes. He roared, You're a mad dog. He swung his hand and slapped True Thin hard across the face, lecturing him as he hit. From now on, I'll have to think of ways to mess with you every night. Just thinking about it is annoying. A low-aptitude person like you dares to act tough with me, and you're even trying to protect your master. He didn't cry out in pain. Instead, he laughed with delight. Without Big Brother, I would have died long ago. I will spend the rest of my life repaying him. True Thin calmly walked out and said, I have something urgent tonight. If you can't kill me, I'm leaving. When it comes to fighting, you might not be able to beat me. We'll settle this debt later. Hearing that, he burst out laughing, thinking he was just scared. A coward making excuses to run away, huh? Scram. Before I beat you to death, his roar echoed throughout the dormitory. You will die, and your sister will be brought down with you. You stupid, useless piece of trash. The scene shifts elsewhere. Ngu Hung glanced at the tea and spoke. Young Master Fan, that piece of trash is like Tin Tun's loyal dog. It won't be easy to win over Tin Tun's faction. He just chuckled and replied, It's fine. I have 1,000 ways to deal with them. I was going to use a gentle approach, but they're forcing me to be ruthless. The scene shifts again to another dormitory. This is the female students' area. At this moment, True Thin and Tu Dao were standing outside the door. They knocked and called out, Big Brother, we're here. Suddenly, a hand reached out from inside, catching his attention. Immediately after, a gust of wind swept by as fast as lightning. Chiu Tin had pulled both of them, still stunned, into the room. His face looked like a demon's. His evil voice echoed in the small room. Little Thin Thin, little Dao Dao, are you ready for hell training? He was dazed, then agreed. Huh? Yes. Chiu Tin crossed his arms, his expression serious as he began his lecture. Next up is hell training. First, close your eyes. Then he continued with his instructions. Next, True Thin. But he suddenly paused, confused. Why are you taking off your socks? That question made Tu Dao, standing beside him, look at her brother in horror. He held up the sock he had just removed and explained, I definitely won't peek, but I'm afraid I might accidentally open my eyes. Saying that, True Thin shoved the smelly sock right in his sister's face. Tu Dao, give me your head so I can put this sock on you. She immediately protested. She screamed, Are you trying to murder your own sister? Tu Tin clasped his hands, pretending not to see anything. His voice remained calm. All right, stop it. Don't worry about closing your eyes. The second thing is more important. I need you to trust me completely. Then Tu Tin narrowed his eyes and said seriously, Entrust your lives to me. Brainless True Thin immediately agreed without thinking. No problem, right? Tu Dao. On the contrary, Tu Dao was much calmer. She looked at him and asked, Tin Tan, you're Lam Diem, right? True Thin, standing beside her, got angry. Call him Big Brother. Tu Dao, what nonsense are you talking about? But Tu Tin just, frankly admitted, Yes, it's me. After hearing that, his eyes immediately lit up with admiration. Big Brother, you're so strong. Then True Thin turned and asked, Tu Dao, how did you know? She narrowed her eyes and analyzed, It's not for no reason that the Eradicators would bother to come here looking for Tin Tun. So, when Senior Lam Shi called Tin Tun Lam Diem, I paid attention to your reactions. Tu Dao stated with certainty, Tin Tun, based on my observations of you, your over-the-top reaction then was just an act, because I've never seen you truly panic. Then she recalled Tu Ngu's expression, and Chi Ngu's acting was even more subtle, but I feel that, based on her words, she couldn't resolve Tu Ngu's words. I've never seen her act like such an outsider before. True Thin shouted in shock. Tu Dao, are you really my sister? How are you so smart? Tu Dao then mocked her foolish brother. It's truly bad luck for a family to have two stupid children. Tu Tin's voice rang out right after. Tu Dao, you can say I'm Lam Diem, but you can't say my acting is bad. I am Lam Diem, the bastard who destroyed the Fan family's lab. Do you still trust me? She calmly stated her thoughts. Just as my brother said, if it weren't for you, we would have died long ago. Although thinking back now, I realized that the final assessment received such special treatment. It was probably because the Fan family wanted to target you. True Thin, standing beside her, heard his sister and nodded in agreement. That makes sense. Tu Dao looked at him with a determined gaze and continued, but that also proves the Fan family's crimes. Their lab must be researching something sinister. Besides, I have no other choice. She added, my foolish brother has chosen to follow you. He will never change his mind. He heard that and patted her head, joking. Tu Dao, you should also repay him with your body. Tu Dao immediately scolded him. Shut up. Tu Dao spoke optimistically. Although your opponent is the powerful Fan family, True Thin and I will definitely give it our all. To help him, Tu Dao shouts with determination. Let's start training. We'll do whatever you tell us to do. True Thin agrees. Tu Dao is absolutely right. Chu Tin and Tu Nu pull out 2 huge bottles of life fluid. Then let's begin. Drink this. 1 bottle for each of you. The 2 immediately agree. True Thin takes 1 and chugs it down. After he's done, he says, I finished it. Tu Dao struggles to finish her portion. She says tiredly, I'm done too. I feel so bloated. Tu Tin just smiles. It will absorb quickly. Tu Dao asks suspiciously, is this pure life fluid? He answers honestly, yes. I stole it from the Fan family's lab. It's top quality stuff. You've probably used up more than half the life fluid our classmates gave us. True Thin is so moved he starts to cry. Big bro, this is too much. We don't deserve this. But Tu Dao looks worried. She thinks to herself, this must be why Tu Tin told us to entrust our lives to him. Tu Dao continues to think. We haven't awakened yet, but we just drank a huge amount of pure life fluid. Our bodies are now filled with immense life force. This could be life-threatening. Is he using this danger to awaken our powers? Worry fills her eyes. This method. Tu Tin must have learned it from the Fan family's lab. He probably needs some kind of equipment too. He's not letting us see it. There has to be a reason. Could it be because the equipment looks too strange and untrustworthy? Tu Tin moves behind them. He raises his hand. Close your eyes now. Tu Dao has the same thought. Okay, I'll close my eyes. But she's surprised when something hits the back of her neck. Before she blacks out, her thoughts race. He knocked us out. Of course, this way we can't open our eyes. This method is much better than my dumb brother would have thought of. Tu Tin smirks and apologizes. Sorry about that. I can't let you know about my monster genes yet, so I'll have to awaken your superhuman genes in a dream. He quickly mutates his arm. It swells and transforms. He mutters, have a nice dream, straight from hell. His targets are the true siblings, lying on the ground. Small mouths from his mutated arm pierce the back of their necks. He thinks happily. Tu Nu's superhuman genes went wild with just 1 injection. I can't be careless with her. Seeing their reaction, he smiles, quite satisfied. Tu Tin calculates silently. But their superhuman genes aren't that strong. I can push a little deeper. Inside their bodies, their milky white superhuman genes are sluggish. They barely even move. A monster gene from Tu Tin then shoots down. It directly fuses into their superhuman gene sequence. Tu Tin watches them, pleased. They must be feeling the nightmare now, a fear from the depths of their souls. And their superhuman genes are erupting like never before, just to protect themselves. The scene shifts to Tu Dao's dream. She's in pink pajamas, lying in a grassy field. Tu Dao slowly regains consciousness. Where am I? She sees her blood-covered hands and panics. These clothes. Her face grows weary as sadness wells up inside. This nightmare. Again. Suddenly, the small brown teddy bear twists grotesquely. It begins to grow to a massive size. The sudden change catches Tu Dao by surprise. Her eyes widen in shock. The teddy bear towers over buildings, drool dripping down. Tu Dao is terrified. This dream feels different. It's much more terrifying than before. The scene cuts to outside the dorms. Lam Si is watching from below, not giving up. Something's wrong. There's definitely something wrong with him. Thanha walks over, putting an arm on his shoulder. Lam Si. The captain was right to send me after you. I caught you red-handed trying to peep on the junior girls bathing. He snaps back, annoyed. Tu Tin's room, it's giving off an aura. An aura that's both strange and familiar. She laughs. Lam Si, are you a dog or something? Lam Si remains firm in his suspicion. He has to be Lam Diep. I'll definitely expose him during this supernova selection. Just then, a walkie-talkie crackles. A call is coming in. They both receive the alert at the same time. An emergency broadcast from the cleaners. Something big has happened. They immediately raise their phones to listen. Thanha quickly leaves as the broadcast continues. The northern supply station is under attack. All nearby cleaners move to provide immediate support. Tong Dan surveys the ruins and reports in. This is the northern aid station. The building has almost completely collapsed. The smell of blood here is overwhelming. There are no visible survivors. From the looks of it, we suspect it was that monster. It was a rampage, but there are no monsters in sight now. He continues the report. Headquarters. Cleaner Squad 4 is beginning the investigation. We hope to find survivors. Headquarters responds with a warning. We don't detect any monster hordes in the vicinity. Tong Dan immediately reassures them. Don't worry. HQ. We're the elite squad that assisted Thuong Quan Koi in killing the Earth Dragon. No matter how terrifying the monster is, we can at least defend ourselves. He smiles confidently. Besides, I don't hear any monsters here. Don't underestimate my superhuman hearing. Suddenly, Tong Dan senses something is wrong. He whips around, alarmed, and yells, "Wait, movement in the distance. Did the monster sense us and circle back? 1,000 meters? No, 800, 400. It's so fast." The whole squad immediately gets into a defensive formation. They're ready for a fight. Damn it, where's the enemy? Tong Dan is both terrified and confused. How is this possible? I hear the monster just tens of meters away. Why can't I see a thing? Suddenly, a blast of blue fire erupts toward his squad. Hearing the chaos, HQ urgently demands, "Report in, now." The earpiece flies off, hitting the ground. The voice on the other end keeps asking, "What's happening?" A giant foot slams down, crushing the communicator. It erupts in a burst of static. A girl on the team is instantly killed by the monster's attack. Tong Dan panics. "Tulan, this is bad. It's an invisible monster." He immediately gives the order. "Deploy the dragon trap formation everywhere. Protect yourselves first." Amai rushes forward. She throws a powerful punch, but she can't hold on. The monster tears her arm to shreds. Blood sprays from the wound. Amai stares in horror at her shredded arm. She couldn't evade it. Her voice trembles. "I can't stop it. What is this monster? This invisible monster? It's at least a level 4. Amai decides to risk everything. She activates her star chart. Crystal Dragon Trap burst, using her own blood as the catalyst. She manipulates the blood from her arm, forming a cage to trap the monster. A blood cage. Tong Dan cries out in worry, Amai, don't do this. We just have to hold on a little longer." HQ has sent word to nearby cleaners for backup. Amai looks at Tong Dan and smiles. "Captain Tong, the blood cage won't hold for long. Listen to me. This monster is invisible and at least a level 4. It's incredibly dangerous." Despite her grave injuries, she forces a smile to reassure everyone. "We can't hold out until backup arrives. Anyone who comes will just be killed. I'm not going to make it." Amai weakly holds her severed arm. She speaks sadly to the others. "I'm sorry, everyone, but it seems you'll have to join me. We all practice the same star chart." Cracks spread across her body from using the blood cage. Amai keeps her smile and speaks softly to the team. "Only by joining me in this blood cage can we protect the captain." Her body turns into red mist and vanishes into the air, but her voice echoes in the night. "He has always protected us. Now, it's our turn to protect him." The other girls on the team rush to stop him. "Captain, don't move. Just stay put. We sisters will protect you. You can't fight us when we're united." He screams. "Stop. I'm your captain. You have to listen to me." But the two use their powers to push him back. They leave him with their last words. "Captain Tong, tell headquarters about this monster. Don't let our comrades walk into a death trap." Tong Dan can only roar. "No." He's blasted backwards, sliding across the ground. He feels completely helpless. Damn it all. He watches his two teammates dissolve into the air to stop the monster. Tong Dan blames himself. "If I were stronger, I could have protected them." He grabs his phone, gritting his teeth to make the call. Then he notices something unusual nearby. "Damn it, I have to report this." In the distance, there's a similar sound. Suddenly, Tong Dan's entire body tenses up. He leaps to his feet. There isn't just one invisible monster. There are 2, or maybe 3. They're just slower than the first one. His face fills with despair. He curses wildly in his mind. "Damn it, where did these monsters come from? We're in big trouble. This is a massive disaster." After regaining his composure, Tong Dan clutches his phone and makes a decision. There's no time to find a safe place. I have to warn everyone now. But as soon as he opens his phone, an error message appears. Tong Dan figures out the cause and immediately runs away from the blood cage. He calculates, "Damn, this superhuman elemental power is too strong. It's interfering with the signal. I need to get further away." Suddenly, a trail appears in the dirt. Tong Dan senses the approaching danger. He mutters, "I've been spotted. Connect? Please connect." He clutches the phone tightly, praying anxiously. "Connect?" The old phone in his hand beeps a few times. The message, "No network available," flashes on screen. Then, it finally connects. He lets out a sigh of relief, looking at the phone. He smiles with satisfaction. It's connected. Tong Dan doesn't waste another second. He immediately reports. "Headquarters, don't send any cleaners below 4-star. There are at least 3 level 4 invisible monsters here." A monster's shadow appears behind him. After speaking, he feels a weight lift from his shoulders. He smiles, fulfilled. The report is sent. A blue light flashes in Tong Dan's eyes. He resolves to fight the monster to the death. "Now I can go all out. The worst that can happen is death." An image of the genes inside his body appears. Tong Dan's blood boils as he shouts. I can feel the power sprouting, the sweetness of the elemental genes. Just as he's about to fight to the death, a familiar bright blue shield suddenly appears in front of him. Tong Dan's face lights up with joy. His voice trembles. "I sent the message to headquarters. As expected, The first to arrive is Thuong Quan Koi. Quan Koi has just arrived. Seeing the devastating scene, she speaks up. Sorry, I'm late. Tong Dan warns her, be careful, those monsters. She activates her superhuman genes. Her eyes are cold as she says, they're gone. Sorry about this. They probably only attacked you for a quick meal. They didn't want to fight me. Maybe they were afraid of wasting time and revealing their position. Her voice continues to echo. No matter what, these terrifying monsters must have a more important target. The scene cuts to Tu Teen. He's in his mutated state, saying, after adapting to superhuman power, humans always think they can control monsters. They think they can control this world again. They've lived too comfortably and peacefully these past few years. Tu Tin uses his mutated arm to hold Tru Thin's waist. He grins cruelly. Without a little stimulation, I'm afraid you two would be caught off guard if disaster strikes a year from now. Let me give you a little push. Hyunu watches, a little scared. This looks really weird. She reminds him, hey, you have to hold back. Don't you dare eat them. Tu Tin looks at her and teases, don't worry. If I couldn't hold back, the first person I'd eat alive would be you. You're much tastier than them. Hearing this, Tu Nu's eyes go wide, and she curses, screw you. Tu Tin explains to her, I wouldn't dare mix monster flesh and blood into your body. Your superhuman genes would go absolutely insane, but their superhuman genes aren't that strong, so I can use this extreme training method. After hearing this, she asks curiously, what are they dreaming about? Tu Tin assesses them one by one. Tu Dao's dream is very normal. It's a typical human reaction to fear, but Tru Thin's state is a bit strange. Tru Thin is currently convulsing. He keeps muttering one word, kill. He says, it seems he's hiding immense anger deep inside. Then suddenly, Tru Thin shoots up. Veins bulge on his face, his eyes gleam, and he roars, I'll kill you. As he's about to unleash his rage, Tru Thin sees the two people in front of him looking at him calmly. He immediately snaps out of his dream. Tu Tin smiles in satisfaction. Congratulations on your awakening. Tu Dao has also just woken up. They both groan in a daze. Both of their eyes widen as they fall back into a state of shock. Tu Dao bites her lip, speechless, while Tru Thin bursts into tears. He kowtows before him, then says resolutely, Big bro, I swear I will never forget this great kindness. From now on, I will be your shield. He just waves his hand dismissively and says, you're not strong enough to be my shield yet. You need to level up. I've put something into your bodies. It will keep your superhuman genes in a constant state of eruption. Tu Teen explains their current superhuman gene state. Imagine this. You're about to feast on meat. Every cell in your body is on high alert. They will protect themselves when they sense mortal danger. After hearing this, Tu Dao immediately asks with doubt, does that mean our superhuman genes are always in an explosive state? He waves his hand and replies, something like that. Then, Tu Teen opens the door and reminds them, the supernova selection is in 1 week. Within this month, you must level up to superhuman rank. With your current gene state, reaching superhuman rank shouldn't be too difficult. As for 3-star, I think Tu Nu will ask the principal for a star chart. Tu Dao looks at him in shock. Ask the principal for a star chart? But this is a star chart we're talking about. And at a time like this, Tu Tin doesn't intend to explain further. He steps outside, closes the door, and calls back in. One more thing. For the next few days, if you get thirsty, don't drink water. Drink the life fluid. Tru Thin stares at his hands, his expression bewildered. He asks, Tu Dao, am I dreaming? Did we really awaken? I feel like the superhuman genes in my body have gone crazy. In 2 years at the academy, I've never seen anything like this. He excitedly ruffles Tu Dao's hair. He told us to drink life fluid like it's water. Big Bro is not only loyal but also generous. I think he's incredibly strong too. Tu Dao, your big brother's judgment of character is top-notch, right? Tu Dao is still a little uneasy and asks, the supernova selection that Tu Tin mentioned, don't tell me he wants us to participate. Tru Thin naively replies, we just have to do whatever Big Bro says. It's just the supernova selection. Holy crap, Big Bro is amazing. He even secured us spots in the supernova selection. Tu Dao worriedly reminds him, brother, although you've been very humble this time, you've repeated the year. Have you forgotten what you did last time? Tru Thin immediately changes the subject. It was just beating up all my classmates, wasn't it? Tu Dao yells, good, you remember? Let me tell you, in this supernova selection, we'll be fighting them. Tru Thin silently sighs. Good thing I've awakened. The scene shifts to 1 week later. The supernova selection officially begins. Chapter 36. Du Hong is holding a bottle of life fluid, drinking it with great relish. A guy with brown hair sees this and curiously approaches him. Hey, where'd you get the life fluid? He clicks his tongue, looking unconcerned, and replies, where else could I get it? It's Tru Thin's. That idiot hid his life fluid in another pair of his leather shoes. I can still smell a faint odor while drinking it. The other guy continues to press, you stole it from him? Aren't you afraid of causing trouble? Du Hong smirks and replies, Afraid of what? He's just Nu's dog. This life fluid must have been earned through a lot of ass-kissing. Our backer is the Fan family. We're on a completely different level from them. Dealing with him is the mission the Fan family gave us. After chugging it, he carelessly tosses the bottle behind him and scoffs. That bastard is both useless and pathetic. After I beat him last time, he didn't dare to come back to the dorm. Who knows where he's crawling around now? Even if Nu is his master, she's just a commoner. Wouldn't Fan the Tay crush her easily? True Thin hasn't awakened. If I fought him seriously, he'd probably be dead. Nu On, passing by the door, chimes in. I think it's best if you don't underestimate True Thin. Du Hong looks scornful and scoffs. Seeing True Thin with so much life fluid, you regret betraying him, don't you? Betraying Mu, right? Planning to go back and lick their boots? I've seen plenty of fair-weather friends like you. It's fine. A few beatings from me and you'll be back to normal. And Juan replies flatly. Go check the school's website. Don't you guys know? Today is the Supernova Selection Day. Du Hong quickly pulls out his phone to check, then clicks his tongue and replies, Of course I know. It's a grand event. The school even installed a lot of cameras in the arena. Any student of the school can use their computer or phone to connect to the school's Wi-Fi and watch the live stream. You can also go to the classrooms to watch. I was just about to head over. He and the brown-haired guy suddenly get excited. It's already started? Holy crap, the MC is gorgeous. The guy next to him immediately adds, I know, she was the captain of last season's Supernova team and the MVP. I can't believe the host is that famous hot girl who live streams while flying. She's a super popular wind element superhuman. Tho. The introduction rings out. Just now, I introduced you all to the most defiant team. Du Hoang is curious. The most defiant team? Who's that? The MC floats in midair. With a sweet voice, she says, Now, Tho will introduce you to the top 3 teams with the best chance of winning the championship. If nothing changes, please subscribe to the channel. This year's champion will likely be one of these 3 teams. They are the 23rd Red Flame team. Immediately after, the T's team appears on the screen. All members of the team are fire element superhumans, and also 3 star superhumans who have completed over 50% of their star chart. They are considered the team with the strongest overall cultivation. Du Hoang watches and comments, it's young master Fan the Tay. Beside him, Tho adds, the former captain, Qin Vu, has 86% superhuman genes. You heard that right. He was the captain. But according to the latest information, the captain of this team has changed. And the new captain is this year's most watched new student, Fan the Tay, the heir to the Fan family. This is also very interesting. It's completely logical. According to the displayed information, he was already a 3-star superhuman upon enrollment. His star chart completion is 83%, and his superhuman gene is at 90%. Tho excitedly says into the live stream camera, a genius youth with a bright future. Let's look forward to his performance. A moment later, she smiles mischievously and continues. Next up will be, Tho moves to another edge of the forest, where a team is already waiting below. It's the Weed Eradication team. All members are female warriors. She continues her introduction. The captain, Trem On, is recognized by the entire school as the strongest person currently. 85% superhuman genes. She uses her water element's superhuman power to cultivate the 10,000 Swords star chart. She became famous after shattering Qin Vu's shield, the captain of the Red Flame team, with a single slash. Will she be able to keep her title as the strongest in the school this time? Tho continues to interact from above. Finally, a little something for our female fans. It's the team of Captain Thu Hoa, whose physique makes us all go wow. Finally, Thu Hoa's team appears. It's the Shield and Sword team. It's said they possess the treasures of a 4-star superhuman, the strongest sword and the strongest shield. The livestream audience believes they are the heavy favorites for this year's championship. Then she soars into the sky and announces the rules. Okay, as the MC for this season's Supernova Selection, I declare the first round officially open. The arena is a dense forest. 16 teams will compete simultaneously. If the captain can help, I will help. If a team loses its ability to fight, the entire team is disqualified. The 6 winning teams will advance to the second round. The scene shifts to Du Hong's group. The 3 walk and talk non-stop. Damn, these 3 teams are terrifying. If they're this powerful, how strong is that team called the Most Defiant that was introduced at the beginning? Hey, Nguyen, did you watch the live stream from the start? How defiant are they? Nguyen explains nonchalantly. The whole team are first-year students. With only 4 members, they're trying to compete for the championship against teams of 2nd and 3rd-year students. That's why Tho called them the most defiant team. Hearing this, Du Hong can't hide his shock. The whole team are first years? 4 people. Don't tell me. It must be. He immediately denies his own thought. It's Tu Tin's team. Then he gets angry. How did he get the right to participate in this Supernova Selection? Under the clear blue sky, the brown-haired guy chimes in. Nu has 95% superhuman genes. She must have had another breakthrough. It's understandable that she's the captain, but True Thin and True Tu Dao are also on the team. Du Huang and the brown-haired guy whip around. They look at each other, asking repeatedly, "No way. Absolutely no way." To participate, at least all team members must be awakened. He looks stunned, then continues, "True Thin awakened? How so suddenly? So what if he awakened?" He repeated 2 years before awakening. "With 39% superhuman genes, I can still beat him up just fine. Who hasn't awakened anyway?" Yuan walks on calmly, but doesn't forget to reply. It's true that True Thin's superhuman genes are very low, and he repeated 2 years. But because he repeated for 2 years, it means he has studied at this superhuman academy for 2 years already. Even so, Du Hong stubbornly argues. "So what?" And Guan continues, "So he knows all the subjects, right? Except for the superhuman-related courses, he desperately studied everything else." He adds, "Oh, right. There's something you probably don't know. All the students from the previous year have to call True Thin Brother True when they see him." In another scene, a young man appears with an arrogant look. "Brother True, and Tu Dao too. Long time no see. I didn't expect to see you in this year's Supernova selection." He is Ma Long, a second-year student, and the captain of the Ma Lutin team. Seeing him, True Thin's eyes widen with fury, while Tu Dao just hides her face to avoid him. Tu Long looks at True Thin and snarls fiercely, Do you remember the day you left school?" He arrogantly beats his chest and challenges, "You beat almost every single one of us. So when we saw you here, the others don't hold back either. As long as we're not teamed up with the third years, all of us second years are here." Tu Long rubs his neck, looking annoyed. "You can participate in the Supernova selection. Very good. I see your team even has an extremely arrogant name." He clenches his fists and raises his voice. "After thinking it over, we decided we have to find a chance to beat you to a pulp for revenge. One-on-one, taking turns. That's not too much to ask, is it?" Suddenly, Tu Ting steps forward, places a hand on his shoulder, and teases, Thin, you did well. I didn't expect you to be better at making enemies than I thought." He steps out nonchalantly, glances over the crowd with a look of disdain. "Is this all of you? A bit too few." The crowd goes wild with anger. "Damn you, first year. Do you have any right to speak here?" At the same time, in the faculty office, Teacher Loi VM speaks with sarcasm, Teacher Fo Luong. "You're betting against us that the first-year team can pass the first round?" He laughs menacingly and continues, "There are 6 teams of all second-year students, a total of 30 people." He then decisively pulls out a betting slip, announcing loudly, "Now I'm interested. 100 vials of life fluid." Loi VM slams the slip on the table as if to intimidate him. "I bet they will fail." Fo Luong is sweating bullets but remains silent. The others follow suit, placing their bets. 50, 188, 200, 250, 300 vials of life fluid. Loi VM crudely taunts Fo Luong. "You won't cheat if you lose later, will you?" He just bows his head low and replies, "I'll accept the consequences." Suddenly, he shows a hint of curiosity. "But what does that team's name mean? Who likes to talk about the apocalypse these days? Like Hua Tin, Spark." Loi VM continues to mock. "Does it mean they're cursing the world to end and that they are the saviors? Such arrogant young fools." It's no wonder that girl, though Tho, called them the most defiant team. Hu Tin's face darkens, his lips twitching slightly. He thinks to himself, the spark spreads. "I can't save this world by myself." He recalls, before the apocalypse arrives, the surrounding sparks must ignite. "I need to add more fuel to the fire." Finally, Tu Tin retorts, fighting in turns, "No way. You guys think too highly of yourselves." He arrogantly waves his hand as if challenging them all. "It's more fun if you all come at once, isn't it?" Ma Tu Long's group goes insane with rage upon hearing this. Tu Long's group roars in unison. "Damn this arrogant first year. Let's all attack." "How can we all attack? That's too dirty." He grinds his teeth, his fists clenched tight. "We came here this time just to." Suddenly, Tu Long freezes for a moment, then turns to his side and exclaims in surprise, "Brother True." True Thin immediately lunges forward, shouting with great enthusiasm, "Come on. My big bro said it. All of you, come at once." He laughs excitedly and says, "Let's see if you guys have improved at all in the past month." Tu Long's group is thrown into chaos. Brother True. Brother True. Even though he tries to stop it, it's too late. Before he can react, he's grabbed in a flash, and a powerful knee strikes his back. True Thin doesn't hesitate. He continues with a direct frontal attack, a sideways elbow of sorrowful departure. In just a few short moves, he takes down his opponent in front of the horrified eyes of the onlookers. The guy collapses to the ground, only managing to utter 2 words, "Wait." True Thin gets into a ready stance, then says excitedly, "Come on, all of you. It doesn't have to be like before. This time, you can use your superhuman powers. Tu Long, foaming at the mouth on the ground, unconsciously mumbles, "Brother True." The scene shifts to the office. A betting slip is put out, but Fo Luong quickly snatches it. The other person says with a trembling voice, "I'll add more." "Wait, I won't." He immediately pulls the slip towards himself and replies coldly, "Too late. Let go." Another teacher looks at the screen and asks curiously, "Who is that kid?" True Thin. Fo Luong, busy counting the slips he's collected, answers, "You teachers probably only care about superhuman powers, don't you? If you were the martial arts instructors invited by the school, you wouldn't bet against me." Although True Thin only has 39% superhuman genes, he's extremely diligent. He repeated twice in the past 2 tough academic years. Except for superhuman powers, which he couldn't learn, in the eyes of the martial arts teachers, that kid is a genius, a prodigy. After learning, he's also extremely enthusiastic about teaching others. Almost all the students in his year were guided by him at some point. He can be considered a semi-teacher. Therefore, he's highly respected by everyone. Before the semester ended, he didn't know if he'd have a chance to return to the Superhuman Academy, so he taught the entire class one last time. Except for a few who absolutely didn't want to fight in close combat, everyone else was on the ground. And in the scene right now, only True Thin is still standing. Loi VM can't take it anymore and cuts in. No matter how good his martial arts are, it's just muscle. Compared to superhuman power, it's like an egg against a rock. Someone who couldn't awaken for 2 years has very poor talent, even if he awakens. How much potential could he have? In that little team of theirs, besides Tu Nu with her excellent genes, who else is any good? Fo Luong remains unusually calm, then makes a suggestion. But he has awakened. How about we make another bet? Loi VM immediately scoffs with a meaningful tone. You think they can win against the second-year students and pass the stage? The world is getting more and more peaceful, so students from different years are not the same. His eyes sweep towards the screen. Then he sneers and continues. Except for the geniuses chosen by heaven, the rest are just flowers in a greenhouse. And greenhouse flowers aren't tough. Such delicate greenhouse flowers are just fuel for the strong to burn brighter. What you're doing will only make them wither sooner. At the arena, Tu Long trembles, trying to explain. Brother True, we came here to welcome you back. We also wanted to see what kind of person could make Brother True call him Big Bro. Tu Tin can't hide his disdain, continuing to listen to him shout, "You look like an idiot deliberately provoking us to gang up on you." Tu Long gets angry. That's enough of your act. You guys are just newly awakened superhumans. Doing this is just asking for trouble. His rage surges like a sea of fire, consuming him. If he's asking for it, then let's grant his wish. Tu Long and his teammates behind him are burning with hatred, their eyes fixed on him as if to burn him to ashes. Brother True, sorry about this. Our group is going to make your group suffer a crushing defeat. They simultaneously activate their superhuman genes, shouting in unison, "Charge, you take over as captain." Tu Long grits his teeth and threatens, "That first-year kid, our superhuman power can easily crush you." True Thin just slowly raises his hand and provokes, "Ma Tu Long, you foolish kid. My big bro is much stronger than me. You're trying so hard to stop me. How could I possibly take over my big bro's captain position?" Just then, a fierce gust of wind suddenly strikes Tu Long's neck. It turns out Tran Ha had seized the opportunity, quickly rushing in to attack Tu Long. The MC immediately announces, "According to the rules, Ma Tu Long has temporarily lost consciousness. Captain Ma Tu Long is defeated. The Ma Lu Tin team must leave field." He immediately scoffs, "These second-year commoners are really weak." Tran Ha's sharp eyes narrow, a triumphant smile on his lips. A whole group working together and it's completely useless. The captain is as fragile as a doll. Hilarious. He rushes towards the people in front of him like the wind. Before they can even react, he declares, "Next." They are all quickly defeated by Tran Ha. Tho hastily reports, "Captain Ha Tu Nian is defeated. The Fi Juong squad must leave the field." The members of the other teams can only stare in shock at the scene. His speed is too fast. We're completely unable to fight back. Is this what a third-year student who has started taking on missions to train is like? Up above, MC Tho is extremely excited as she details the events. The second-year squad has been defeated by an opponent with overwhelming momentum. This person is Tran Ha, a third-year student, using wind element superhuman power like me. He's really fast. Announcements of eliminated teams continue to ring out. Captain Lan is defeated. The Cao and Giet Fu squad must leave the field. Captain Tong Jok Chu is defeated. The Cao Thu Tang squad must leave the field. Tran Ha flashes past them. Captain Ham Vu V is defeated. The Cao Nu Tin squad must leave the field. A moment later, after Tran Ha is done, he immediately shifts his target to Tu Tin's group. "It's your turn, first year." He charges violently like a whirlwind, tearing through the air. "I love dealing with first-year big shots like you." And he calmly stands in front of the 2 girls on his team. At the same time, Tu Long, who was beaten and curled up on the ground, weakly whispers, "Brother True, is this the captain you chose? Tho sees this and can't hide her surprise. The Hoa Tin team, the most defiant one, is in danger. Captain Tu Tin is. Tranha's hand is now just a short distance from his head. He then prepares to launch his next attack, but at the decisive moment, Tu Tin lightly dodges in an instant, leaving Tranha stunned. He immediately takes advantage of his unguarded moment, raises two fingers, and begins to activate his superhuman genes. In the next second, the ground below cracks, forming sharp earthen spikes. They quickly merge into a giant spear, shooting straight towards Tranha. Seeing this, he is immediately shocked. Did he just infuse power into the ground with one step? The thought barely flashes through his mind before the spear pierces through him at the speed of light, completely unstoppable. In that moment, Tranha feels a sharp pain before his vision goes dark, and he spits out water from his mouth. Tu Tin calmly withdraws his power. What was this move of mine called? Tin Kiam something. Oh well, I'll just give it a temporary name. Let's call it Tin Kiam then who? Star Sword Kidney Failure. Then, the female MC's excited voice rings out. Captain Tu Tin has not been defeated. Tranha is unconscious. Tranha is the one who has been defeated. At this moment, Tu Tin looks up and calls out calmly. Hey, you guys, come on out. The one who needs combat practice isn't me, it's my team members. He smiles faintly, looking up and inviting them. Come down. The second years are a bit too weak. You guys should be better. Tho once again shouts with excitement. This first year Tu Tin is truly arrogant and overbearing. The person he's challenging is the Fong Za squad, the team with the most potential to win the championship after the top 3 strongest teams. So Sa, hearing this, can't hold back anymore. He reveals himself directly, then frowns and sneers. Arrogant, first year, aren't you? Hugh Long suddenly regains some consciousness. He weakly mumbles a few words. The captain Brother True chose is unbelievably strong, so Exa doesn't hesitate to activate his superhuman genes and charges into attack. He shouts, Brothers, let's use our speed. Let's kick this arrogant first year's ass off the field. As soon as he finishes speaking, Tho immediately cuts in. The combat philosophy of the Fangja team is to sneak attack if they can, and gang up if they can. Tu Tin shows an extremely provocative expression. Come on, come be my sandbags. So Sa's team curses in their hearts. Damn, this first-year brat is so arrogant. I can't believe he could defeat Tranha. Tranha was too careless, talking so big before he even fought. However, this Tu Tin guy is definitely not simple. The speed at which he formed that sword was terrifying. And what's more, right away, he understood the whole situation as soon as the match started, as if he accurately predicted Tranha's moves. His combat experience seems to be even richer than ours. But how is that possible? Could it be? No, talent. In any case, the captain told us to charge, so we charge. Just as Lan launches his attack, his arm is suddenly blocked and grabbed, startling him. The one who acted was none other than True Thin. He holds his wrist tightly and growls. Classmate La'an. My big bro said it. We're the ones who need the training. He doesn't back down either, immediately retorting with a sarcastic tone. True Thin. I know you're considered a semi-instructor for the lower years, but I'm not one of those low-level new students. You think you can stop me alone? As soon as he finishes, he puts his strength into his other arm, aiming straight for True Thin and striking. Jiao Dragon. He doesn't retreat either, immediately striking back. Jiao Dragon. At this moment, the powers of both sides clash equally. A blinding blue light erupts in all directions. Then La-On arrogantly says, You only have 39% superhuman genes. Who gave you the guts to practice the Jiao Dragon star chart like me and Thuong Quan Koi? No matter how you refine your Jiao Dragon, it'll just be a worm. True Thin immediately retorts, A Jiao Dragon isn't strong just because it's big and long. He smirks triumphantly, deliberately raising his voice to provoke, Come on, I'll let you taste the despair of a power gap. Suddenly, his eyes widen, and his expression changes dramatically. True Thin dashes towards La-An at the speed of light. He channels all his strength into one blow. A brilliant red light erupts from his palm. Seeing this, La-An quickly retreats to defend, then shouts, I can't believe you're using your own blood to replace the water element, making your superhuman genes refine your own blood. He grits his teeth and continues, You brought an external water, Jiao Dragon, to live inside your body, to gain more terrifying power than others. True Thin. I'm not playing with you anymore. He looks over and exclaims, Although doing that can make the Jiao Dragon stronger, you'll lose your long-range combat ability. And once the Jiao Dragon is destroyed, you'll definitely be severely injured. True Thin doesn't care at all. Instead, he smiles with delight. As long as you work hard, all your efforts will be rewarded. In the next second, he doesn't hesitate to strike. My genes are weak, so I'll just risk my life. Jiao Dragon. At the same time, in another location, Tam Mok speaks arrogantly. True to Dao. I noticed that in the list of awakened first-year students in our department, your name isn't there. That means you weren't awakened when you enrolled. Hugh Dao takes a stance as she continues to listen. It's only been 2 weeks since school started, and you've already awakened and cultivated to a 3-star superhuman. She looks over with a doubtful tone. Although you've only just started practicing the star chart, this is still unbelievable. How did you do it? Tu Dao replies, I get emotional easily. It turns out she suddenly remembered what Tu Tin had told her. If anyone asks, just say you got emotional. Tam Mok stands straight, full of pride, surrounded by vines and sneers. Is that so? It seems you're a cultivation genius. It's a pity your superhuman genes are below 50%, so you can only practice the vine star chart. Using her own ability, she controls giant vines to erupt from the ground. You can only ever fight them. It's useless. It proves nothing. In an instant, the vines, following her command, descend from the sky. They strike down at Tu Dao's position with extreme speed. Thanks to her sharp senses, Tu Dao quickly dodges in time. As she struggles to dodge each wave of attacks, the pink-haired girl suddenly remarks, not a bad reaction. Suddenly, a red flower bud emerges from the vine, accompanied by Tam Mok's voice. You dodged it. It seems you practiced your running skills quite well last year. From that spot, a flower blooms. She sees it and is utterly shocked. What is this? Why is there a red peach blossom? I have to cut this vine. The flower suddenly distorts, its petals elongating and becoming sharp. She's only just started cultivating the star chart. The completion rate is no more than 5%. The petals begin to retract bizarrely. This type of vine is soft. It shouldn't be able to flower, right? Could it be? As she says this, the petals immediately shoot out to attack. She quickly dodges, faintly guessing that this is a blood-sucking blood peach blossom from Tu Dao. They lose control and crazily charge towards her. The pink-haired girl shouts in panic, True Tu Dao, are you crazy? You think your blood is infinite? It'll suck you dry. Tu Dao, panting from energy loss, grits her teeth and says, my brother was right. If your superhuman genes are weak, just risk your life. Elsewhere, So Za stands before Tu Tin and sneers. Hey, first year, you could beat Tranha. So why are you still hiding behind a woman? Was it just luck that you beat him? Stop playing. I'll give you a chance to be a real man. As he says this, a plan flashes in his mind. Winning is the main goal. I need to make you careless, so Lao Tu in the back has a chance to strike. Hearing him, Tu Tin just smiles and replies, Lao Luke, aren't you ashamed to say that? Besides, whoever wants to be a real man can go ahead. I'm not interested. Suddenly, Lao Tu lunges from behind to sneak attack, but Tu Tin detects her and acts first. A metal sword immediately rises from the ground. She is so scared she freezes on the spot, her eyes wide. Witnessing this, So Jia can't hide his shock and thinks, how is that possible? He didn't even turn his head and still managed to dodge a sneak attack. This guy is unbelievably seasoned. Is he really just a first-year student? He observes him and silently assesses. Was he really just a well-behaved student? A flower in a greenhouse? Before coming here? What else? What flower? He has more combat experience than any of us. What kind of monster is he? Even we have to risk our lives for the supernova title. Yet he's so casual, it's as if he's just using this competition to train his team members. He's just a first-year student. I've never heard of any famous figure with a name like his, and yet his skill level surpasses even us third years. It's completely absurd. While So Za's thoughts are in turmoil, Tu Tin calmly places his hand on Tu Ngu's head. Are you ready? After confirming she is, he lifts his hand and says, then activate the star chart. Hearing this, So Exa immediately scoffs inwardly. Activate the star chart? Why would a star chart need to be activated? But then, he remembers something, and his expression changes instantly. No, there is a type of star chart that needs to be activated. Theoretically, there's a perfect star chart in history that only one foreign water-type superhuman has ever possessed 94% of. 5 water element superhuman genes have successfully cultivated it. It's said that once successfully activated, it's called a domain. It completely defies logic. So Za looks at the small girl in front of him and continues to think. That's right. This junior has 95% superhuman genes, the highest in human history. So she can also cultivate that legendary star chart. The power in Tungu's body grows stronger and stronger. Purple lightning begins to envelop her. A purple energy sphere appears, surrounded by a dense network of light. Activate star chart, Tu Tin. Immediately after, a massive surge of purple energy erupts, carrying an immense pressure that shakes the entire forest. What's left is a series of shocked expressions from So Sa. Lao Tu on the other side is also heavily affected by the pressure wave. True Thin and Laan, who are struggling in their fight, turn their heads in astonishment. The 2 girls fighting fiercely also pause for a few seconds because of this scene. MC Tho, who was just enthusiastically hosting, now has her mouth wide open in shock. The Tease group on another side also curiously turns their heads to see what's happening. A moment later, Tu Nu appears amidst the mystical purple chi and lightning. 3-star superhuman, Tu Tin, star chart, 1% completion. At this moment, A small leaf slowly falls, accidentally touching a spark of electricity. The onlookers observe the sudden wave of electricity. Surrounding Tunu, they can't help but exclaim. It seems to be an electric vortex that automatically destroys anything it touches. What a simple world. The star chart has just been successfully cultivated and it's already this effective. I'm so jealous. Lao Tu continues with an arrogant tone, but she's still just a first year who just leveled up to a 3-star superhuman. She immediately strikes like lightning. Countless sharp ice fragments fly towards Tunu like a storm. 44% iceberg star chart, Vu Tram.